So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto gets a bloodline from Kami. Part 2. If you guys enjoy this, what if? And if you want to part 3. Comment down below. And let me know before I start, please do support for more awesome content. And leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And also share this video with your friends. And check out the description. And check out my playlist. So let's start the video. Chapter 7. Naruto looked at the sky, and a female voice Naruto recognized said, "The truth is Minato-kun saw how weak Konoha was and knew, even though he could send the Kyuubi back to where it came from, since it was too powerful to destroy, the Konoha enemies would most likely take the opportunity to attack and destroy Konoha." To stop this, he drew a second seal on top of the seal he spent the entire time Kushina was pregnant with Naruto, designing to hold a Kagebunshin of her, so that when Naruto was old enough, he would be able to see and hold his mother, even just one time, which activated the day he got the second seal was a seal that made those whisker marks appear on Naruto's face, so people would believe he had the Kyuubi sealed in him. He left a letter to the Sandaime explaining things, and so to make sure the other villages knew Konoha had a demon sealed away, he made a public announcement about it being sealed inside Naruto, and then forbid everyone from speaking about it, so other villages would believe he had the Kyuubi and would not attack, afraid Konoha would release the Kyuubi on them. Well, in truth, the Kyuubi was just sent back to where it originally came from. As a woman with blonde hair appeared in the middle of the group, Naruto said Chance. As he ran over and hugged her, Kakashi thought, holy shit, she's beautiful. And said, I am Hada Kakashi, who are you missing? Tan said, my name is Chance, I'm Naruto's godmother. Kakashi looked at Naruto, remembering him talking about her, and said, is she the one you? As he giggled, Tan smiled and said, oh, yeah. Me and both my sisters took his cherry the night Shinigami's Kagebunshin summoned us to Konoha. Sakura gaped and said, you and your sisters had sex with him. And you openly admitted. Tan said, and? What? We're both adults and I wanted to officially bring him into adulthood and make it memorable. Having a four-way sex fest for several hours was one hell of a memory for me. Azuna asked, why did you call his mother Shinigami? Jan said, Kami. Or I should say mom. She's a bit off. She took care of a bunch of kids since she couldn't have children of her own, so she gave us all names of ancient gods and goddesses. I know her as Shinigami, and she got the name Kushina Uzumaki when she came to Konoha. I'm Chancer, as some call me Lady Luck. My sisters Fate and Destiny were also with me the night Naruto-kun became a man. With a smile on her face, Kakashi giggled and said, you fucked Fate, Destiny and Chance, huh Naruto? Not many can't say they've done that. With a smile on his face behind his mask, Naruto said, yeah. So why are you here? Not that I mind. And how did you find me? Chance said, pull the deck of cards out I gave you. Naruto did, and Chance said, find what's missing. Naruto looked through it and said, the black and white jokers are missing. Jan said, bingo, it allows me to summon myself to you, but it takes like 5 minutes for me to actually get here, so everything that is said 5 minutes before I appear, I hear on the way here. Catch. As she tossed him a scroll, Naruto opened it and read. Naruto-kun, I guess there are a few things I should tell you about myself and about Desire. We know each other and have a past that I think you should know about. Like your mom and dad, I once fell in love with a mortal and became mortal to be with him. It was a long time ago, but Desire, being who and what she is, talked him into fulfilling one of his desires, which was to be with another woman. I don't blame her since I forgive her, so as long as she doesn't hurt you, then I won't do anything to her. After I found out my husband cheated on me, I never fully trusted again, but I did lust for another man since I never died. I still had my body that I could use and had 2 children with him. He died and I did care for my children, but both wanted to be like the rest of their family, and I couldn't stand in their way taking from them their dreams, so I faked my death and returned to the other side. My son soon joined me by being killed in battle. Even though I still had my body, I could not just pop up and leave when I wanted to. It takes a lot out of me, so I have to wait 1 day for every day that I actually lived as a human before I return. I was here with my children and their father for 10 years, so I could not return to comfort my daughter for 10 years, and by that time she had become the woman who punched you through those trees. Naruto's eyes got wide as he looked over at Chance, who nods, and Naruto looked back at the note and read, I know that is hard to believe, but it's true. Tsunade believes she is cursed in gambling, that when she wins something bad is going to happen, and when she loses everything's normal. That is the bloodline I gave her since she was a demigod like you. I know you are angry at her and I understand, as I am as well, but I am her mom, so I don't want to see her continue down her path she is on. I ask you to talk with her and try to knock some sense into her. I also have a gift for you sealed on the bottom of this scroll, but you will have to unseal it with chakra privately, because I don't want to explain how I came across it. The gift is free, so don't feel I am paying you to do it. Now ask me if it is true so I can lie about the scroll. Naruto asked, is it true? Tan said, yes, my sister Inari asked me to go to Konoha and ask them to send a team to Wave Country. She said she just recently went through there and people are dying of starvation because there is hardly any food thanks to some guy named Gato. She said she saw children starving and wanted to do something, so since you're the only Konohanin I know I thought reading her description of what was happening there that maybe you could do your thing to help the people. Where are we anyways since I was summoned here? As she looked around. Kakashi said about a half day's travel before we reached the shore, we were on our way to Wave actually. Jan said really? I hope you have a bunch of food then because if you don't you won't find any there. Even wild animals in the woods are hard to find. Kakashi frowned and looked at Tazuna who was looking down, and Kakashi said I see. So you came all this way to request Naruto here to see if he could go help a country he was already going to help. Chance rubbed her head and said actually that was a bonus and I didn't know he was on his way there. I wanted to see him again since I wasn't able to be with him until the day his mom summoned me, but because of my duties, I can't stay in Konoha either. I hope you're not angry about me interrupting your mission, Haddock-san. Do you know when the Chunin exams are going to be held in Konoha? Naruto-kun promised me that he was going to be in the finals and I know if he's anything like his parents that he will keep all his promises and I wanted to come see him in the exams. Kakashi said the finals are always the last day of March and the last day of September and I understand about wanting to see your godchild. If I may ask, what village are you? Chan said the village where I live. Heaven. Everyone blinked and Chan sighed and said like mom, our founders were a bit off and honored the ancient gods and goddesses of the world. Most of the people in our village are named after a god or goddess. Even Naruto's mother, who was born in our village, was named after a goddess. Her real name was Shinigami and that's the name most of us know her by. She was traveling with her father who was killed in Whirlpool Country and taken with the rest of the orphans to Konoha and people didn't believe her about what her name was since they never heard of our village and named her Kushina Uzumaki or Kushina of Whirlpool. It wasn't until she had grown up that someone she knew from our village met her and she had a life in Konoha by then. Sakura asked where exactly is your village located? I mean you said you had to be summoned here, why can't you just travel here like normal? Jan said well. How do I put it? Have you ever heard of the Hidden Air village? Kakashi's eyes got wide and said yes, what about them? Jan said they sort of got the idea for their village from us. Our village really is in heaven or in the air. It's a floating village and can't be reached by regular means. We just float wherever the wind blows our village and it's hidden by clouds made from the hidden mist powered by the seal that absorbs chakra from everyone that lives in our village. Our village originally was on a small island whose volcano was going to erupt soon and destroy our village and everyone there, so our ancestors created the seals that make up our village to let us float away from the danger. It's not very big and we have to do all our shopping for supplies from different nations and no, we are not allied with anyone or will ever be allied with anyone. Because we can't grow too big in size and we are not really fighters we keep to ourselves and keep our secrets. The only reason I told you all is because Naruto needs to know at least about his family history since he has been to our village once the night he learned about his family, but since it was night and we appeared inside the village he couldn't see anything or know anything that could be forbidden to speak about or could be useful to others to try and get our secrets. Kakashi said so the clothes Naruto has here are made by the people of your village. Jan said so you have seen or haven't seen what they can do huh? As she looked at Kakashi. Kakashi said yes and I can understand why you would want to keep your secrets, but you won't consider a trade agreement with our village. Dan said sorry, the leader of our village won't allow it. The last time we tried to do that was the Hidden Air village and you can guess how that went. Sasuke said who was the Hidden Air village you both speak about? Kakashi said the Hidden Air village was a village whose ninja flew. They attacked from the air and started the Third Ninja War by attacking several of the smaller nations. They asked for aid and Konoha aided them which the smaller nations allied with Konoha for their protection and Iwa didn't like it since a couple of the countries were trade partners with Iwa and they cancelled the contracts with Iwa and gave them to us and so they got Kumo to aid them and well we got Suna and soon an all-out war started but Konoha had acted quickly and found the Hidden Air village and destroyed it. Dan said anyways, I need to get back. I would like to have spent more time with you but I have my duties to attend to. Maybe I can make it up to you when I get the chance to come back. I ask that none of you tell me about my village or about me. Saya. As she kissed Naruto and disappeared. Sakura said what a tramp. Sleeping with someone she doesn't even know. Naruto growled and said Sakura, you're a kunoichi, you could be ordered to sleep with someone you don't know, which means you would be no better than a prostitute since you would be getting paid for it and the village would be your pimp. She's only been with 3 men her entire life, the first man she loved who cheated on her with another woman, later she was with another man who died unexpectedly and then me. Guess what Sakura, because Sasuke the last of his clan in Konoha that means that he's going to have sex with several women and have children with them to make sure his bloodline lives on. By insulting her you're also insulting the man you claim you love. Sakura was angry, shocked and then paled as she heard this. Kakashi said well, since we did not know about the condition in wave when we took this mission, we were going to make a slight detour to Tazuna to get some more supplies. There's a village about 3 miles south of here. We will go to get supplies and you will stay with me for your protection. Tazuna said it's alright, I guess I never thought about your need for food when I requested this mission, since our country is just barely surviving. Naruto looked at Kakashi who glanced at Naruto from his one eye and Naruto gave a small nod and Naruto said don't worry, I'm sure things will get better soon. Kakashi said, let's go. Half an hour later Naruto said I need to take a leak. As he walked into the woods. As he got there he unsealed the item and blinked as he saw a small white snake and the snake said so you're our new summoner. I'm Dice, father to all snakes. Chance told me about you. You're the Sachi no Shinigami right? Naruto nodded and the Dai said nice to meet you. Chance told me you know some about the snake summoning contract that is created by the Manda tribe. Naruto said yeah, Anko told me about them. I think. As he rubbed his head. I said yeah, her and Orochimaru are the only two who have that contract. Now what you should know is that there is only one tribe of snakes. There are a total of 8 tribes and the one you know of is the weakest. It was a contract created for Orochimaru to protect Chance's daughter since he was her teammate. Now Chance has asked me to let you have a contract with another tribe of snakes besides the one Orochimaru has. The question is which? Naruto asked, what's the difference? I smirked and said, each has its strength and weakness, but it's not actually a choice of which you get, it's a choice of which you pass to get. To obtain the contract you have to become immune to every snake in that contract. How you do that is I will have to bite you on your arm, depending on which part of it you become immune to will determine which snake contract you get. Naruto asked will I have to do that whole sacrifice thing I heard Anko talking about. I said no, Orochimaru did not originally have to either until he betrayed the original contract and betrayed Tsunade. That is why Anko does not have to give sacrifices, but she only has a sub-contract with the snakes she is immune to. Since this is a free gift and as long as you do not bring harm to Chance or openly hurt those you summon like Orochimaru does with his experimentation, then you will never have to worry about sacrifices. Now, will you accept our contract? Naruto thought for a moment and said sure, I asked Anko to let me sign her contract since I thought of the ability to use it with my bloodline, but she was afraid to since Orochimaru has the master contract, or I should say the master contract for that tribe. I said then hold out your right arm and don't move as I am going to bite you. Ready? Good, here goes. As he lunged at Naruto's right arm and bit into it and Naruto winced as Dice let go and Dice said there, once the snake seal finishes appearing and quits hurting, you will be able to summon our kind. Interesting. I can tell by which color is appearing on your seal which tribe you are passing. Interesting indeed. Goodbye Sachi no Shinigami and good luck. As he went up in smoke. Naruto lowered his coat sleeve and took a leak before going back to where his team was. Kakashi said everything is alright. You were gone for a while. Naruto said yeah, let's go. An hour later the group had traveled in silence as they approached the town and Naruto stumbled a moment and fell to his knees drawing everyone's attention and Sakura said, are you alright Naruto? As she looked at him. Kakashi narrowed his eyes as he saw how sweaty Naruto was and how pale he appeared and he asked what's wrong with Naruto. I've seen you run for hours and not get winded and here you are looking like you're about to pass out from exhaustion. Naruto took off his cloak as he wet his lips and he reached up to his shoulder and a scroll appeared and Naruto opened the scroll as Kakashi walked over and said, what are you needing, Naruto? Naruto swallowed and said soldier. Soldier pills. Kakashi frowned and looked at the scroll and found the seal he remembered putting them in and he took one out of the box and turned to give it to Naruto when his eye saw Naruto's arm and he froze as he saw how red it was and the white snake tattoo on his arm. Naruto saw this and grabbed the pill popping it in his mouth and his color began to return to normal and Kakashi saw the redness going away around the tattoo and he looked at Naruto and asked how did you get that? Naruto sat down and saw Sasuke and Sakura come over along with Tazuna and he said remember when I took a leak? I was approached by a summon. Kakashi frowned and said and. Naruto said relax, it's not Anko or Orochimaru's contract. The summon that approached me told me there are a total of 8 tribes of snake contracts and the one they have is actually the weakest. Apparently word spread around about me with the summons for some reason and I impressed them enough to let me test for one of the other tribes of snakes that has no summoner. All I have to do is become immune to all the snakes in that tribe like Orochimaru originally did when he got his snake contract. My bloodline is doing that as we speak, but it's chakra based, so it's eating my chakra up. I think it's almost done now though since the seal and the pain are almost gone. Kakashi said, and you didn't think you should tell your team or superior about this. Naruto said Anko had already had every snake she can summon bite me. So I figured I had a good resistance to most kinds of snakes already and it would have only taken a few minutes. I guess there are more that Anko can't summon than I thought. Who knows? I can feel my reserves getting back up there so I think it's finished. maybe a third of my chakras so far. Kakashi frowned and said that was very stupid Naruto, you could have put your team and the mission in danger. Naruto frowned and said I know but how often does a summon actually appear and offer itself to a person? I was afraid if I refused the honor of the sacrifice the snake made to come here, then it would be an insult which would later come back and bite me in the ass. Sasuke said, but why you? Naruto shrugged and said I already told you I somehow impressed the snake who gave me this somehow. Kakashi sighed and said I can understand where you are coming from as most contracts are passed down from another ninja or family now, but you still should have told us after you got it. Naruto said sorry. I wasn't thinking about that. Kakashi said well anyways you now have a summoning contract. Naruto said too. This was actually my second summoning contract because my first is sort of a family contract. I am only the second to have it and it's related to my other bloodline. Sakura said you still haven't told us what it is. Naruto glanced at Kakashi who shrugged and Naruto bit his lip and said I know and the reason I am not telling you is also part of the real reason Ino and I left Konoha and also the reason this mission was originally a solo mission for me to take alone. We went searching for a living blood relative I have. A cousin. We found her and she was a drunk gambling bitch who was drunk and thought I was a debt collector. At least that's what we believe she thought. I was alone when I found her because Ino and Anko were in town getting supplies. She attacked me and caused me to be stabbed through the stomach with a tree branch. She laughed at me and kicked me in the face before she left me for dead. Ino and Anko found me passed out in a pool of blood nearly dead still with a branch in me. I found out she's coming to Konoha for another reason unrelated to me and I did not want to be there when she arrived and I don't want her knowing that we are related. That is why I don't want to tell you about my other bloodline because if you found out what it is then you will know who she is and which family I am related to. If I have to use it I will buy it. Sasuke said she sounds like my brother, a relative you want to kill. Naruto glanced at Kakashi and said to Sasuke. How many fires did your family get off when Itachi killed your clan? As he slowly got up. Kakashi shot Naruto a look and Naruto rolled his eyes and Sasuke looked confused and asked what do you mean? Naruto slapped his head and said please tell me you told him to look underneath things. As he looked at Kakashi. Sakura said, what are you all talking about? Sasuke said, yeah, why does it matter how much my family got off? Naruto said because that was the proof that the real killer of your clan executed the Dumbus. Kakashi said to Naruto, what are you doing? Naruto said he has the right to know. You just rode my ass for not telling me about putting the team in danger. If we someday run into Itachi he deserves to know the truth so he doesn't put us in danger. Sasuke said in a demanding voice what the hell are you talking about? Naruto said Danzo. The reason Danzo was killed was because it was found out that Danzo had already tried to steal one bloodline from Konoha and it was suspected that he had tried to steal another. Not one fire, something your clan is famous for, was used the day your clan was killed. There was no damage to any buildings from a fire in the Uchiha district. The only way that could happen was if there was more than one killer. Danzo was the leader of a secret Anbu unit called Root who worked outside of the control of the Hokage and the council. They were supposed to be disbanded years ago, but Danzo kept them hidden. When Ino and I discovered that Danzo was still operating Root and they tried to kidnap her twice and the evidence about there was no fire used, it was enough to investigate him and found out he was involved in the massacre. Also, Itachi was one of my guards as a child assigned to me by the Sandaime, so I know Itachi and he talked to me all the time about you Sasuke and I know that he would do anything to protect you, even claim he was the one who killed your clan so you would not get killed going after the real killers. Sasuke's eyes were wide as he looked shocked and breathing heavy and he said you knowed all this and didn't tell me. Naruto said I thought Sandaime would tell you personally after he got out of the hospital Sasuke. Itachi may still be guilty of helping do it for some reason, but we know that he didn't do it alone. The only one who knows for sure is Itachi and the only way to find out is to confront him about it. Either way right now Itachi is still a missing nin and has committed crimes as such. Perhaps he might be able to be captured and questioned about the truth of what really happened and he will have to still pay for the crimes he did besides spending time in jail at least. That is if he isn't killed first. But you said your goal was to kill him. How can you find out the truth if you kill him? Personally. The way I see it, if Itachi is really the same man I knew as my guard, then he sacrificed everything for you to restore your clan and bring your clan's honor back. He is wanting you to get stronger and he will allow you to kill him so that he can regain your family honor when the time is right for you to take over as the leader of your clan by law, which is when you are 16. He may check on you before then to piss you off to get stronger, but that's just my guess if Itachi is really innocent. The question you have to ask yourself is this, if Itachi was innocent and he sacrificed everything for you to restore your clan and its honor, are you going to chase after him and capture him to get answers so that he will suffer for years in prison or be executed for his crimes, or are you going to let him go and wait until the day he comes before you? If he fights and defeats you and leaves you alive, then you will know that I am right and that he left you alive to restore your clan and its honor. Will you make his sacrifice be for nothing and become so hungry for vengeance that you destroy all he sacrificed for? Would you betray the village for power to kill him? Would you become as evil as he appears to be to destroy a man who loves his little brother enough to die for him? Sasuke, who had been trembling, screamed, "Shut up." Naruto said using Sasuke's voice, "I am an avenger, I don't care about the cost, I will kill him." Naruto was soon flying backwards from the fist of Sasuke hitting his face, and Sasuke stood there panting, and he said, "Shut up, dope." Aye. Naruto, who was rubbing his jaw, said, "What will Sasuke do? What if someone offered you the power to kill Itachi? What would you sacrifice Sasuke for? Would you kill your best friend for power?" Making everyone wide-eyed and Sasuke froze. Naruto stood up and said, "I know about the Mangekyou Sharingan. I read about how you have to feel guilt over killing someone you care for like your best friend." Causing Sakura to gasp and cover her mouth as she looked between Sasuke and Naruto. Sasuke gritted his teeth and Kakashi said, "That's enough, Naruto." Naruto said, "No, it's not. Sasuke and I both want to find Itachi. I want to find out if he's guilty or not, and Sasuke until today wanted to kill him. The reason I am doing this is because we are a team, Sasuke, Sakura and me. We are on a mission that is at least an A rank now, since the next ninja we face will most likely be a Jounin. Sasuke wants power, and he wants to test himself to see if he's strong enough to face Itachi. I want to know before we get into a life and death fight if I can trust Sasuke with my life. If something happens and Sasuke is faced with a choice of testing his power or saving my life, which will he choose? As an avenger he will abandon me and Sakura because he sees us as nothing but distractions. If someone offers him power he will abandon us. If Gato offered to use his fortune to find Itachi for Sasuke, would he betray us?" Sakura said, "He won't betray us." In a defiant voice. Naruto looked at her with a cold look and said, "Are you willing to put your life on the line to prove you're right?" Sakura said yes. With a little stutter. Naruto looked at Sasuke who was standing there and Naruto asked, "Well Sasuke, what will you do? Will you sell your soul to the devil in order to get your revenge?" Sasuke gritted his teeth and said, "Damn it. Aye. Naruto got up and said, "I have a deal for you, Sasuke. I want to find Itachi someday and find out the truth as well. If either of us is going to find out the truth then we need to be a team. With me being a sensor as well as my other skills, I would make finding him someday a lot easier. If Sakura started to train harder and became our team medic and support fighter with me as a close to mid-range fighter like you, then we have a chance to become truly strong, to not only capture Itachi and find out the truth, and if he is guilty, then I will let you kill him no problem and stop anyone else who tries to stop you from bringing him to justice. And after Itachi is taken care of then we can each help each other reach our ambition. I want to become Hokage, you want to restore your clan, which means also restarting the Uchiha police force. With me as Hokage helping to support you then it will be a lot easier and Sakura, if she decided to take my advice about being a medic serious, then she could become head of Konoha Hospital someday. But only if we work together to reach all our goals. I don't know if you're willing to make a deal with the devil, but are you at least willing to make a deal with us? I ask you, Sasuke. Can I trust you with my life?" Sasuke smirked and asked, "Are you trying to become my boss?" Naruto said, "When I become Hokage you're going to have to learn to take orders from me, so you might as well get used to it now." Sasuke walked forward offering his hand and Naruto took it and Sasuke jerked Naruto forward till they were face to face and said, "If he's guilty, I am the one to kill him." Naruto said, "Deal. But if you betray me or Konoha Sasuke, I'll kill you." Sasuke nods and Naruto lets go and says, "Why do I feel like my great-grandfather?" As he turned and started toward the village. Kakashi who was smiling said because Sasuke is the great-grandson of Madara Uchiha. Naruto stopped and looked at Sasuke and asked, "Is that true?" Sasuke said, "Yeah." "Why?" Looking confused. Naruto snorted and then burst out laughing and Sakura asked, "What's so funny?" Naruto tried to calm himself and looked at her and said, "Oh god. I have to tell you guys why it's funny. My great-grandfather was Hashirama Senju." Sasuke blinked and asked, "Are you shitting me, dope?" Naruto shook his head and said, "No team, that's my other bloodline." Sasuke burst out laughing and said, "Our ancestors must be rolling in their graves." Naruto said, "Oh, I'm sure they're finding this funny theme somewhere." Izuna asked who Madara Uchiha and Hashirama Senju were. Sakura who was shocked hearing what she just heard said Hashirama Senju was the Shodaime Hokage of Konoha and he along with Madara Uchiha founded Konoha. Isn't there some kind of law that says that an Uchiha and a Senju can't be on the same team after they killed each other at the Valley of the End? Naruto and Sasuke stopped laughing and looked at Kakashi, and Kakashi said, "Well, Naruto is technically an amicus, so I think that law doesn't apply." Sasuke asked, "How are you related to him?" Naruto said, "My grandmother was his daughter. She married a guy from the Wind Country." Sakura said, "So the woman you were trying to find was Tsunade?" Naruto said, "Yeah, damn bitch. I want to kick her fucking ass right now, and the thing that pisses me off the most right now is with Gigi hurt the old nag and Goat sent my godfather to go find her to bring her back to Konoha to become the goddamn Hokage. Sakura asked who's this Gigi and old nag and Goat. Kakashi coughed and said that Sandaime and Naruto have a very unique relationship. They see each other as grandson and grandfather. As for the other two, Kahara and Himeru, the village elders. Sasuke said you actually call them those names and get away with it. Naruto shrugged and said I call them as I see them. So anyways, the town is only like 100 yards away, so what are we going to get? I know I need some seeds for fruits and vegetables so I can grow some food while I'm there. Kakashi said that will work, but we need to get some meat as well to cover ourselves. Naruto nods and asks what kind and who's paying. Sasuke grunted and said all my money is back in Konoha in the bank. Sakura said I sort of thought that the client provided all our food. Kakashi said I got rations and a little money, but not enough to buy food for the entire time of the mission. Naruto sighed and said in that case I hope you're not in a hurry, Tazuna. All of you go look around and see what this village has to offer while I go get some money for all of us to buy our supplies. As he started to walk off, Kakashi said where are you going, Naruto? Naruto smiled and said it's a secret. By the way, lose the heat if we want to stay undetected by more Gato men. As he ran into town, Kakashi grunted and said to Sasuke, go with him but stay out of trouble. Sasuke nods and runs after Naruto. After a few minutes Naruto saw what he was looking for and walked toward a tavern, just as Sasuke rounded a corner and thought, what the hell is the dope doing going into a tavern? As he went after Naruto. Naruto when he walked in the man at the bar said sorry, no kids allowed. Naruto said blow me asshole, I'm not leaving until I spend all my money on booze, bitches, and bets. The man grunted and Naruto walked over and said give me some sake. As he pulled out his wallet that looked to be bulging. The bartender gave Naruto some, and Naruto downed it in one shot and paid the man, and he turned and walked over and said mind if I sit down. Several men at the table looked at him, and one said go home kid. Naruto pulled out his wallet and said I got $200 here, how about letting me play until that money is gone? As he pulled out $200. Sasuke walked in at that moment and a man said sure kid, why not? As one man moved over and let Naruto sit on the bench. The man at the bar said hey, what the hell's going on? The school is sending all the kids here for higher education or something. Naruto looked back and sighed and said nope, that's the unlucky bastard who's stuck in an arranged marriage. I dragged his ass to this town to have him a bachelor party, but his damn fiancée came along for the ride, how did you lose her anyways Sasuke? As he grabbed his cards. Sasuke said who? Looking confused. Naruto snorted and said Sakura. Sasuke said she's with Kakashi right now. What are you doing? Naruto pulled out his wallet and said hey bartender, how about another round for my best friend here and me? Give me two. As he tossed away 2 cards. The bartender grunted and Sasuke walked over and Naruto grabbed the back of his jacket and yanked him down into another seat that opened up and as the sake was set down along with a bottle as Naruto showed his hand and took in the pot. Sasuke frowned and Naruto said don't be like Sasuke, live a little and drink some. Sasuke said I don't drink. Naruto shrugged and said your loss. 40 minutes later Naruto had a brunette sitting very close to him holding his arm as he pulled in another pile of winning as a small crowd had gathered around the table and Sasuke was wide-eyed and had already drank half a bottle of sake. Naruto leaned over and whispered in the ear of the woman next to him and her eyes flicked to Sasuke and nodded and Naruto said good babe, here you go, something for you trouble. Hoi, Sasuke, the lovely lady here has some things I asked her to get for me, could you go with her and give her a hand? I'm not ready to quit yet. As he slipped some money into her hand. Sasuke grunted and got up and left with the woman and the man shuffling the cards. Tell me you didn't just do what I think you did. Naruto said depends on what you think I just did. The man said sent your friend to become a man. Naruto smiled and said what kind of man would I be if I didn't give him a night to remember before he gets married? The man laughed and said well, your friend will be remembering that for a long time. She's got crabs. Naruto's eyes widened slightly and said for some reason I feel justice is served. So anyways, let's play some more. The man said wait, you're not going to save your friend. Naruto said let me give you a little FYI on my friend. He's had hundreds of women chasing him for years now because his parents were loaded. Until recently we thought he was gay. Now he's getting married and letting her lead him around by his balls and not giving him any. The fact with all those women chasing him and he's still a virgin and letting her tell him what to do is enough that I hope he gives her it also. The man said well when you put it that way, I hope she gives it to him badly. Naruto nodded and said full house. As he laid his cards down. An hour later Kakashi and Sakura walked into the bar as they saw Naruto sitting in the corner with his back to the wall and his feet on a table with a girl under each arm and several bottles of sake in front of them and Tazuna sweat drops and said aren't we supposed to be getting me home? Naruto smiled and said catch Kakashi. As he tossed a bag to Kakashi. Kakashi caught it and went wide-eyed as he saw all the cash in it and asked, how did you get this, Naruto? One of the ladies said, Mr. Namikaze here now owns most of the business in our village. Isn't that right, Mr. Namikaze? Naruto said, yes ladies, like I said before, Lady Luck loves me. Now I trust that you both can run the village for me. The other girl said, of course sir. We will be glad to, and we will make sure the money is deposited into your account every week. Naruto said, thanks ladies. When I have a pair of lovely ladies like you running the bank for me, I feel much safer with my investments. Oh look, Sasuke back. Sasuke came back with a shit-eating grin, scaring Sakura and Kakashi, and Tazuna both blinked, and Kakashi looked at Naruto slowly and said, did. Naruto nodded and said, so Sasuke, how do you feel? Sasuke said, like a new man dope. By the way, she said to give you this. As he handed Naruto a bottle. Naruto took the bottle and looked at it before his eyes got wide and asked, where did you get this, Sasuke? Sasuke said the lady said she didn't feel right taking all that money after finding out the merchandise wasn't up to her expectations and took that from the stockroom. What was she supposed to get you anyways? Naruto bit his lip and said to Sasuke. Did she tell you how she got this? Sasuke said no, why? The bartender said, hey, I recognize that bottle. A guy came in here a few years back and asked the manager to hold it for when he returns, but he never did and nobody was able to open that bottle anyways. Why? Naruto smiled and said nothing. As he pulled out a scroll and sealed the bottle in his scroll and said, well, let's go, and remember ladies, make sure to keep this town growing. I know the two of you are more than capable of doing that for me, and who knows, when we see each other again I might give you the time of your life. The girls giggled and said, we look forward to it and we will. Sakura looked at the girls in disgust who laughed seeing that, and as they left Naruto said, let's hurry up and get the supplies. I got something to tell you all. 20 minutes later, after getting what they needed, the group was back on the road and Sakura said, what the hell was that back there, Naruto? Naruto turned to her and said, Sakura, stop. I got a headache from all the sake I drank, but I got a lot of info I think you all will find interesting about our mission. Sasuke asked, what kind of info? Naruto said, Gato got 3 teams of mercenaries under his employment with 135 men in each team. They switch back and forward between a village in the land of wind and a village north of here in the land of fire near the coast, as well as in wave on the 1st of every month. Also, I got the name of who we most likely are going to fight next, as I found out that Gato has a practice of hiring missing nins and then killing them once they complete the mission, and I found out he is currently employing Uzumaki. Kakashi looked at Naruto and asked, exactly how did you find out all that info? Naruto said, did you see the 2 girls beside me back there? Well, they both happen to be Konoha Kunoichi. Making everyone wide-eyed. Sakura said, what? Are you sure? Naruto said, of course I'm sure. Their brothers used to rent a couple of apartments from me. Anyways, the girls saw me when I was playing poker against some guys to win some money, and so they used their covers as a couple of hookers and asked without revealing anything what I was doing here. I told them I was going to see an old friend in wave, and the girls, while flirting with me, whispered info they heard from guys coming through about what's going on in that area. Kakashi said, well, that was interesting, and I'll have to mention it to Hokage-sama to make sure both girls are rewarded for helping us. Naruto said, I wouldn't worry about that. After all, it's not uncommon for rich businessmen to come through and give little gifts to ladies for their company. One of the men I played against happened to have been the bank owner who was using poker to win the titles to several businesses back there, and well, he's dead, and the girls are the new bank manager with me as the owner, and I was able to make a few deals to help the village grow. I'll just have to have Ino talk with Inoichi, Shikaku, and Chauza when we get back and have them agree to start trade with this town. Azuna said, you killed the guy. Naruto said, no. I don't like to kill if I can keep from it. The guy tried to back out after he lost everything and claimed I cheated. He just happened to have dropped an ace he kept up his sleeve, and one of the guys he's lost to in the past saw this and killed him. I would have arrested the guy for killing the prick, but when the others in the bar started to congratulate him and I heard how the guys had been screwing them over for years, now I decided it wasn't worth the headache, especially with us on a mission. Kakashi said, well, you did good and I'm surprised you were able to win so much. Did you cheat? Naruto said, no, for some reason Lady Luck loves me. Kakashi said, maybe it's because you screwed her. With an eye smile. Naruto shrugged and said, who knows? So what do we do about this abuser guy and about Gato and his men, since odds are we will have to face them as well? Kakashi was quiet for a moment and said, well. As much as I hate to say this, but there is no way we can do this mission. Making everyone wide-eyed and scaring Tazuna. Naruto growled and said, I'm not abandoning this mission, Kakashi-sensei. Kakashi said, I'm not asking you to. I'm going to send a message back to Konoha asking for assistance on this mission, and we're going to stay in this town until they get here. Naruto bit his lip and said, Kakashi-sensei. What if there was a way to keep the client safe and follow your idea of getting help, but also by giving you a chance to either weaken Zabuza or make it appear that he killed Tazuna, so he will either leave Wave getting his money or die when Gato betrays him? Kakashi asked, what do you have in mind? Naruto said, my cards, I could use them to make a copy of you three and head to Wave ahead of you. If Tazuna could write a letter to his daughter that I could give, then she would know he's safe and I could watch them until you arrived, because Gato may decide to use them to force Tazuna to surrender. At best I get there safely and secure the area for us and gather information, at worst I face Zabuza, who will have to fight the copy of you with all your skill, until I run out of chakra and he will be weakened. Either way it's a win-win situation for the mission and also protects Tazuna, Sasuke, and Sakura because even though I know Sasuke and Sakura are able to protect themselves, they haven't had the training for this kind of mission. Sasuke said, and you have done it. Naruto said, I've got the best chance to live through it though. There's a reason I'm afraid of the Council of Konoha for the future of my children and myself. Besides, I can do this. As he disappeared from view, shocking everyone but Kakashi. Kakashi said, do those cards have a limit on Naruto? Naruto said, I have to stay within a mile of them. Kakashi closed his eyes and said, make a copy of me and if it can pull off my signature, then I will allow it. Naruto nods and pulls out his cards and makes one of Kakashi and the Kakashi clone looks at Kakashi who says, create my signature. The clone said, you say something. Why should I? Naruto said, because you're a card-based ninjutsu that is a copy of the original and I need to prove that you have all the skills the original has so I can protect my teammates and complete the mission. The clone looked at Kakashi and asked, is that true? Kakashi nodded and the clone said, very well. As he flashed through hand signs and grabbed his wrist and lightning appeared around his hand and Naruto grunted and said, bastard. Kakashi counted to 10 and said, alright, enough. The clone quit and said, my one original. So what's the plan? Naruto said, the plan is you don't use that unless you have to. It took a fifth of my reserves. Kakashi said, it takes a third of mine. How much chakra does it take to run this? Naruto thought for a moment and said, about as much as a hinge. Kakashi nods and says, alright, make a copy of the other three and you can go. Naruto nods and after explaining it to the other three clones and Tazuna writing a letter to his daughter, the team clone was heading to Wave. After they were gone, Kakashi saw the others looking at him and said, the reason I let him go is because everything he said is true. As much as I hate to admit it, but he does have the best chance of getting in and staying alive until we get there. Sasuke said, then why don't we go with him and just send a message back? Kakashi said, because he's going to do it even if we disagree. He could make a cage bunshin and leave and we wouldn't know it until it was too late to stop him. At least this way I can have a little control over him. Sakura said, but can't you stop him? Kakashi said this mission was originally a solo mission for him. I was given orders to keep an eye on him because of what happened with Tsunade and him. In the last 2 months he's been betrayed by Mizuki and nearly died, learned who his parents were, and about the lies that were created about him that caused him to live a life of pain, loneliness, and heartache, along with learning those he thought he could trust been lying to him, had his only living relative try and kill him, and learns he has 2 bloodlines that like Sasuke here could cause him to be used as breeding stock where he will have to give up his shinobi career to secure his bloodline. He's dangerously close to becoming suicidal or a flight risk. By showing him I trust in him to do this, I am hoping to show that not everyone will betray or lie to him. That deal he made with Sasuke was just as much for himself as it was for you. Tazuna asked, has his life been that bad? Kakashi looked away and said, I've personally stopped over 30 assassination attempts on his life and Itachi stopped even more than I did. Shocking everyone. Sakura covered her mouth and looked in the direction Naruto had left and thought about Naruto. As Sasuke looked also with narrowed eyes. Sakura asked, if his life's been so bad. Why? Why was he always smiling, why is he so? Kakashi said differently. Did you notice how he smiled when that chance lady appeared, was that his normal smile? No, because that was his real smile. Naruto and I are both alike. I wear this mask to hide the pain I felt after my father's death and later the deaths of those I cared for. Naruto also wears an emotional mask to hide his pain, the person you see now is mostly the real Naruto, but he is still hiding some, he doesn't completely trust us not to hurt him like he's been hurt so much before. Sakura said but if he's hurting that much, why doesn't he talk to someone about it? Kakashi said who? Who hasn't hurt him or made fun of him all his life? Who does he know he can trust with his life? Sasuke said the whole thing earlier. It wasn't just about what might happen but what he is afraid I will do. Kakashi nods and says, well come on, let's go get some rest and Sasuke, I hope you use protection. Sakura stopped and paled as she looked at Sasuke who was glaring at Kakashi and Sakura said Sasuke-kun. You didn't. Did you? Sasuke smirked and said and what if I did? As they walked back toward the village. Just then one of the girls who was with Naruto walked by and blinked and said, where's Naruto-kun? Kakashi said he's gone ahead to scout while we wait for reinforcements. The girl said they call me Shirley. Kakashi said I see. I am sure Hokage-sama will be pleased to hear of your help in this village. Shirley said he would, but we work directly for Jiraiya-sama, Kakashi-san. By the way, Uchiha-san, you might want to refrain from sex until you can get in to see a doctor. The girl you were with isn't with us and the locals know that she's got crabs. Causing Sakura, Tazuna, and Kakashi eyes to widen. Sasuke looked confused and asked crabs. What's that? Shirley sweat dropped and said You might want to ask your sensei about that. I have to get going. As she quickly left. Sasuke asked what crabs were. Sakura said pubic lice. Kakashi said yeah. Let's find a place to stay in. Sasuke, no sex until you get that taken care of. Sasuke frowned and said so what should I do about it? Azuna said well, there are only two ways I know to get rid of that. One is to go see a doctor and get some medicine for it and the other is shaving all your pubic hair off and rubbing alcohol across the area. At least that is what I heard. Never had to deal with it before myself. Sasuke said I will deal with it privately then, let's go. As he had a red face. Sakura thought I can't believe he has that. You. As she shuddered. Several hours later, Naruto was walking along the road with Team Clone after taking a boat across to Wave Country. The clone of Tazuna was in the middle with Naruto on the right, Sasuke in the front, and Sakura on the left with Kakashi in the back. As they walked, Naruto tensed as he felt a chakra source and thought damn, if that's Abusa then his chakra signature is nearly as big as Kakashi-sensei. As he continued down the path. As they got near the place Naruto felt Kakashi scream down. As he shoved Tazuna and Naruto down as Sasuke and Sakura fell also. As they all stood up Naruto thought shit, two of them. They must have been right on top of each other. As he felt a second chakra source and saw Zabuza appear on a huge ass sword. Zabuza said well. What do we have here, Sharingan Kakashi? No wonder the demon brothers failed. Naruto said sensei, there's a second one in the trees behind us. Causing Zabuza to tense as well as the person in the trees. Zabuza said It appears that you're a censor kid. Naruto frowned and said bite me no brows. Tell the guy in the trees to come on out. Hiding won't work anymore. Zabuza frowned and said Haku. The swirl of water appeared and Naruto's eyes went wide and said so I was right, you're not really a hunter nin. Haku asked what gave me away and how did you know it was me? Naruto said the cage buncheon you destroyed. The memories transfer back to the original when destroyed. As for what gave you away, you didn't carry any kunai, shurikens, or a sword to cut off the heads of your target. Zabuza narrowed his eyes and said impressive kid you have here Kakashi, but a little too talkative for a wannabe ninja. When I was his age I had my hands already stained with blood. Naruto snorted and said so have I been an asshole. I made my first kill at age 7 and Kakashi wasn't the one to kill the demon brothers. I was. Kakashi said, that's enough Naruto. All three of you guard Tazuna. I'll deal with Zabuza. Zabuza grunted and said Haku, take the kids. I'll deal with Kakashi. Sasuke stepped forward and said I'll take care of her dope. Naruto nods and Zabuza grabbed his sword and jumped out onto the water and began flashing through hand signs and said hit and miss no. As a thick mist began to cover the area Naruto flashed through hand seals and said great breakthrough no jutsu. As he blew a huge gust of wind blowing the mist away. Zabuza scowled at this and said a wind type huh. I guess I can't use silent killing then. Kakashi pulled out a kunai and charged at Zabuza as Sasuke charged at Haku. Kakashi blocked Zabuza's strike and they began to trade blows as Kakashi kept avoiding the sword. Sasuke who had started doing hand signs said Phoenix Fireball. As he breathed out several fireballs at Haku who dodged them and ran at Sasuke kicking him in the stomach, sending him skidding across the ground. Sasuke got up and Naruto said, don't use jutsu Sasuke, go for taijutsu. Sasuke grunted as he charged forward and Naruto thought Sasuke didn't have that great of control because he used too much chakra for that. An explosion caught his attention as water rained down around Zabuza and Kakashi out on the water and Zabuza kicked Kakashi in the knee, causing Kakashi to go down to one leg and Zabuza screamed it's over. As he beheaded Kakashi. As that happened, Kakashi's body dissolved into nothing and Naruto thought shit. As Zabuza began to look around as Sasuke also dissolved as he was hit with needles in the neck. Haku looked around also and said what is this Zabuza? Zabuza said I don't know Haku. With narrowed eyes. Naruto looked at his cards he had taped to his wrist and saw the cards for Kakashi and Sasuke were blank again and thought shit. A needle hit Sakura as Zabuza appeared behind Tazuna, cutting his head off as both of them dissolved. Zabuza growled and said what the hell is going on here? Naruto said Saya. As he disappeared, shocking Zabuza and Haku. Both began to look around when a pair of hands grabbed Haku's feet and pulled her into the ground. Zabuza began to look around and said interesting kid. It's not so what are you doing? As he began to move by Haku while on guard. A shout of water style tidal wave no. was heard as both Haku and Zabuza looked at the lake and saw a huge wave of water heading toward them as Zabuza grabbed Haku onto a tree as the water covered the area. Zabuza growled and said, "Be on alert, Haku, these kids are better than I thought." Haku began to look around and said to Zabuza, "Look at the water on the ground." As she pointed to a spot where a distortion was seen on top of the water. Zabuza smirked as he jumped down, pulling his sword out and charged at the distortion, and as his sword sliced through it, the Naruto that was there dissolves like the others did when vines shot out the ground and wrapped around Zabuza. Zabuza struggled and broke free and said, "Damn it, where the hell is he?" At that moment a clash was heard, making him look over and see Haku blocking Naruto kunai with her, and she said, "You should surrender as I have two advantages. One is we are surrounded by water, and the second is I have occupied one of your hands." As she began to flash through hand signs and said, "Ice style 1000 needles of death." As ice needles appeared above them and came crashing down, and Naruto thought to block it and on instinct sent chakra into the tree limb they were on, and a wall of wood shot out above them, stopping the ice needles. All three ninja eyes widened at this, and Naruto, taking advantage of it, kicked Haku in the stomach, sending her back against the tree as Naruto placed his hand on the tree branch and sent chakra into it while thinking about capture. As branches shot out and wrapped around Haku, trapping her. Zabuza appeared behind Naruto, kicking him off the branch and dove after Naruto, who had turned in air and saw Zabuza coming after him and thought, "Here goes nothing." As he bit his thumb, wiping blood across the snake on his arm and flashing through hand signs, and said, "Kuchius no." As a cloud of smoke covered the area as Zabuza flew into the smoke, he hit something hard and bounced off. As he looked up, there was a 20 feet tall snake with Naruto on its head panting, and Naruto said, "Hi. Get him." As he pointed at Zabuza. The snake hissed and dove at Zabuza, and Zabuza dodged to the side, slicing the snake with his sword, making the snake hiss and slap Zabuza into a tree with its tail. Naruto, who was still on the snake's head, had pulled out some poison that Anko made and put some on a kunai and threw it at Zabuza, who was slumped against a tree before the snake Naruto was on went up in smoke as Haku, who had freed herself, attacked it with 1000 needles of death. Naruto, who was not expecting this, fell on the ground and soon had to use a kunai to block Haku, who was trying to stab him. As they fought, Zabuza, who was recovering from the damage from the snake, pulled a kunai that hit him in the arm out and grabbed his sword and charged toward Naruto and screamed, "It's over." As he slashed at Naruto, who tried to roll to the side. Naruto screamed out in pain as his right arm was cut off above the elbow. As Naruto grabbed his stump for an arm, he jumped back away from Haku and Zabuza, gritting his teeth. Zabuza, who was holding his stomach, said, "Damn kid. You impressed me. You got a name, kid." Naruto gritted his teeth and said, "Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze." As he used his belt to tie off his arm to slow the blood flow. Zabuza frowned and said, "Namikaze. Any relation to Yondaime?" As he coughed up some blood. Naruto bit his lip and said, "My father." Zabuza said, "I see. So we're the old man." Naruto said, "You don't need to know." Through gritted teeth. Zabuza growled and said, "Kid, right now I'm thinking of letting you live, so you better tell me what I want or I will kill you." Naruto looked at Zabuza and said, 12 minutes. Making Haku and Zabuza confused. Zabuza asked for 12 minutes. Naruto said, "The kunai I hit you with. You have 12 minutes before you lose the ability to use chakra for a week. By that time Tazuna will be here with several teams of ninja to protect him, and Gato will kill you. We found out from a town we stopped at for supplies that Gato was planning to double-cross you. We found out about his 3 teams of 135 mercenaries that trade off the first of each month. We also found out that you were the next ninja we faced. Because of my skills you saw, I was sent ahead to protect the client's family and to weaken you should I encounter you. Mission complete. Night." As he passed out from blood loss and chakra exhaustion. Zabuza glared at Naruto form and coughed and said, "Haku. Stop his bleeding." Haku said, "Zabuza. Are you sure?" Looking at Zabuza in shock. Zabuza said, "Yeah. If what he said is true we could use him to negotiate. Also, if Gato is really going to betray us, then with me weakened, we will need all the help we can get, and I think this kid would help us against Gato." Haku said, "Yes, Zabuza-sama." As she moved over to Naruto and gasped and said, "Zabuza. Look at this." As she showed Zabuza Naruto arm that was slowly beginning to grow as new skin began to slowly length, not much, but enough to be noticed slowly moving. Zabuza frowned and said, "What the hell is going on? The Mokuton bloodline of the Shodaime, as well as advanced healing. What the hell are you, kid?" In Konoha the next day, the Sandaime Hokage was in his hospital bed when Tsunade, Shizune, Jiraiya, Kaharu and Hamaru walked in. Sandaime saw them and looked at his teammates and said, "Leave us, this is a private matter." Both nodded and left, and Jiraiya said, "It's good to see you're awake, sensei. How are you doing?" Sarutobi said, "I am recovering and should be out within a week or 2. Jiraiya, "Well, I am looking forward to speaking with you, could you and Shizune please leave the room? I need to speak with Tsunade alone." Both Shizune and Jiraiya glanced at Tsunade, who was scowling, and left the room, and the Sandaime put up a privacy, and the only warning Tsunade had was the alarm of the heart monitor flatlining before she found herself on the ground holding her face, where the Sandaime bitch slapped the living hell out of her. Sandaime stood towering over her, glaring down at her with as much hate as he could, scaring her, and she thought, what the hell, I've never seen sensei like this. The Sandaime said in a heavy and hatred-laced voice, do you have any idea what you have done, Tsunade? Tsunade said, I. The Sandaime bitch slapped her across the other cheek and said, silence. I do not want to hear your voice at this moment. I am too pissed at you to hear your excuses. I know the pain and suffering you felt from the loss of your brother, I know about what you felt from losing your fiancé. I ignored the fact you refused to return to Konoha when I summoned you after the Kyuubi attack, when I should have sent hunter nins after you. I let you go out and have time to mourn their loss and try and find happiness away from all the heartache and bloodshed you saw. But I never imagined you would go so far as to try and kill a fellow Konoha ninja. Tsunade said what, but as she started to raise up. The Sandaime had his fist raised back to punch her, making her shut up and stop trying to get up, and he said, you did, Tsunade. You may have been drunk, and from the reports I believe you were, but you punched the ninja through 6 trees with your punch, which one of the trees stabbed a branch through the ninja's stomach, and then you destroyed the scroll I sent to you, and then kicked the ninja in the face, leaving the ninja for dead. Do you remember now? Tsunade thought for a moment and said, I don't remember. Sarutobi said, you did, Tsunade. The ninja encountered Shizune before encountering you, and from what I heard, the things you said and done to her are just as bad. You are a disgrace, Tsunade. That is why your cousin calls you dead. Tsunade's eyes widened and said, cousin? I don't have any cousins. Sarutobi said, yes, you do. Your father had a sister who married a man from a wind country. They both died but left a son who later died, but also had a child. That scroll had the birth certificates and marriage certificates all the way back to the birth of your aunt. It was proof that you had a living blood relative. Tsunade sat there shocked and said, who? Sarutobi shook his head and said, it doesn't matter now, your cousin knows of your actions to the ninja I sent to you. The ninja teammates told me if they had been any later in discovering the ninja when they returned to camp, the ninja would have died. You have fallen far, Tsunade, and I am sickened that I have to hand over the village your family has fought, bled, and died for. They all would be sickened by who you have become. You're not Tsunade Senju, you're a drunk old bitch who gambles so many people come up with the name of the legendary sucker for them. You, the famous Kunoichi all the girls want to be like, has a name in the world more famous than her medical skills or her battle experience, and makes people think she either sucks at gambling or is great at giving blowjobs. With your teammates who are known as legendary perverts and Orochimaru with his long tongue, most think it's the second one. Tsunade was still shocked hearing all this, and Sarutobi looked at Tsunade and said, I have killed Danzo for being a traitor, if I have to I will kill you also for being one, Tsunade, because your actions that I have seen and heard are on the border of treason. Now you are going to sober up, quit drinking and gambling, you are going to become the Godame Hokage, and lead this village the way it should be based on the ideas that I thought you and your family believed in, and hopefully someday you will be able to earn the respect of your family, should your cousin ever decide to reveal his or herself to you. If you try to run away again or not do your duties as best as you can, then I will kill you. Do I make myself clear? Tsunade, who felt the Kai, could only nod because she was still shocked hearing all she heard. Sarutobi said, good, then go inform the people of your return and that you are taking over as Godame and Swand. Get over your fear. As he took the blood from his arm where he ripped the IV out and wiped it on her face. Tsunade began trembling as the Sandaime glared angrily at her and screamed, go. As he unleashed his Kai. Tsunade, being more scared of her sensei, quickly ran to the door and opened it and left the room, and a gasp was heard from Shizune as Tsunade ran down the hall. Jiraiya, seeing the blood on Tsunade's face, came into the room to check on the Sandaime and said, what happened, sensei? Sarutobi said, nothing to worry about, Jiraiya, I was just giving Tsunade a reason to become the Godame, that was all. Now if you will excuse me, I need some rest, and could you send one of those cute nurses down to fix my IV? I seem to have accidentally ripped it out in my excitement of seeing my long-lost student after so long. In a kind voice. Jiraiya gave a perverted giggle and said, sure, sensei. As he left while thinking what really happened there, Shizune chased after Tsunade, who had made it halfway down the hall before she darted into an empty room, and by the time Shizune caught up to her, Tsunade was shaking back and forward, hiding against a cabinet, and Shizune said in a quiet and calm voice, Tsunade-sama. Are you alright? Tsunade ignored her as Shizune moved closer, and when she saw the blood on Tsunade's face began to use a piece of her dress, she ripped off to wipe the blood off Tsunade's face. Tsunade kept shaking and Shizune said, shh. It's okay, the blood is gone. Calm down, Tsunade-sama. Tsunade asked quietly as she began to slow down her shakes. Did you meet a ninja from Konoha? Shizune blinked and said, when? Tsunade said, alone. Sometime when I wasn't with you. Shizune thought for a moment and said, not that I know of. Why? Tsunade calmed down and said, sensei. He said I tried to kill a Konoha ninja he sent looking for me. He said the ninja met you before encountering me. Said you told the ninja I did some bad things to you. Shizune froze and thought no. It can't be. Naruto. As she slowly moved her hand to her stomach and said Did he say anything else? Tsunade moved her hand to her head and said, he said I had a cousin. A living blood cousin. Causing Shizune's eyes to widen and she thought could it be? If he does have that bloodline he could grow his own food, he said our child would never have to go hungry. And asked what did he look like? Tsunade said I don't know. Wait. I never told you it was a he. In fact sensei always was saying the ninja, not Shibobi or Kunoichi but ninja. He seemed to go out of his way to do that. Do you know anything about Shizune? As she looked at Shizune with narrowed eyes. Shizune gulped and said a couple of weeks ago, I encountered someone in the woods when I was upset after you said some things to me. I was crying and a young man who was heading to the river to wash up showed up. He tried to make me feel better and told me a little about himself, and I know he told me he was a ninja, but he was going without his because there were people who would be after him to stop him from finding the person he was looking for. He never told me who he was looking for and he wouldn't tell me what village he was from. But as she looked down, Tsunade said, but what? What is Shizune? Shizune said did you really try to kill someone, Tsunade-sama? Tsunade said I don't know Shizune. I really don't know. I don't remember telling you anything that would upset you enough to make you cry either. What did I say? As she tried to think about what it might be and thought what have I been doing if I can't remember. Shizune looked away and said, it doesn't matter. I know you didn't mean it. But if the person I met was the same person you might have attacked then he might be your cousin as well. Tsunade's eyes widened as she heard this and said what do you mean? Shizune closed her eyes and said the guy I met. He told me about the trouble he was in. He was afraid once his village found out about his bloodlines of what they would do. I can't say anything else because I'm with his child. As she let tears flow down her face. Tsunade was frozen in place as she heard this as her eyes slowly looked down at Shizune's stomach and asked are you sure? Shizune nodded her head and said, he told me that he had two bloodlines. One from his father and one from his mother and that he had a way to know 100% one way or the other if we were to have a child. He feared what his village would do to his children if they found out about his bloodlines and so he decided he wouldn't have any children in his village unless it was political and love which he was afraid would never happen. He said he would find families whose husbands couldn't have them and offer to be a donor so that his children could live even without him. I wanted to have a child before I missed my chance and I asked if he would let me. I don't regret it. But I only know about one of his bloodlines. He wouldn't tell me about the other. But he did say it was one that he would never have to go hungry with. Tsunade frowned and said Mokuton maybe. What did he look like? Shizune said well. He looked like that. Now that I think about it, he actually looked like a young Minato. But he said he was a Jinchuriki but didn't have a demon sealed in him. He said some strange things that make me think he could be even more related to you now that I think about it because he said his family founded his village and he said he hated the villagers but there were those in it that he would protect from harm. He did say the village leader sent him on the mission disguised as another mission so people wouldn't know. He said he was forced to be a sacrifice for his village protection. As she seemed in thought, Jiraiya asked, did he look like this? As he appeared startling both women as he was holding a picture. Shizune looked at the pictures and said Naruto. Well not exactly, he didn't have those whiskers, but that looks like him. Jiraiya frowned and said this is a picture of Naruto Uzumaki, Minato's legacy on his last birthday. Tsunade frowned and said that. I think I remember seeing someone like that, but the clothes are off and I don't remember what happened, but I think I remember meeting him. As she held her head. Jiraiya frowned and said I got in touch with my contacts when I was in the village last, right after the kid graduated from the academy, him, Anko, and a girl named Ino Yamanaka left the village together right before sensei confronted Danzo. From what I gathered Naruto came back and spoke with Sandame and left the village again the very same day just yesterday, along with Hada Kakashi, Uchiha Sasuke and some pink-haired girl along with a client. When you met him, was he wearing clothes that had a lot of silver in them? Shizune's eyes widened and said actually, yeah, they were made of this weird material now that I think about it. Why? Jiraiya said, people are joking about him going from orange to silver. But it doesn't make any sense, he has the Kyuubi sealed in him. Tsunade frowned and said unless Minato is my cousin sensei was talking about. He did say my aunt had a son and that both her and her husband died and that their son died but had a child. If Minato was my cousin and he had grandfather bloodline, he could have defeated Kyuubi the same way grandfather did. Jiraiya frowned and said, but if that's true then why make everyone believe Naruto was a Jinchuriki and why hide it from everyone? From me saying the last part, Shizune looked down and said Naruto, the one I met said both his parents died the day he was born, did they? I see. I guess it would make sense to protect the village. Konoha was weakened after the Kyuubi attack. If Konoha enemies thought that Konoha had a Jinchuriki, then they wouldn't think to attack the village. Jiraiya said Minato is skilled enough to create a seal to make the story believable, and it would also be a way to protect Naruto from his enemies. Tsunade frowned and said Jiraiya. What kind of life has he had? Not liking where this was going. Jiraiya frowned as well and said from what I heard, hell. That's all I can say. Tsunade growled and said I hate this village. As she clenched her fist. Shizune looked between Tsunade and Jiraiya and said, but what do we do now if it is him? Naruto was scared to death of his village finding out about his bloodlines. Tsunade looked down and said I don't know Shizune. I can't take the chance of endangering you and your child by traveling again like we did, and sensei basically told me if I don't own up to my responsibilities, he's actually going to kill me for treason like he did with Danzo. He wasn't upset. I didn't come back after the Kyuubi attack, but he wanted to kill me for hurting Naruto. Jiraiya said I'm not surprised, word around is they have a grandfather-grandchild relationship. For most of the kid's life sensei was all he had. Shizune said, but Naruto-kun thought we wouldn't see each other again. He's terrified of the village and what they would do if they found out about his other bloodline, and I don't blame him. Tsunade asked, what is it? Shizune frowned and explained what little she knew, and both Jiraiya and Tsunade eyes widened as they heard that, and Jiraiya said Kushina had a bloodline like that. I knew she was hiding something, but that I never expected. Tsunade said we can't tell anyone about this until we verify it's true. If it is then I'm going to do everything I can to get into his life and also make it where you and your child are taken care of also Shizune. It looks like it's a good thing I'm going to be got him then. Shizune said, but how do we verify if it's true? Jiraiya thought for a moment and said well. We can talk with Anko and that girl and find out what they did on their mission. That should help us. Tsunade frowned and said, the way sensei talked. If I really did attack him things are going to be rough between us for a while. We can't tell anyone about his bloodline if it is him, and we can't let people know about the one your child has Shizune. Have you checked to see if Shizune was right? Shizune said hi. I checked the night Jiraiya found us and confirmed it. Tsunade smiled and said congratulations Shizune. And for what it's worth, I'm sorry for whatever I said to upset you, and I'm sorry I seem to have made your life hell. How far have I fallen Shizune? Shizune looked down and said it doesn't matter, you were depressed and suffering and. Tsunade said stop. I think sensei might have been right. If I attack someone and can't remember it and caused you to cry and can't remember it, even after all these years of you being by my side, then I have become a disgrace to my family. No wonder my cousin doesn't want to be in my life. As she seems to begin to realize what all she has done. Jiraiya said well I guess the first thing we should do is get to the Hokage tower and get you sworn in, and then send for those two. Both ladies agreed and got up and began to leave. After they were gone the door next to the room they were in opened and a silver-haired man walked out and pushed his glasses up and thought Lord Orochimaru would be most interested in this information. When the two Sanins and Shizune arrived at the Hokage tower, they saw the grim faces of Koharu and Himeru, and Tsunade asked what's wrong. Himeru said Tsunade, have you agreed to become the Goddamn Hokage? Tsunade said yes. Himeru said good, it will be a few days before we can do a public announcement, but in the meantime we just received a message for aid from a mission that has been upgraded. It appears that Genin Team 7 under had a Kakashi mission has upgraded from a C rank mission to an A rank bordering S rank, and they are asking for assistance. At this all three who just arrived eyes widened and paled and Tsunade felt the fear of her brother and fiancé death repeating with her new possible family and said what happened. In a commanding tone. Koharu said the client, a man by the name of Tazuna, lied about the dangers of the mission because he claimed his country is financially broke from the trade blockade Gato shipping has on his home country of Wave. They were first attacked by a pair of C-rank missing nins named the Demon Brothers from the Hidden Mist, and they were able to kill them, and then after hearing about the state of Wave, they decided to continue the mission. Somehow they got information from an outside source and discovered that the people are starving and that their team would not have any food unless they brought it themselves, and so they went to Silicon Village to get supplies, and while there Uzumaki somehow gathered information from the locals and discovered that Gato has a mercenary army of 3 teams of 135 men each, and also that Gato has hired A-rank missing nins of Uzumaki to kill their client. On a side note Haddock also informs us that the Uchiha had a fling with a local while Uzumaki was gathering information and he seems to have been caught. Crabs. Jiraiya burst out laughing and Tsunade muttered I'll cut his fucking pecker off. Shizune asked is the team all safe or do they need any medical attention besides the Uchiha? Koharu said it appears that everyone is safe and they are staying at Silicon Village waiting for reinforcements. Tsunade said Anbu. A team of Anbu appeared and Tsunade said I am the Goddamn Hokage Tsunade Senju and I have a mission of immediate importance. Chapter 8. It was the next day in Silicon Village where Team 7 was when a team of Anbu appeared in front of Kakashi, and Kakashi tensed at first until he saw the mask and said, "Dragon, what are you doing here? Are you the reinforcements my team asked for?" Dragon sighed behind his mask and said, "I regret to inform you, Kakashi-senpai, but your mission has been cancelled." Team 7 and Tazuna's eyes widened at this, and Sakura said, "What? Why?" Dragon said, "Tsunade, the Goddamn Hokage, has taken over and she has determined since the client lied about the actual dangers of the mission, Konoha isn't responsible to carry out the mission. Where is your other member senpai?" Kakashi frowned and said, "Naruto is currently in Wave. After gathering the info we sent back about the danger here and defeating the demon brothers, because of skills he has gained lately, it was determined he could go ahead to not only protect the client's family we thought would be used as hostages, but also to gather more info in the area and threat we would be facing." Dragon looked down and said, "I'm afraid then that he is on his own." Shocking everyone. Kakashi jumped to his feet and said, "Dragon, what the hell are you saying? I taught you better than this." Dragon said, "I know and I hate it also, but I have my orders. We were to return your team to the village immediately. If any of you argue against it then we have to knock you out and take you back. Goddam doesn't want to risk the lives of our people and we were given orders to stay away from Wave Country. She is going to notify Miss that Zabuza is there so they can send hunters after him, but that is all we can do. We have no reports of Gato doing anything illegal in the Fire Country, so we can't take the word of a man who has already lied to us once about Gato being an evil man." "I'm sorry," Izuna said, but what about me, what about my people?" Sasuke gritted his teeth and said, "Right, that woman is a bitch. What about you saying those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash? Are you saying we should just abandon the dope there?" Kakashi shook his head and said, "I can understand what Tsunade is saying, Sasuke, Tazuna did lie to us once, putting our team in danger, and he could be lying again about Gato. Well, we do know that Gato has mercenaries, so do other wealthy businessmen who use them as bodyguards and security, and as far as we know those men could be just that. While hiring missing mins is frowned upon, it's not illegal. We are often hired to kill people as well. It's not the cancelling the mission that is upsetting, it's the part where Naruto is already there in danger and we're abandoning him. All we can do is return to Konoha as quickly as possible and request Tsunade to send someone to aid him in returning to Konoha and hope he survives long enough until then. I'm sorry Tazuna, if you had only been honest from the start we wouldn't be in this situation and we have to leave you if we are to save Naruto." Tazuna turned his head and said, "I understand. And you're right, how can you trust my words when I have already lied and you haven't seen the suffering of my country?" In a tired voice. Kakashi said, "Thank you and for what it's worth, I'm sorry. Let's go, the sooner we get to Konoha the sooner we can get Naruto some help." As he got up grabbing his things as did the rest of his team who shot sad looks at Tazuna and Kakashi stopped and pulled out a scroll and said, "Tazuna. Give this to Naruto, it might not be much, but until help arrives, this should aid him in staying alive. I'll request personally for a team to come and investigate your claims when they come for Naruto, and if they find out you're telling the truth about Gato, then they will be allowed to help you and your country." As he handed the scroll to Tazuna. Tazuna smiled as he said, "Thank you. At least it's better than I expected and for what it's worth I'm sorry for lying to you. I'll give this to the kid and I'll keep what I heard and saw a secret." Kakashi nods and as the ninja in the room left Izuna, he sighed and thought of Kami. "Please, we need a miracle." Team 7 was soon jumping through the trees and Sakura said, "What should we do, Kakashi-sensei?" Kakashi said, "Both of you listen. What you heard and saw on this mission is not to be discussed with anyone without mine, Naruto, or the Sandaime Hokage permission. Not even to the Goddam, so don't say a word about it." Dragon heard this and asked, "Has there been an issue with its senpai?" Kakashi said, "No, there is more than one secret about Naruto, one being his parents which was learned by his teammates on this mission through a slip-up. Also, Naruto had to kill one of the demon brothers to save his life. You should be able to understand why I don't want that info slipping around." Dragon said, "I see. If it helps senpai, I will volunteer my squad to retrieve him once Goddam approves." Kakashi frowned and said, "Thank you Dragon. I only hope she does approve." When Team 7 made it back to Konoha they quickly ran to the Hokage Tower with the Anbu team and as they got there Shizune who was behind the desk saw them and recognized Kakashi and began to look around and began to pale as she didn't see Naruto and thought no. And said you may go in Kakashi-san. As she got up and opened the doors. As Team 7 and the Anbu entered the room Shizune came in also and closed the door and Tsunade looked up from the papers she was reading and she looked at the members of Squad 7 and said, "Where is your other member Kakashi?" Kakashi said he is currently scouting for information and protecting the client's family in Wave. Your orders to return made us abandon him. Tsunade's eyes widened and Jiraiya who was sitting on the couch said, "Where is Kakashi?" Kakashi said, "Naruto is with the Tazuna family. I don't know the exact location as we were going to be escorting the client there to meet him with reinforcements once they arrived. Tsunade slammed her fist into the desk and said, what the hell were you thinking letting a new genin go solo into enemy territory? Sasuke said, what do you care, you already left him for dead once. Both San impaled as did Shizune and Kakashi said to Sasuke, I told you not to say anything. Sasuke said, I don't care, the dope broke the rules to tell me the truth about Danzo being the one to kill my family and proving that Itachi might actually be innocent. Those who don't follow the rules are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. This Hokage made us become lower than trash to be on the same level she is. Kakashi frowned and said, look, this isn't helping anyone. Naruto is going to need help. He's skilled enough to survive on his own for a while, and he's got a few skills that make it harder to even find him when he doesn't want to be found. I request a team be sent to Wave with a mission of aiding Naruto, as well as investigating the claims of the client Tazuna to see if Geto really is killing their country, and if so aid in protecting Tazuna until his bridge is built. Tsunade, who had slumped into her chair, looked up and after a few seconds said, Jiraiya, Team 7 and Anbu Squad Dragon. I am giving you a mission to head to Wave and find Naruto. Investigate the claims of the client and if they are true then help the people but send word back to me when you find him. I go. As she turned her chair around to hide her ability not to say anything else. The team nodded and quickly left and Shizune walked around the desk and hugged Tsunade, who had tears flowing down her eyes and said, what have I done? When Naruto opened his eyes he was blinded by the light and thought, damn it grandma. As he squinted his eyes several times and he tried to move his right arm and it never reached his face, and then he looked down and saw the stump that had been bandaged and saw him lying on a bed with a blanket covering him up, and he tried to move his left arm and found that it was tied to the headboard of the bed, and Naruto tried to move his feet and found them tied also and thought, great. I've been captured again. But by who? The door to the room he was in opened and a girl around his age with black hair and brown eyes walked in wearing a dress with pink designs on it, and the girl said, I see you're awake, Naruto. Naruto looked at her for a moment and said, the fake hunter Nin. The girl nodded and said, my name is Haku. Zabuza-sama wanted me to make sure you were taken care of. Your arm is healing quickly and I don't know how long before it will completely restore. Naruto frowned and said, why am I still alive? Haku looked at him and said, Zabuza-sama feels that you could be of use later. Naruto closed his eyes and said, my things. Where are they? Haku said, elsewhere. Naruto glanced around the room and said, so how long have I been out? Haku said, 2 days. Naruto frowned and said, I see. What now? Haku said, for now you are to rest and do not attempt to escape. Even if your bloodline allows you to heal quickly you are still low on chakra and suffering from blood loss. Naruto asked why. Causing Haku to look at him and ask why what. Naruto bit his lip and said, you don't seem like a bad person if you're actually worried about my health, even though we are enemies, so why are you working for someone like Geto, especially when he is going to betray you? Haku was quite a moment and looked out the window and said, in the land of water where I was born. People like us, people with bloodlines are feared and hated. The people believe that bloodlines are the cause of all wars. When I was 7, my bloodline awakened and I did not know I had one and showed it to my mother. I got it from her side of the family and she hid the fact she had one her entire life, and when she saw me use it, she slapped me and told me to never use it again. Unfortunately my father saw me use it and later that night he returned with a mob and killed my mother, and when they tried to kill me, I did what you did in our fight and instinctively used my bloodline to defend myself, killing everyone in the mob including my father. Naruto was listening to this and Haku turned back and said, I lived on the streets for a while, barely surviving, unwanted and uncared for by everyone. Until one day. One day Zabuza-sama found me and gave me a purpose, to become a tool for him and serve him. I was so happy to be wanted and needed that I would die for him. Zabuza-sama dreams of becoming the Mizukage and changing the way the land of water and make it better, and he tried to assassinate the Sandaime Mizukage, but his attempt failed and he was forced to flee. Now he goes traveling the world gathering money to help fund himself for when he returns to the land of water to attempt it again, and so we must work for people like Geto. Naruto looked down and said, it hurts, doesn't it? The loneliness of being different, being hated for something out of your control, something you had no choice on. In a sad tone. Haku turned to Naruto looking questionably, and Naruto said, the day I was born, Kyuubi no Kitsune attacked my village. My father sacrificed his life to defeat the Kyuubi, but in the process he made me a Jinchuriki. Haku's eyes widened slightly and said, you have the Kyuubi inside you. Naruto said, no. But my father made people believe that I did in order to protect Konoha from its enemies. Nobody knew the entire truth, and even the Sandaime thought that I had the Kyuubi in me. Even now nobody but me knows the entire truth, but the day I became a ninja, the seal my father designed ended and I met my mother for the first time thanks to the seal since she died the day I was born, but the people of my village believed I was the Kyuubi in human form. I was isolated in a village full of people. Those who didn't attack me either ignored me as if I wasn't even there or refused me service or tripled the price. I would hate them, but there are those who saved me from the pain and the loneliness. One of those was the Sandaime who I see as a grandfather. I can understand why you serve Zabuza. Because I feel the same way for Gigi, I would die for him and his beliefs. But I don't see myself as a tool. I am a person who has the right to choose my own path, to believe what I want and do what I want. Someday I will become Hokage just like my father and Sandaime. I will earn the people's respect and have them accept me as their leader. The Zabuza quest is flawed like the way I once believed in my own quest. I thought if I showed everyone how strong I was or how strong I could become, the people would have to recognize my strength and make me their leader. Zabuza believes that he has to assassinate the Mizukage to become the new one, to show everyone his strength. But people are stupid, they fear what they don't understand, and they fear those who are different or who have power. If you don't show the people what kind of person you are and show them what you will do with the power of a leader, then the people won't follow him and won't believe in him. There's an old saying, if you want to know what someone will do with the power you are going to give them, then see what they do with the power they already have. I don't know Zabuza as a person and only know his name and that he is a missing nin. Besides that, all I know of him is what I saw in our fight and what I heard from you, someone who has been with him and seen what he has done. I can respect Zabuza on some level as a ninja, and I can see he does have the compassion needed as a leader. But I also see that he has one flaw that I cannot respect, and it is a flaw I believe will cause him to fail in his quest. Zabuza, who had moved to the doorway holding his taped up ribs, asked, "And what is that flaw, kid?" Naruto said, "Answer this question and you should know the answer. What price are you willing to pay for victory?" Zabuza snorted and said, "Here, I thought you might be a smart kid, you get victory at any cost." Naruto said, "And that is why you will fail in your quest. If an enemy invaded your village and all you cared about is victory at any cost, you would sacrifice everyone in the village to achieve the victory, but after you won, who would you be the leader of, who would follow you when everyone is dead, your village is destroyed and you may be the winner, but all you are the leader of is a graveyard. Just like here in Wave, you work for Gato because he has the money you will someday need, but if you were to make a stand, to show that you would put the needs of the many before you own, to show the people that you are a leader already, then you would see what is before you here in Wave. If Gato really is killing this country from what I heard my client tell me, then by helping to defeat Gato and earning the respect of the people, when the time comes the people would respect you and aid you in your quest, giving you the money you need and the support, supplies to achieve your dream. But you are blind to this because you want to achieve victory at any cost and will kill this country's hope and with it another chance for you to show the world what kind of leader you are." Zabuza, who was looking at the piercing blue eyes of Naruto, turned his head away from Naruto and looked away before he said, "What are you?" Naruto blinked and said, "Huh." Zabuza said, "You're not normal, you said it yourself, humans hate and fear what they don't know, understand, or those with power. I have power and strength and defeated you, and here you are not even scared, even though I could kill you right here and now, but it's as if you are not afraid of me or even death itself." Naruto smirked and looked at the roof and thought, if only you knew. As he said, "And even though I am the one tied up and lost his arm, you are the one who is actually scared of me, because you know the simple truth, I am right and can prove it." Zabuza sneered and said as if. Naruto looked up and said, "Then why is it that the only person who follows you is the one who follows you not because of your strength, but your compassion?" As he looked at Haku. Zabuza growled and said, "Come on Haku, let's leave this fool alone." As he turned and started to walk away. Naruto saw Haku starting to leave and said, "Who's going to care if you die when you're all alone, Zabuza?" After Haku left the room and closed the door, Naruto thought, okay, what was up with that? Desire said Zabuza desires a better life for the girl, he sees her as a daughter, but he's afraid to admit it, afraid that his enemies would target her to get him. Haku desires to protect Zabuza because he has become a father to her and she desires to see him happy. Naruto thought, where are you at? I don't like not having you on my back. Desire was quite a moment and said, would you believe in the room behind the wall the bed is pushed against? Zabuza and Haku are down the hall a little. Naruto thought, good, at least now that I know where my stuff is I can try to escape when my arm regrows. Desire was quite a moment and said there is a way to get out of her now, but it will be painful. Naruto thought, how? Desire said, well, your bloodline does heal naturally by using chakra, you can speed it up by sending chakra into the area you wished healed faster. It will hurt as all the pain of regrowing it will speed up. The more chakra, the faster you heal. Naruto bit his lip and began to concentrate as he saw his arm begin to push past the bandages and as he gritted his teeth and thought, motherfucker, that hurts. Zabuza laid on a bed resting his ribs as he had an arm behind his head looking at the ceiling and thought, damn, stupid, know-it-all brats. As Haku looked at Zabuza worriedly before the sound of voices was heard coming down the hall and Haku quickly grabbed her hunter nin mask and slipped it on just before the door opened and Gato walked in with his 2 bodyguards. Gato said, what is the meaning of this, Zabuza? Why isn't the bridge builder dead? My men tell me he's at his home now. Zabuza said he hired a team from Ninja. They sent a specialist to decode the real trip back. I've captured the specialist and I'm waiting until I can interrogate him on the rest of his team before I decide the best way to kill the bridge builder and the team, so Konoha won't investigate you after the client is dead along with the team they sent. Unless of course you want several teams of ninja from Konoha here poking their nose around. I can just go and kill them now, but then you would have to deal with the mess. As he sat up and reached for his blade, Edo paled and said fine. We do it your way, but who is this specialist that was able to injure the so-called demon of the mist? Zabuza looked back toward the door where Naruto was and said he's the son of the Yondaime Hokage of Konoha. The eyes widened and said the son of the Yellow Flash. I didn't even know he had a son. Zabuza said neither did I. Apparently Konoha was keeping him a secret and killing anyone who found out about him. He's really valuable and could be used as a hostage later, which is why I haven't killed him, but just cut off his arm. Edo said I see. There's been a change of plans for Zabuza. I am ordering you to keep your hostage secured. Iwa had a huge bounty on his old man, and I'm willing to bet they would be willing to pay for a chance to kill his son. If I'm right, I'll have them kill the bridge builder, which will divert attention from my business. I'll pay you the agreed amount once we are done with the kid, but make sure he doesn't escape. Zabuza clenched his fist under the covers and said right, just make sure you don't forget to pay me my money. Edo said I won't, just make sure your prisoner is alive and stays put until I say otherwise. As he turned and left. Once Zabuza was sure they were gone, he turned and said, go check on the kid and see if he can be moved. Haku asked what? Zabuza said Gato was going to double-cross us like the kid said. Haku asked, are you sure about Zabuza-sama? Zabuza said yeah, Gato planned to sell the kid out and have us killed before selling our bodies also. I could just see the way his mind was working. Haku asked, then shouldn't we kill him now before he can betray us? Zabuza said no, with me injured we couldn't go far, so our best bet is to use the kid to bargain with the Konoha ninja. Haku said very well. As she left and screamed Zabuza. Zabuza quickly got up and got to where Haku was and said damn kid. As he saw Naruto had his arm regrown and had his equipment from the next room where the wall had been rearranged to make a door and the window was open where Naruto had passed out. Haku said I can't believe this. How? Zabuza said the kid's good, I'll give him that. He's not going to be of any use unless he's awake, so tie him back up and one of us will have to stand guard to make sure he doesn't escape again. Haku said hi. As she quickly got to work putting Naruto back in the bed and tying him back up again. Later that evening Tazuna was sitting on his couch looking down when there was a knock on his door. Tazuna frowned and grabbed the crossbow from the closet and said who is it? As he pointed the crossbow at the door. The voice said Tazuna, it's me Kakashi. Tazuna's eyes widened and said, is it really you? Tell me something nobody would know. Silence was heard for a few minutes and Kakashi said Sasuke got crabs. Snickers could be coming from the other side while Tsunami blushed and thought oh my. Tazuna chuckled and opened the door and saw Kakashi holding his uchiha in one hand while holding Sasuke off the ground with the other. Tazuna looked around and saw 4 others in masks, an older man with white hair and Sasuke and Sakura. Tazuna frowned and said the kids are not with you. With worry in his voice. Kakashi frowned, dropping Sasuke and said no, we were under the impression he would be here. Tazuna said my friend that brought me back to Wave said an entire team with me had come through already and he let them go 2 days ago. There's been reports of some kind of huge battle going off near the old fishing lake. The place was flooded and there was strange damage and tree growth all over the place. Along with a severed arm. Kakashi said can you show us where this lake is? Tazuna said sure. I hope nothing bad happens to the kid. Inari said he's dead. Anyone who stands up to Gato dies. You should all run while you can because Gato is too strong to be stopped. Tsunami said Inari, that's enough. Inari huffed and ran up to his room and Tazuna said forgive my grandson. He's been that way ever since Gato had his stepfather publicly executed last year. Come with me, I'll show you where the lake is. I don't know what happened to the arm though. Tsunami, I'll be back shortly. Tsunami nods and Tazuna closes the door and begins leading them away. When they got to the lake all the shinobi began to look around the area and Dragon whistled and said senpai, can he do what I think he can do? Kakashi said I can't say. Jiraiya asked, how does he have a summoning contract with Kakashi? I recognize the indention on the ground there, that can only be caused by a giant summon and I have a pretty good guess which. Kakashi frowned and said he has 2 contracts with Jiraiya-sama and no, it's not an Orochimaru contract. Apparently he was approached by another tribe of snake summons who don't have a summoner. They claim there are 8 tribes of snake summons and that the one Orochimaru has is actually the weakest of them. I don't know what the other contract he has is though. Jiraiya said that shouldn't be possible, Kakashi. Nobody has more than 1 contract. Kakashi said he's not the #1 hyperactive surprise ninja for nothing. Anyways, has anyone found anything? Nico said I have sir, I found a kunai with some poison on it. I recognize the poison as one of Anko. This one I believe is a chakra poison and there is blood on it, so someone has lost the ability to use chakra for at least a week. Kakashi said that he was able to weaken Zabuza. As he walked over and said smart Naruto. As he moved a rock and pulled out 3 cards before he channeled chakra into it and Zabuza, Haku, and Naruto appeared before Kakashi stopped sending chakra to Zabuza and Haku and turned to Naruto and said, "You're one of Naruto cards. I need a report on what happened after you left us." Naruto looked around and said I was able to detect Zabuza about a mile back waiting in ambush and the Tazuna clone informed me there was no other way to his place, so I was forced to spring the trap. He attacked from behind by throwing this huge ass sword. It turned out the moment he appeared I was able to detect a second chakra signature right where he was, so his partner had to have been practically right on top of him. I called out to your clone that there was another and Zabuza called me a censor and called out his partner named Haku, who was female and was the hunter in my cage bunch and detected earlier. She's solid Chunin. Zabuza tried the hit and missed which I blew away with a great breakthrough which pissed Zabuza off since he wasn't able to do something called silent killing. Then your clone took on Zabuza while Sasuke cloned Haku. Sasuke, your chakra control sucks because your fireball drains way too much chakra. Anyway, Zabuza was able to defeat your clone by blowing out the knee and then decapitating you, while Haku was able to take out Sasuke. After that Sakura was taken out by Haku, while Zabuza took out the Tazuna clone. At that time I used my invisibility and began my own counter-attack. Kakashi frowned and said you were supposed to leave. Naruto said my orders were to weaken Zabuza. Anyways, I used a headhunter to pull Haku in the ground and used the tidal wave to try and take them both out, but Zabuza was able to free Haku and jump to the tree before it hit. Luckily I was warned about the weakness of my invisibility and I set a trap to divide Haku and Zabuza and when Zabuza took out my clone on the water, a cage bunshin used a capture to trap him and I attacked Haku. Haku has a bloodline to control ice and can use one-hand signs. She is very efficient at the use of and can make them with her bloodline which she did. I was able to block her attack and then capture Haku again, but then Zabuza began to attack me and I was forced to use my I got that you yelled at me about for not telling you of it and I was able to break a few of his ribs with it before hitting him with a poison kunai that makes it where he won't be able to use chakra for the next week. Haku ended up breaking Zabuza ribs and I wasn't prepared for that, so I hit the ground and Zabuza used that moment to cut off my arm. I planned to throw the 3 cards showing Zabuza, Haku, and me over toward the tree where a cage bunch and I had stayed back to use attacks, hid it under the rock. Or at least that was the plan. I don't know what happened after I made the cards when I lost my arm. Jiraiya said is Naruto alive? Naruto looked at Jiraiya and then at Kakashi and said who's he? Kakashi said Jiraiya. Naruto nods and the next moment Jiraiya was on the ground holding his balls, shocking everyone. Jiraiya cried out in pain why? Naruto said hello godfather. That was payback since I have never seen you ever. Jiraiya paled and Naruto looked around and said I'm alive. Dragon asked, how can you be sure? Naruto said I can hear. Yeah, never mind. Let's just say that the real me is alive and on the island, but I don't know where. I'm low on chakra and passed out and I'm with Zabuza and Haku. That's all the info I can give you. Kakashi said you've given us more than enough and I'll make sure Naruto gets these backs. Does he get the memories back from you like a cage bunshin? Naruto said maybe, maybe not. I haven't tested that out yet. Kakashi cancelled his chakra and Naruto disappeared and he said alright, Sasuke, Sakura, Nico. I want you 3 to return with Tazuna to his house and stay guard there. Sasuke said but what about the dope? Kakashi said this is too dangerous for you both to get involved in. With the info we got Zabuza and Haku could use Naruto as a hostage or a distraction. We can't fail the mission to save Naruto so do as I am ordering you so we can save him and the mission. Sasuke grumbled but left with Sakura and Nico and Kakashi saw Jiraiya up but holding himself and said alright, I think we should see if we can get a scent track with my summons. Jiraiya said agreed. Let's find the kid or Tsunade will kill us. The next day Naruto woke and found himself tied up again and he frowned as he heard Zabuza say you're a tough kid to keep down. Naruto said if I wasn't so low on chakra I'd kick your ass all over the place again. I would have beat you if it wasn't 2-on-1. Zabuza frowned and thought he might have. And said doubted. Anyways, we have bigger things to worry about right now. Naruto frowned and looked over at Zabuza and asked like what? Zabuza said Gato came by yesterday, wanting to know why the old man was still alive. He knew about you and wanted to know why I hadn't killed you, so I told him who you were. He was surprised like I was when he heard the Yondaime Hokage had a kid and he's planning to sell you to Iwa. Naruto glared and said you fucking bastard, at least let me defend myself. I should have used my other poison and killed your ass instead of weakening you. Zabuza frowned behind his bandages and said true, you should never show mercy to an enemy. But then Haku would have killed you after I was dead, so we both can be blamed for showing mercy. But with me weakened and unable to use chakra, and it's only 2 days travel from the closest Iwa outpost to here. If he used his radio to send a message, Iwa Nins could be here anywhere from tomorrow on to kill you and your client. Since Gato wants Iwa to take the blame, should Konoha investigate what is happening here? Naruto said, and you as well, so he could sell you and Haku to the mist. Zabuza said, smart kid. So you see, the best chance we have to get out of this mess is a partnership of sorts. Naruto said, what do I gain out of this, since it's obvious that you're doing this out of the kindness of your heart? Zabuza said, smart ass. What you gain is intel. Haku and I give you all the info we know about Gato and his men, like where they are staying and how many at each location. Naruto closed his eyes and said, here's the deal. I don't trust you or the girl, but I do know that you would do anything to protect her, since you see her like a daughter and she sees you like a father. Give me the intel and I'll use my bloodline to make a small boat. It won't be much since I'm not very good, but it will be enough to get you across to the mainland. Once you do that, head to Siligan village and find a girl named Shirley. I'll give you a scroll to give to her. She will hide you until Jiraiya, my godfather, arrives. I'll ask him to hire you as part of his spy network. That way Konoha won't come after you and you can have some access to places in Fire Country as well as info of any hunter nins that are after you. I'll give you my word that he will agree to meet you and discuss the deal, and if things don't work out, he will let you both leave unharmed. Zabuza said, and how can I trust you? Naruto said, because I can feel Kakashi-sensei and his summoned dogs heading this way along with 2. Number 3 others I don't recognize. If I was going to double-cross you, I wouldn't have warned you about them or willing to get them to let you leave unharmed or tell them the fact it was you who sold me out to Gato. The way I see it, you can either trust me or you could fight them in your condition. Zabuza frowned and said, fine. Haku, release him. But if he tries to double-cross us, kill him. Haku said yes, Zabuza-sama. As she released Naruto, who rubbed his wrist and walked to the window and raised it and said, hey, Kakashi-sensei. I'm up here and I got 2 people who want to make a deal, get your tardy ass up here. In the woods, Kakashi sweat dropped and said, that's Naruto for you. As he looked at the others who were with him before walking up to the window where Naruto was and glanced inside and saw Haku sitting by Naruto while Zabuza leaned against the wall. Kakashi frowned and said, Zabuza Mamachi. Release my student. Zabuza said, he's not a hostage, but we have bigger problems. Iwa coming for the kid. Double-crossed me and hired them to kill the old man, the kid, and us. Kakashi asked, and why are you still here? Zabuza said, the kid busted my ribs and poisoned my chakra. All I have is my skills, which are limited at the moment. The kids offered me a deal to join the Jiraiya spy network in exchange for info on Gato and his men. Kakashi said, is this true, Naruto? Naruto said, yeah, I'm not at 100% either, no brows here, cut off my arm above the elbow, but luckily my bloodlines regrew it, but the muscles are weak right now. Also I'm low on chakra and the girl here's Hai Chunin. She's also the fake hunter nin from before. Who's the 3 with you? Kakashi tensed and said 3 Anbu. Naruto frowned and said, any news on the hag? Kakashi said, she's in Konoha. Naruto looked at Zabuza and said, can I join you and become a missing nin? Causing everyone to sweat drop and look at him. Haku said, what the hell? Looking the most shocked. Naruto said, long story, anyways I've given my word that even if Jiraiya refuses to let them join, they can leave unharmed. Kakashi said, you're not in any position to make that kind of deal. Naruto said, Kakashi, he let me live after I lost, and he informed me about Gato seeing me and recognizing me as dad's kid, and he's protected me from Gato men by telling them my injuries were too critical to move since Gato wants me alive. He told me about Gato contacting Iwa and gave me an estimate on how long before they arrive, which is tomorrow. If nothing else, I owe him at least one escape and a chance. Kakashi frowned and said, what do you think of Jiraiya-sama? As he glanced to the corner of the room and the wall shimmered and Naruto said, what the hell? I didn't detect you. Jiraiya ignored Naruto for a moment and said, is what the kid said true? Zabuza said, mostly. Jiraiya glanced at Haku and said the same with the girl here. Zabuza said, she's my apprentice. Jiraiya said, I see. Fine, tell me what you can about what's going on here with Gato, and based on that I'll either hire you or not. But either way I'll let you leave, provided you don't harm anyone from Konoha or the client for the mission. Zabuza said agreed. Gato got 4 bases. 1 on each side of the island. He has his men capture women and children who are then loaded on boats or used for pleasure. He's got a blockade of around 40 ships which are mostly his security force, but he keeps 30 close by and 2 Ronin for bodyguards. He killed the feudal lord here and used a feudal lord's palace as his home. Jiraiya frowned and said, alright, the info is good enough, I'll let you join my network. Zabuza glanced at Naruto for a moment and said, is there any way that Haku can join Konoha instead? She's never been registered as a ninja. Haku said, but Zabuza-sama, my place is with you. I am your tool. Zabuza sighed and said, Haku, shut up. Now what of it, Jiraiya-sama, is there any way Haku can join Konoha? Jiraiya glanced at Haku and Naruto said yes. Causing Jiraiya to scowl and say you can't make decisions like that. Naruto said fuck off pervert, I have a way to get her into Konoha as well as make sure she won't be turned into breeding stock. I'll make sure she's protected as long as she's loyal to Konoha. Zabuza said Konoha. Or you. Naruto thought for a moment and said make it me. Zabuza said deal. Jiraiya said now hold on a minute. Naruto looked up and said you say something. Causing Jiraiya to fault and Kakashi to snicker. Naruto said anyways, let's get the hell out of this place. If Iwa gets here ahead of schedule this will be the first place to look and I need to get you that boat I promised. As he stood up and grabbed his sword before holding out his hand to Kakashi and said cards. Kakashi said as he handed them to Naruto, you're going to have to explain this when we get back to the others. You do realize that. Jiraiya said as well as the fact you're related to Tsunade and knocked up her apprentice. Naruto said I don't know what you're talking about in either case. As he had his back to Jiraiya and walked out. Jiraiya asked then what about the 2 summoning contracts? Naruto said again, I have no idea what you are speaking about. Jiraiya frowned and said I am a Sannin and I ordered you to stop walking away and talk to me. Naruto said 99 bottles of beer on the wall, 99 bottles of beer, take one down, pass it around 98 bottles of beer on the wall, kill the demon, it's weakened, you say something, I can't get no satisfaction, pervert, oh yes right here's the spot, fuck you, go to hell, kiss my ass, bite me. As he kept talking. Jiraiya said, what are you doing? Naruto said following orders Iro-sanin, you ordered me to talk so I am talking about anything and everything I can think of at the moment. I am sorry if I am not speaking fast enough so I'll start talking to fangirls. Oh, Sasuke Kuni. Jiraiya screamed as he covered his ears and said oh for the love of Kami, forget it. As he marched off. Naruto asked, was it something I said? With a smirk. Zabuza said you are an evil kid, evil. Naruto said men say I'm a demon, women say I'm a god. Who am I to disagree? Chapter 9. When Naruto, Jiraiya, Kakashi, Zabuza, Haku, and the 3 Anbu arrived at Tazuna house, Naruto thought suckers, they didn't know that Haku and Zabuza were really gone. Jiraiya, you fucked up because Desire told me that you were thinking that the Mist Hunter Nins would take out Zabuza and Haku, which is why you were agreeing. As they walked inside Nico, Sasuke, and Sakura tensed as they saw Zabuza and Haku, and Naruto said yo, sorry I'm late, I got lost on the road of life. Kakashi said I'm fixing to sue you for copyright violations Naruto. Naruto said you say something. Kakashi glared at Naruto and Jiraiya said alright, can I have everyone's attention? The mission to protect the bridge builder is officially over. Causing several eyes to widen and Naruto turned and walked over to Tazuna and said it's good to see you made it home. I am your lovely daughter and grandson. Tazuna blinked and said yeah, this is my daughter Tsunami and my grandson Inari. Didn't you just hear that guy? He said your mission is over. Naruto said I know and the retrieved Naruto Uzumaki mission is over since I am back now, but the original protect the bridge builder mission is still going. Tazuna blinked and took a deep breath to relax and Jiraiya said that is not what I meant. Naruto turned and said you say something. Jiraiya said get ready, we're going back to Konoha. Naruto said tell me something. Is Tsunade paying you with a blowjob or an actual fucking pervert? As he sat down, shocking everyone. Jiraiya said, what did you say? Naruto said to Naruto well, let me ask Kakashi-sensei something since I trust his counsel. These Anbu here with us, are they trustworthy? I mean are the 3 guys and the lady trustworthy enough you know they would risk their life for a comrade? Kakashi said yes, I know all 4 and they are trustworthy. Why? Naruto said just wondering if they knew why they are really here. As he looked at his nails. Jiraiya said, what are you saying? He was silenced as a blade was pushed against his neck as another Naruto appeared with Desire drawed and pushed against Jiraiya's neck. Naruto said don't let anyone move until I finish saying what I have to say. First off, I'm not really here. Both me and the one over there are clones. The reason I did this is because I honestly believe that Jiraiya does not have the authorization to do as he claims he is here for and I want to tell you why I believe that. Sasuke said what's going on? Another Naruto appeared and said first off, my real name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. I am the son of the Yondaime Hokage of Konoha and everyone thinks I am the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. When in fact the day Kyuubi attacked a living blood relative of the Shodaimes used Mokuton to send Kyuubi away and my father actually died from a poison kunai that bounced off Kyuubi. Dad knew about the person who could use Mokuton as well as the fact Konoha was going to be weakened where other villages would attack and so he placed a seal on me to make it appear I was a Jinchuriki. If Jiraiya here would have even looked at the seal he would have noticed it but after dad died he never once looked at me even though he's my godfather, he instead sees me as Kyuubi and blames me for dad's death. He's been to Konoha countless times to give his reports and could peek at women and write his books but he never once looked in on me. So then why now, why before ever checking the situation here in Wave, is he suddenly cancelling a mission after finding me and wanting to return to Konoha? Because he thinks he can get free pussy or a blowjob from Tsunade, since the Sandaime Hokage refuses to give her the information on who her other relative is, and since I was given the mission to deliver a scroll originally to her with that information, and I know who it is she needs me to get back to find her family. Tsunade also attacked me, sending me through 6 trees where a branch stabbed me through the stomach and I was bleeding to death. To add insult to injury, she kicked me in the face and laughed as she walked away, leaving me for dead. Causing those who didn't know to look surprised. Naruto continued, so why should I believe the word of a man who wants me dead for killing his student and a woman who attacks Konoha shinobi critically and leaves them for dead and cancel a mission when I have been given specific orders by the Sandaime that if I ever doubt the truth about a mission after what happened with Mizuki I am to request written proof, and since the mission to protect Izuna was given to me by the Sandaime, I will only accept written proof with the Sandaime seal and signature on it. Also, if Jiraiya was really here for the mission to protect a bridge builder that I was assigned that he is trying to cancel, then you can all go back to Konoha and I will be marked as a missing nin since I am completing this mission. But Jiraiya can't let that happen because he needs me and me alone, the rest of you could all be killed and die and he wouldn't care. Because none of you would get him the free pussy or blowjob from Tsunade, which is the only reason he's here. Tsunade needs me because she recently found out that she has another relative who doesn't want anything to do with her after her relative heard about Tsunade attacking and leaving me for dead. That has become a clan matter between her and that member, and the Sandaime and I both are told to stay out of it since the Hokage and council can't get involved, but here Tsunade is, using Konoha resources, for clan business. In fact, you know why she's now the goddamn Hokage. The heroine Hamura agreed to pay off her gambling debt that will cost Konoha 1/3 of its treasury for her to take the title of Hokage. She takes it, using Konoha resources to deal with clan business, and then once she gets everything she will run like she has all these years. Naruto looked at Jiraiya's eyes and said Tsunade should be killed for ignoring the summons to return after the Kyuubi attack, as well as when she was ordered to return after the Uchiha massacre, but she doesn't care about the village. She only cares about herself, her alcohol, and her gambling, and all Jiraiya cares about is getting pussy and being allowed to peep. That is why I believe that Jiraiya does not have the authority to cancel this mission, and if I'm wrong, then go back to Konoha and leave me here and mark me as a missing nin, because I honestly believe that my mission here is the right one and that it is in Konoha best interest. But Jiraiya can't let that happen, can you be an asshole? Jiraiya said, we have to get out of here before Iwa nins arrive and kill you. Naruto said, and I won't appear before they do, so is 1 dead last worth the lives of 4 Anbu, a Jounin elite, and 2 Genins, which include the last loyal Uchiha. No, my life isn't worth putting all their lives at risk. But you don't care about them because you can't return without me or Tsunade will kill you or cut you off from getting any. Jiraiya said, I am a Sannin and you will follow my orders. Naruto laughed and said, oh, that's rich, the 3 legendary Sannins. Who got their asses kicked so bad by one old man he felt sorry for them and gave them a name to make them feel better. Or is it that you like being known as the legendary pervert, the legendary pedophile, and the legendary sucker? I don't know why Konoha respects that title. You should honestly feel ashamed because I, a lowly, was able to beat one old man and I was an underfed, undertrained, and abused academy student. But 3 great Jounins couldn't do the same to one man who is supposedly weaker than the old man I defeated. I don't take orders from trash. I threw it away. Jiraiya disappeared and destroyed 2 of the Naruto, and Naruto said, it won't do you any good, pervert, I'm not here, so destroy me. But you know the funny thing about my sword. It only can cut if the person I use it against plans to kill me. That's a nice mark you got on your neck, blood and all. Saya, when I return to Konoha after I finish the wave mission. I'll be around Izuna, so rest easy. I'm still here protecting you. Kakashi-sensei, take Sasuke and Sakura and get them out of here. No need for them getting caught in my fight with the pervert. If you can, leave that scroll of supplies we bought so I can use it to help these people. Good luck, and in case I don't make it, goodbye. Before he went up in smoke, Jiraiya said, spread out and find him. Sasuke said, but you ordered the mission cancelled and ordered us to return to Konoha. Unless the dope is right and you don't have the authority you claim you do. Either way, I'm staying with the dope. Mark me as a missing nin. It will make finding my brother easier. Jiraiya frowned and said, Kakashi, control your student. Kakashi said, I would, Jiraiya-sama. But I find myself agreeing with some of what Naruto said. I do know that he did get that order from the Sandaime, and this mission was given to him to get away from Tsunade, and we are not allowed to interfere in clan business. So if you have the written order from the Sandaime, then I will follow your orders. But if not, then I am not going to abandon my team, since Sakura I can see isn't leaving either. As Sakura shook her head in agreement to that statement, Jiraiya said, this will be your career, Kakashi. Kakashi said, probably. But I'll take my chances. Unlike you, I was there, I saw what happened to Sensei's son. It wouldn't have taken but 2 minutes of your time to look in on him when you were in town. But you never did, you had too much research at the hot springs. So the only reason I can see you are here now is because of the reason Naruto claimed. Which we have no business interfering with since it's clan business. Dragon, take your team and go. Report back to Tsunade about what is going on and also speak with Sandaime before you speak with her. That way your team won't be involved in something it shouldn't be. Dragon said alright, Kakashi-senpai. I'll leave things here with yours and Jiraiya-sama hands since I do not know whose orders to follow in this situation with the current info I have. Jiraiya said you're making a mistake, Kakashi. Tsunade wants to meet her cousin. Naruto appeared and said, but her cousin doesn't want to meet her, so it's clan business we have no business interfering with. If Tsunade wanted to know she shouldn't have tried to kill me and if you wanted to be in my life then you should have. But because I don't have tits and a twat I'm of no interest to you. Gigi tried to lie and say your duties kept you away. But how many hours did it take for you to write and edit all those books you wrote? And why is it that I had to fight for survival and go to bed hungry at nights when you have all that money you pay prostitutes? Your sins have come back to bite you in the ass. All you can do is suck it up and face the bitter truth. Or run and hide. At least when I die, I won't have to look at the angry faces of my parents like you will. Imagine what Minato will say when he sees you and knows that you abandoned your duty and ignored his final request. Before disappearing. Jiraiya frowned and said fine. Kakashi, they're in your hands. If they live or die it falls on you. As he left. Kakashi frowned as Naruto appeared behind him and said relax. Everything will work out. I promise. Kakashi said I don't see how. Odds are Sakura, Sasuke, and I will lose our shinobi license when this is over. If we even survive this mission. Naruto smirked and said trust me. Sakura said, why do I feel like we're all going to die? Naruto said nope. Because the mission is going to end tonight. Causing everyone to look at him. Sasuke said what? But if you were just going to cancel the mission then why did we just stand up to Jiraiya like that? Naruto said I never said we were canceling the mission. I said the mission was going to end tonight. Tazuna, would you and the people of Wave be able to finish the bridge on your own if Gato and most of his men were taken care of? Permanently. Everyone's eyes began to widen and Kakashi said you're not thinking what I think you're thinking. Naruto walked over to the table and pulled a map from up his sleeve and unwrapped it and said, this is Wave. The sections I have circled here are the location of Gato and his men, using the intel I got from Zabuza and Haku after I switched them with clones. Right here is where Gato keeps most of his men in this warehouse area. The greedy man who doesn't even trust his own men, so he keeps them away from everything of value. Except slaves. Kakashi frowned and said alright, tell us what you got, Naruto. Naruto said I had a couple of cage bunchen heads over there to look at. There are 5 buildings, 4 of the buildings have barracks for Gato men, while the 5th Gato has a store where his men can get alcohol or women in exchange for payment. I originally planned to use exploding tags and blow the buildings to hell till I came across the slaves. As much as I hate to say it for the moment there is no way to save them. At least for a few hours. I figure our best bet to hit these buildings will be to do it after they have exhausted themselves or passed out from the alcohol and the sex at probably 4 AM. Then it will be a simple matter of getting in and killing them one at a time. I'll have to be the one to do it since I can use my clones and my invisibility to get in and kill them in their sleep. Kakashi asked, are you sure about Naruto? I know you've killed before, but killing someone who's trying to kill you and assassinating someone are 2 different things. Naruto closed his eyes and said I can still hear the woman screaming Kakashi. I'll have no problem killing those men. Kakashi said, alright, what else do you have? Naruto pointed to a section and said this is where Gato keeps his valuable merchandise. He's got 10 guards around one warehouse. It's a valuable target that we can take care of together after finishing the last target. This is Gato Mansion. It used to be the Wave Lord Mansion, but Zabuza informed me that he's dead. Gato had his men kill him. Gato got 5 men. 2 personal guards. And 3 ninja from Orochimaru New Village. Kakashi looked up as did Sasuke and Sakura and Kakashi said Orochimaru Village. Naruto said yeah. Zabuza said Orochimaru started his own village called the Hidden Sound over Rice Field Country. It's made up of nothing but missing nin, and the 3 Gato got were genin level at best. Send slaves to Orochimaru for whatever purpose Orochimaru wants them for. The best I can see is that we divide Gato forces up. At 5 AM, Sasuke and Sakura use and explode tags on the Gato warehouse that has the valuables. If they can kill a couple of his men while doing it then fine. But after they use their tags they retreat. The sound should travel all the way to the mansion and he will send those sound nins to check it out. When that happens you can get in and kill his 2 bodyguards and either capture him or kill him depending on if you want information on what he's doing with Orochimaru. By that time I'll have killed all of Gato's men at his first base, and the explosion should wake up the prisoners, and I can see if there are any men I missed." Sasuke said, "You seem to have this all planned already done." Naruto said, "Because it's what I was planning on doing myself before you three decided to stay. Thanks for that by the way." Kakashi said, "What about the 3 sound nins? What are we to do about them?" Naruto said, "Nothing. At least nothing at first. Get in and get out. Retreat back to here. Konoha needs the info we have, but making it back to Fire Country, tired, while avoiding Iwa nins isn't something we should do. We come back after killing Gato and his men and rest. Seal Gato body so when we leave when the workers get to the bridge tomorrow after resting we can show them that they are free in case there are any stragglers we missed and then get back home. We protect Azuna and his family, get valuable intel and eliminate a threat to Konoha and Fire Country, as well as informing about the Wave Lord's death. That should be enough info, plus the fact Tsunade needs me to find out for sure about her relative. By presenting all this info to the council which we demand to see when we return, Tsunade won't be able to punish us directly, and I have a way to make her not do anything indirectly either." Kakashi said, "Alright. We will worry about Konoha tomorrow. I think Naruto had a good plan. How did you come up with it?" Naruto said, "Anko-sensei. She's a sadistic bitch. But she's one hell of a teacher." Kakashi nods and says, "Alright, Sasuke, Sakura, do you understand your mission?" Sasuke said, "Yeah, cause lots of noise and attention." Naruto said, "Don't destroy the building too much. The people of Wave can use what's in that warehouse to save their country." Sasuke said, "Right, we can handle it." Sakura said, "Yeah. But Naruto. Are you sure you're going to be alright?" Naruto said to Sakura. "I respect women a lot. I may seem like a pervert. But I would never force myself on a woman and I sure as hell won't stand by and watch what I saw being done to those women and do nothing about it. I've been called a demon and I'll sure as hell become one if it means saving them." Sakura smiled slightly and Inari said, "You're all talk, but you're all going to die." Naruto turned to him and said, "Kid, if I die I'll embrace death with open arms and accept death's touch with a smile on my face, so be quiet. I'm tired and we need to get some rest before we move out in the morning." Kakashi said, "Right, I'll wake you all up at 2:30. Get some rest." Naruto said, "What about you?" Kakashi said, "I'll be fine. Now go." Naruto nodded and turned and said, "Where can we rest?" Tsunami said, "Follow me." As she got up and said, "You can stay in this room, Sakura. And you both can't stay here in this room." Sakura went into her room and Sasuke went in and said, "You are coming, dope." Naruto said, "I'll be there in a little bit." Sasuke grunted and said, "You sleep on the floor then." As he walked into the room and laid down, Naruto turned to the Tsunami and said, "Are you alright?" Tsunami asked, "What?" Naruto said, "I asked, were you alright?" Tsunami said, "Yes, why?" Naruto said, "Because you're worried about what your father and son will think when they find out the truth." Tsunami looked shocked and stuttered. "What is the truth?" Naruto looked at her and said, "If you want someone to talk to let the pain out, I'll listen. I saw how you reacted when I was talking about those warehouses and what is happening there." Tsunami looked scared and said, "Please. Don't tell anyone." Naruto looked at her and said, "Let's talk in your room." "I won't tell anyone, but you have got to let what you're feeling out or it will destroy you and then destroy your family. Please, just talk to me." Tsunami bit her lip and looked down and nodded and Naruto followed her to her room and Tsunami sat down and after Naruto closed the door and sat down beside her on the bed, he held her hand and said, "When you're ready. I have all the time in the world." Tsunami smiled slightly and after a few minutes said, I was looking for Inari. He had ran off angry after dad had left to get help. I got worried and went to look for him and 2 men found me. They." As she burst into tears and turned to Naruto crying into his chest. Naruto began to rub circles around her back and whispered, "I'll make sure they can never hurt you again. I promise." As he tried to comfort her. When she cried herself to sleep, Naruto laid on her back and covered her up and began to leave when she grabbed his wrist and said, "No. Please. Please lay with me. I don't want to be alone. Please." Naruto looked at her and nodded before slipping off his shoes and crawling in bed with her and she rolled over and laid on his chest before she fell back to sleep. A few hours later Naruto walked back into the living room where Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura were and Sasuke said, "Where were you, dope? You never came to our room." Naruto said, "Don't worry about it. You guys ready?" Everyone nodded and Naruto said, "Let's go then." Sakura said, "Hey Kakashi-sensei, why are you letting Naruto lead?" Kakashi said, "Because I haven't seen a reason not to follow what he said yet. I can't always be there for you so you're going to have to learn to lead yourself." Naruto said after 10 minutes, "Well, this is where we split ways. I'll meet you back at Tazuna house." Kakashi said, "Be careful, Naruto. You got the most dangerous part of this." Naruto said, "Don't worry, I will." Kakashi said, "Both of you stay alert. Those ninjas could arrive at any time so watch your surroundings." Both Sakura and Sasuke nod and Kakashi says, "Well, good luck to you three." As he leapt away as did Naruto. 20 minutes later Naruto was in a tree looking at the warehouse and then at the moon and said using Kage Bunshin to watch us wasn't necessary. Kakashi appeared on the branch and said maybe. Maybe not. But I'm not going to let my comrades die because I wanted to save chakra. Besides, I wanted you to know that you are not alone Naruto. You have others who are here for you. Naruto sighed and said I know. I'm going to have to face my demons when we return to Konoha. Even if I don't want to. Hiding our pain will only consume us and destroy us. As an image of tsunami entered his mind, Kakashi said, are you ready? Naruto said yeah, Saya soon. As he punched Kakashi who went up in smoke and Naruto then turned invisible. As he walked into the warehouse he found his first victim and a quick slice and it was over before the next and the next. An hour later Naruto was 3/4 of the way through when an explosion was heard and Naruto thought shit, I was going too slow. As he saw someone starting to wake up and he quickly killed the man before a shot was heard and Naruto who was still invisible began killing every male he came across but a man grabbed a bottle of sake and threw it in the air and shattered it with his sword and the liquid covered Naruto who frowned as he dropped his invisibility and put his hands together and said Kagebunshin no. As 30 of him appeared and began to fight. Kakashi was waiting silently as the first explosion was heard and he saw 2 figures jump away and thought well 2 out of 3 is not bad. As he appeared behind the third ninja and knocked him out before entering Geto Mansion. When Kakashi returned to Tazuna 2 hours later he saw Sasuke and Sakura there and he asked where's Naruto. Before anyone could say anything the form of Naruto entered the room covered from head to toe in blood and said mission accomplished. Before he fell to the ground with several weapons sticking out of his back and several shots of Naruto. Was heard before he passed out. Chapter 10 When Naruto awoke he found himself on a bed and he looked around and thought, what the hell? Where am I? He began to sit up and looked at his body and thought, why is it that every time I pass out I wake up naked? As he stood up he looked around the room and saw his clothes were in a chair and he moved across to get them when the door to the room opened before an eep was heard and then a thud. Naruto looked over and saw Sakura passed out on the ground and thought wait till Ino hears about this. When Sakura woke she saw Naruto sitting in a chair dressed and she quickly sat up and said what happened? Naruto said you passed out when you walked in on me. Don't you know how to knock first? With an amused smile on his face. Sakura blushed and looked away embarrassed and Naruto said sorry, with all the times you called me a pervert, I had to milk it this time. So how long was I out and what's up? Sakura said it's been 6 days. Naruto blinked and said what the hell? Why was I out so long? Kakashi's voice came from the door and said you nearly killed Naruto. Your chakra reserves were so low I was afraid you would die. It slowed down your bloodline healing you and I didn't know if or when you last used a soldier pill so I couldn't take the risk of giving you one. Nearly every one of your organs had a weapon in them and you lost a lot of blood. Naruto frowned as he looked down and Kakashi asked what happened. Naruto said I was too slow. I was worried about making too much noise and so I went through the first 3 warehouses real slow. But as I just entered the 4th one the first explosion went off and a guy started to wake up and I killed him and someone saw him die and screamed alerting everyone and some guy seeing a guy die with me invisible took his sake bottle and threw it in the air and broke it causing the sake to cover everything including me so I quickly created some Kage Bunshins and went outside. But then one of the sound nins arrived. He hit me with some weird attack that made my ears ring and bleed and my vision became blurry. It hit me and all my Kage Bunshin causing them to be easy to take out. I had about 25 mercs left and I got stabbed several times and they thought I was dead and turned their back on me. The sound nin came over and raised his metal-covered arm and was going to use it on me again to make sure I was dead and someone saved me. I don't know who it was but someone killed the sound nin by. This is going to sound crazy but I could have swore it was lava. I don't know what happened after that. Between the sound nin's attack, my injuries as well as the loss of blood and losing chakra from my bloodline things got blurry. I started to limp back and pull out the weapons I could reach as I came back. I then passed out when I got here. Kakashi looked out the window and said I see. Then it must be them. Naruto blinked and then stretched out his senses and said the 3 signatures I feel are nearby. Kakashi said yeah. They haven't approached us but have been around ever since the night of the attack. I don't know what is up but they took out the team from Iowa who arrived also. Naruto frowned and said what do you mean by that? Kakashi looked outside and said with your injuries, I had Sakura and Sasuke stay here to watch you, along with keeping an eye on Tsunami and Inari. I was at the bridge with Tazuna and explained to the people that we killed Geto and most of his men. 2 of them shadowed me to the bridge while 1 stayed near the house. 2 days ago I detected a battle going on. I don't know who they are, but I found 3 Iowa nins dead when I investigated it. They are users. Naruto looked outside and said I wonder. Where Desire? Kakashi blinked and Naruto said my sword. Sakura said, you named your sword Desire. Naruto said no, she said. Forget you heard that. I need my sword. Kakashi said there's something you're not telling us about your sword. Naruto said You know how my sword can only cut when someone is planning to kill me. The reason is. She's sentient. Both Kakashi and Sakura seemed surprised by this, and Kakashi said well. You didn't have it with you when you returned. Naruto frowned and said I see. Where's Sasuke? Kakashi said he's downstairs eating lunch. Naruto's stomach grumbled and Naruto said then let's eat and then I need to go back over my steps. I just hope Desire won't be pissed at me over what happened. As he rubbed the back of his head. Sakura asked, what does she say and are you sure she's female? Naruto said yeah, she's female. But I don't want to say anything until I get her back and make sure she wants that info known. She's very special. As he walked out of the bedroom and down the stairs. Tsunami, who was at the table, got a relieved look on her face as Naruto walked into the room and said Naruto-kun, you're finally awake. Naruto said yeah. Sorry to worry you, but it will take more than that to kill me. As he looked sheepish. Sasuke shook his head and said dope. It's good to see you awake. Naruto nods and says, well, let's get a bite to eat and then I need to find my sword. Tsunami said are you alright? I mean you nearly died, your wounds were so bad Naruto, seeing the worried look on her face, moved over and cupped her cheek, surprising everyone, and he whispered, I'm fine Tsunami-chan. I kept my promise. Tsunami smiled softly and blushed a little and said thank you. Oh my, where are my manners? Please sit down, I'll get you something to eat. As she got up trying to keep from getting embarrassed and quickly went into the kitchen. After she was gone Sakura sighed Naruto. Is there something going on between you and the Tsunami? Naruto said nothing you need to worry about. We just had a very long talk and became friends over it and she was worried about my health since she's a friend. Sakura said I see. As she blushed and looked away and thought when did Naruto get so mature. Tsunami came back with a plate of rice and set it down and Naruto began to eat. After everyone ate, Naruto said so what do we do about the three ninjas and Tazuna? I have to find my sword so it's not an option of not finding it. Kakashi said I'll come with you and Sasuke and Sakura will stay here. Naruto nods and both Kakashi and Naruto leave. When they got back to where the warehouse was, Naruto looked around and said, that's strange. I don't remember doing all this. As he looked at the damage done to the area. A female voice said because you didn't. Naruto and Kakashi turned and saw a woman with brownish red hair and green eyes dressed in a blue dress with fishnets sewn into it. Naruto frowned and said you're not really here. You're a clone of some kind. Mizubunshin most likely since your chakra signature is so small compared to when I felt it with the other two who are with you. The woman seemed amused and said so you're a censor also. One of my guards is as well. I wish to meet with you Naruto-kun as I believe I have what you are looking for. Naruto frowned and said and that would be and you are if I might ask. The woman smiled and said someone just like you. Naruto's eyes widened slightly and said I find that kind of hard to believe. The woman said we will have to see. But for now you and your sensei can come meet me on the bridge so we may speak as I have something you want and you have something I want. As she burst into water. Kakashi, who had remained silent, said what, you were both talking about Naruto. She said she was just like you. Naruto said I have a few ideas, but I can't be sure sensei. Sensei. Don't underestimate that woman. Her reserves are larger than yours if that was only 1/10 her original power. Kakashi did not look happy when he heard that and said so what do you think? Naruto said I had no choice. She's got my sword. I just don't know what I could have that she wants. At least not for sure. Kakashi said I see. Then let's go get Sasuke and Sakura and head to the bridge. Naruto bit his lip and said no sensei. I trust them with some of my secrets and if she was referring to what I think she was, then I do not want Sasuke and Sakura to hear it. I believe that I could trust you though. But I would rather wait until I ask permission to tell you what I'm talking about if she isn't talking about what I think she is. Kakashi frowned and said, what kind of secret are you hiding that you don't want Sasuke and Sakura to know about? Naruto closed his eyes and said the truth about why you have never heard of the Kimichi bloodline before. As he jumped into the trees. Kakashi pursed his lips and jumped after Naruto. When they got to the bridge Kakashi grimaced as he saw the same woman from before along with two men. One had blue hair with an eye patch and was dressed similar to a hunter nin and was wearing a mist hide. The other man had blue hair and wore glasses and as Kakashi looked at him he said Chijiro. Catching Naruto's attention. Naruto said who? Kakashi said, the shorter one. He's a member of the 7 swordsmen of the mist just as Abusa was but it appears he is still loyal to the village. The other one I don't know. Naruto frowned and looked at them from a distance and said the one with an eye patch has a replacement eye under the eye patch. I can feel the chakra molding just like the one behind your headband. As for the other one. I think he's a censor. I'm getting the similar feeling I got from Anko-sensei and Iruka-sensei. That sword on his back is different. I think it's ancient as well because I can feel chakra coming from it. Before Kakashi could say anything, laughter could be heard coming from the woman and she said loudly, very good Naruto-kun. You are correct on several things. Chijiro is in fact a censor and his sword is special since it has its own chakra network. You are also correct in the fact that Sohir does have a transplanted eye from a bloodline. Naruto grimaced and said I thought bloodlines were looked upon in the land of water with hate. The woman's smile faded as she heard this as she and the two men walked forward until they were 15 feet away from Naruto and Kakashi and said yes. For a long time that was true about our land. Please forgive me for not introducing myself in case my clone did not. I am Mei Terumi, the Gade Mizukage. Naruto and Kakashi eyes widened as they heard this and Naruto asked, are you the ones Abusa tried to kill? Mei said no. That was in fact the Sandai Mizukas. Naruto said I see. May I have my sword back? I know you have it on you. Mei smiled slightly and said indeed I do. But how do you propose to find it for me and get it from me? Naruto frowned a moment before he smirked and said well, there are several options. I could give you a very careful examination going over every inch of your body and pay special attention to those places that are hard to reach. Luckily I have a special tool that can reach those places easily since I'm sure it's hard finding someone trained enough to search those areas for you as I'm sure most are intimidated by a woman of power like yourself. Of course we could fight for it. Or you could just give it to me and tell me what you want already and quit wasting both our time. Personally I wouldn't mind the first option, but I figure we will end up with the third one. Kakashi slapped his head and Ao screamed, how dare you talk to me? Mei said Ao. Shut up or I'll kill you. With a smile on her face. She then turned to Naruto and said you think you could back your words? Naruto said sure. Especially since I got the feeling I owe you for taking care of those Iwanins as well as saving my ass. I'm usually very gracious when it comes to repaying those who help me. Especially a lovely woman such as yourself Mei-chan. Mei got an amused smile on her face and said if I wasn't here for business then I might just take you up on that offer. But sadly I must agree that it will have to be the third option. I got a report that Tsubusa Momochi was in the area and that you engaged him in battle. Naruto lips and said yeah, we traded licks. What do you want with him besides his head since he's a missing nin? Mei said I assume you know where he is. Naruto glanced at Kakashi and said perhaps. Why? Mei said I wish to meet him. Naruto said and what? I won't lie about this. Zabuza and I both have a respect for each other. Had our fight been a one-on-one fight I might have actually killed him instead of ending in a draw as we did. The fact he had his associate not kill me after our fight and heal me instead earned my respect for him so I would rather die than let him die at the hands of a hunter nin. A member of the Seven. Or a so-called cage. As he looked at each respectively. Ao said show some respect, kid. Naruto said respect is earned, not given. You want my respect, earn it or kiss my blonde ass. As two Naruto appeared with a kunai each pressed against both Ao and Chijiro necks, shocking all three missed nins. Kakashi said you know you just caused trouble, right? Naruto said considering I got my sword back. As he disappeared and the real Naruto appeared behind the three most nuns with his ire on his shoulder and said I don't care. Mei said impressive. I never felt you remove it. Tell me, how did you get it out of my dress? Naruto smirked and said the same way I got your panties. A black thong. Mei froze as she heard this and Mei pursed her lips together and said I should kill you for that. Naruto said, but it also excites you. Knowing that someone had that kind of power over you and you never knew it when I could have done so much to you but didn't. I know why you are here. You desire to get Zabuza to return to the Hidden Mist because you wish to recreate the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist. I can't speak for Zabuza and he's not on the island. But I do know where he is and if you're willing to make a deal I can deliver a scroll from you to him and possibly arrange a meeting. But the question is if you are willing to trust me. Someone who had the chance to kill both your personal bodyguards as well as a chance to do so much worse with you. The question is will you trust me or not? Ao said don't do Mizukage-sama. Tajiro who was glaring at Naruto said I agree with Mizukage-sama. We should kill him for the insults that he has done here today. Mei said what do you think about what your student is saying about Sharingan Kakashi? You seem to be following him. Kakashi said Naruto is a very honorable person. He gives his word about something he will die to complete it. While I may have the title of sensei I think we are more comrades than that since I have yet to teach him anything besides the basics of those who don't follow the rules are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. Mei nodded and said then I don't have to kill you for being stupid as even I can see there is more to Naruto-kun than you can see. I believe he is most likely a prodigy like his father who he strongly resembles. I will hear what your deal is. Naruto said if what you said is true about the bloodline civil war being over and the fact bloodlines are accepted, then those who are like Zabuza and his associate might be interested so that they might someday return to their homeland. I can't promise that either way, but the only way for that is if word got out about that, as well as the fact that Tsunade isn't the first female cage. Something I will take great pleasure in pointing out when we return to Konoha. My deal is simple really. I will deliver a scroll to Zabuza since I was planning to contact him again myself before we return to Konoha, either by summon or face to face. I had an offer I thought Zabuza might have been interested in for employment, but I think you might be able to fill the same category that I was thinking of hiring Zabuza for. The scroll will be a message from you to him telling what you want to say and ask him for a meeting face to face on neutral ground. Say, Konoha Chunin exams that are coming up. It would be a great chance for the world to see the first true female Kage, as well as start spreading the word about the changes your land now has. Send word to Konoha that Zabuza is removed from the bingo book so some idiot hunter nin doesn't try and take his head off by mistake. If Zabuza refuses to meet face to face then I will ask the Hokage to send a message to you informing you as such, and you don't have to worry about paying me my price for delivery of the scroll, and you can have him reinstated as a missing nin if you chose. Either way it will send a message to Zabuza who I am sure keeps tabs on the bingo book about the fact you are serious about wanting him to return. It's a win-win situation for you and your village. Mei thought for a moment and said, and what do you want out of this? Naruto said, well. Konoha will most likely be a bitch about having Zabuza around, but I think I might have a way to help them. And you. I'm sure you noticed the situation here in Wave. With Gato dead and his company now in question, the trade between some areas is going to be fucked up for a while. I suggest a trade alliance between Konoha, Wave, and Mist. Have Wave become a neutral ground for trade which would help this country recover as well as a chance for Konoha and Mist to trade with each other without the headaches attacking the cloak and dagger shit that every village is involved in. I don't know the current political situation between our villages since I usually was too busy pranking Anbu to go to the academy for that shit, but I am sure with you trying to change the view of your village from the bloody mist, being allied in any form to a village that loves bloodlines like Konoha would help put the idea of the bloodline purges on the back burner to help you recover. Mei said, so you want a trade alliance for your village and this country. Nothing for yourself. Naruto said, well I never said that. That was just to get Konoha to shut the fuck up so you could meet Zabuza. Before I tell you what I want you got to tell me what your bunshin meant when it said you were someone like me. Mei said, someone with 2 bloodlines. When my guards and I killed those men you were fighting I saw your wounds healing incredibly fast. I followed you as you limped away and saw you were indirectly having a reaction to the plants in the area which seemed like they were trying to help you. I suspect you have a bloodline similar to the Shodaime Hokage Mokuton as well as some form of advanced healing bloodline. Naruto said, I see. And you want to know about them, right? Mei said, I am curious. I will admit that. Naruto said, then a story for a story. I will tell you what my bloodlines are. He tells how he has the Hyuga eye, causing the Mist Nins to flinch and Kakashi to stiffen. Mei said, I am afraid I don't know what you mean. Naruto said, relax, I'm not going to demand it back or anything like that. I actually had the heiress of the Hyuga clan in my class. She was somewhat of a friend and her dream is to unite her clan and get rid of the cage bird seal. The fact your guard here has that eye shows the Hyuga seal isn't as perfect as they believe, and I think that with proof of that then my friend might be able to achieve her dream. Besides, if you enter Konoha with him as your guard, sooner or later someone will get suspicious and a Hyuga will check and see that eye since it's using chakra like a bitch which may cause trouble. If the fact you have that eye is known beforehand and the Hokage and council know this, then the Hyuga can't do really anything about it without risking a repeat of that cloud incident thing I heard about, so well you may get glared and insulted by them. As long as you do nothing to provoke the Hyuga clan, they won't be able to do shit to you while in the village. Even make it public knowledge by sending word about it to the Fire Lord as well and ask that he contacts Konoha about not trying to get it back. Kakashi said, you're just trying to make Tsunade life hell, aren't you? Naruto said, damn straight. Ao looked at the Mizukage who slowly nodded and he said, very well. I got this eye when a Hyuga who was a member of Root attempted to assassinate Mei-sama shortly before she became the Mizukage after the disappearance of the Yondaime Mizukage. Root sent 40 men to try and take control of our village during the time we were without a leader. It is believed that Root has some part in Yondaime's disappearance. I lost my eye from a Root member and since the only one we captured was the Hyuga his eyes were taken with me getting one and the other being given to another who lost an eye. The Root agent attempted to activate a seal on his tongue, but his tongue was cut out so he could not kill himself. It was the fact that the bloodline resistance saved so many people from the Root agents who tried to slaughter them that our side gained enough support to take over with Mei as the Goddamn Mizukage. Kakashi asked what happened to the Hyuga. Ao looked at Mei who said, the Hyuga have never been a member of our country. We know they were Root, so they were there without the Hokage permission, since Root is run by Danzo. We sent a message to Danzo demanding to be paid for the crime of attacking our people unprovoked. Danzo's reply was to send an assassin to kill me and kill the Hyuga. Luckily for us though we had taken precautions ahead of time. We now have close to 60 children with the Byakugan in the land of water. We still have the Hyuga body sealed in a scroll, even though he's all but useless with the cage bird seal activating on his death. Naruto said oh yeah, Tsunade life just became hell. Kakashi said hell. The Hyuga is going to hit the roof. Naruto said yeah, with so many children there is no way the Hyuga could go against them. They fucked up and it's all Danzo's fault. Good thing the Sandaime killed him or the Hyuga would. The Miss Nins were shocked and Mei said Danzo was dead. Naruto said yeah. I can't tell you why, but the Sandaime got some evidence he was guilty of treason and killed him as such. Mei said I see. So what is it you want for your payment? Naruto said I got a scroll in a poker game that had a fucked up style of kenjutsu the guy claimed he stole that belonged to the Yondaime Mizukage. Anko-sensei told me when she saw the scroll it was a fake since it was the basic samurai kata along with a taijutsu kata and an ninjutsu kata all mixed and matched together to look real when it didn't flow and was a piece of shit. She worked on it and added some of her own skills to it and I'm decent at it but I want something that is more suited for a sword like mine. Just something I could use to work with the style I already am using to try and make an actual style. I want 5 from your village, as well as at least 1 chakra control technique that is not water walking, leaf balancing, tree walking, or kunai balancing, as well as 1 water elemental manipulation technique so I could improve my water manipulation. Ao screamed what? Mei said silence. I'll kill you. I assume you were going to ask Zabuza to train you. Naruto said yeah. I got huge reserves as I'm sure your scouter here can testify to. As such I have real problems with my chakra control. I know water style tidal wave no and Mizubunshin no. I don't care what 5 you give me as long as it's not those 2. Mei thought for a moment and said very well. I will agree to your terms, but you still owe me an explanation about your bloodline. Naruto said oh, one is Mokuton and the other is called Kimichi. I only promise to tell you what they are, not what they do. Mei said smart ass. When will you be leaving for Konoha? Naruto looked at Kakashi who said when the bridge is finished. Mei said very well. I will bring a scroll for Zabuza tomorrow to the bridge, as well as a scroll for your village about the offer you made, as well as an explanation about the incident with Root. Is that acceptable? Kakashi looked at Naruto who nodded and Kakashi said yes. Mei said very well. Come. As she began to walk away. Naruto said, aren't you forgetting something? As he held the black thong up on one finger. Tajiro became beet red and Mei smirked and walked over and shocked everyone but Naruto. She kissed him as he pulled her clothes and when she broke the kiss she said, keep it to remember me by. Maybe when I come to Konoha we can see if you really can back up your words. As she left, both Miss Nins glared at Naruto before away. Naruto turned to Kakashi who was looking wide-eyed and Naruto said what can I say? Women love me. Kakashi said yeah, let's go with that. And thought nobody is going to believe this. Naruto smiled and looked at the sky and said I didn't detect anyone. Do you? Kakashi looked around and said no. Naruto's smile faded away and said do you remember the chance? Kakashi nods and Naruto says she's Tsunade's mother. Kakashi's eyes widened and he looked at Naruto and said how is that possible? Naruto said because she's not immortal Kakashi. Think about her story, the village she comes from, the names she told you about. Kakashi frowned and said, are you saying that she's some kind of goddess? Naruto walked over and looked out at the ocean and said bloodlines are formed when a mortal and a god or goddess have a child together. The child is called a demigod or half-god. The bloodline is a gift given to them from their parents to help protect them and to make their life better. I only know of 3 demigods myself. Hashirama Senju, Tsunade Senju. And me. Kakashi said explain. Naruto bit his lip and said Hashirama Senju was the son of Inari, the goddess of fertility. The reason he only had the Mokuton bloodline was because Inari only wanted him to have that ability. It wasn't supposed to be passed on because she wanted it to be special to him. He had the summoning contract for the Ents, a tree-like race. They were the personal summons of Inari herself. Abamaru was in fact his half-brother, which is why their appearances were so different. Tsunade's mother is Chance. Also known as Lady Luck. Bad luck is actually her bloodline. Her mother gift was to warn her in advance when something bad was going to happen. The snake summoning contract I have. I got it from her just like Orochimaru got his from her also. He was supposed to use it to help protect Tsunade, but once he betrayed Tsunade, he had to start paying sacrifices for the snake's help. Her summon that she was gifted with from Kami was a snake named Snake Eyes. My mother was the Shinigami herself. The story I told about what happened with the seal and about the fox being sealed in me. It was a lie. Inari was coming to Konoha to bless the village, as well as giving me the Mokuton bloodline, so that I may use to help the people of the world. She made it where my children will also have it. But she was in her human form when she was attacked by some bandits. And you could say gods don't like the thought of mortals attacking them. She turned into her fox form and killed the bandits. But a patrol from Konoha saw her kill those men and attacked her, while one returned to warn the village. It snowballed after that. She defended herself. Konoha thought she was attacking and defended themselves. Mom. Dad did summon Mom's spirit form to seal Inari and me. He didn't die from that. He died from a poison kunai that bounced of Inari. When Mom's spirit returned to her hospital room, she discovered her mortal body had been destroyed by someone thinking she had died. I didn't know all this until the night I stole the forbidden scroll. I did meet my mother, Inari, and fate, destiny, chance, wisdom, and several others. I learned they couldn't contact me until I made a spirit connection with them, which I did when I learned about the sealing. There's rules they have to follow. As he looked out at the sea before he chuckled. Kakashi asked, "What's so funny?" Naruto said, "Kami. Kami's my grandma and mom kicked most of the gods and goddess asses when Konoha called for my death when I was a baby. She wanted to come back and destroy Konoha. Grandma made a deal and gave her the chance to watch over me and had a replacement take over for her for the next 100 years. Guess who the replacement is?" Kakashi said, "I don't know." Naruto said, "Imagine what those who hated me will do when they see none other than dad there to take their souls when they die." Kakashi's single eye widened and said, "That's a good story, Naruto." The female voice said, "It's no story, Kakashi." Causing both to turn, and Naruto said, "Chance." Kakashi said, "What are you doing here?" Tan said, "You really should listen to Naruto. He's telling you the truth. I really am the goddess of chance, and Tsunade is my daughter." As she was covered in a golden energy. Kakashi's eyes widened and paled, and Naruto said, "Why are you here?" Tance walked over and said, "I came to talk to you. You know how we told you that as a demigod that you have the chance to someday become a god after you die by completing a task Kami has set before you while living? Well. There is another way to become a god. If a demigod is willing to truly sacrifice his mortality for a just and noble cause in Kami's eyes, he or she could become a god while living. But there is a flip side to this. If a demigod gives up their mortality for something that Kami does not consider a just and noble cause, the demigod will become a fallen god. Or as the world knows them as. Demons. The other night. When you went to kill those men. You nearly transformed into either a god or a demon, Naruto. This is not a joke, it is not something you should play around with. The only one who will decide if you will become a god or demon is Kami, and if you purposely try to become a god, she will consider your acts an act of pride and will curse you by turning you into a demon. It's why we didn't tell you, but with how close you came I had to come tell you to please be careful. I don't want to see you become something you are not. You must become who you were meant to be. Don't let your anger, your hate, your vengeance, or your pride destroy you, Naruto. Killing those men was the right thing to do so they couldn't hurt others. But killing to protect and killing for revenge are two different things. Make sure when you kill it's for the right reason." As she kissed his forehead. Naruto looked down and said, "I'm tired, Chance. I just want it to end." Chance closed her eyes and said, "I know, Naruto. Nobody should have to go through what you have. No one should be betrayed by friends and family like you have. But you are better than Naruto. You are a demigod, you can be something others could only dream about. Just don't give up and find something to believe in. I know you will make others proud. I'm already proud of you, as are your mother and father. Though you might want to avoid your mom if you meet her sometime. She's kind of pissed that you ignored her warning about charging headstrong into an enemy thinking you could survive. She shoved a lightning bolt up Zeus' ass." Again. Kakashi asked, "Who's Zeus?" Chance said, "The god of thunder." Kakashi blinked and Chance turned to Kakashi and said, "Normally I would wipe your mind of all you have heard of Kakashi. But Naruto trusts you and he needs someone to be able to turn to. Even though I am a goddess I can't be there for him all the time. If I could I would have been there for my children. But there are rules we have to follow. You were like a son to Minato, so he begs that anything you think or feel you owe him that you use to treat Naruto as a brother and be a family for him. If he could he would name you Naruto Godfather now since you were more of one than Jiraiya ever was." Kakashi swallowed a lump in his throat and said, You're really a goddess then." Tan said, "Your father, I've talked to him once. He said he is waiting by the campfire to hear your tale." Kakashi closed his eyes as a tear fell and said, "We couldn't see each other much. We would make a trip once a month out of the village on a camping trip. We would sit by the campfire and tell about all that happened in our life. It was our secret. Naruto, would you accept me as your godfather?" Naruto looked at Kakashi and after several moments said yes. "I respect you for everything you have done and the fact you trust me and are willing to go with my decision, even when they are probably bad." Kakashi smiled behind his mask and reached up and said, "This is a secret no one outside my family knows about, Naruto. You have shared with me probably your greatest secret and so I will do the same." As he pulled down his mask and showed his face to Naruto. Naruto was shocked and Kakashi pulled up his mask and said, "I trust you not to tell anyone as I will never tell anyone your secrets." Naruto smiled and said, "Thank you." Tan said, "Anyways, I must be going. Good luck with my daughter and you have my permission to knock the hell out of her." Kakashi's sweat dropped and Naruto snickered as Chance disappeared. Kakashi said, "You have a very unique family, Naruto." Naruto said, "Tell me about it." Come on, let's get back. As he leapt away with Kakashi following. Chapter 11. Once Naruto and Kakashi got back to Tazuna House, Sasuke said, I see you got your sword, dope. Naruto said, yeah, the Mizukage had her. Both Sasuke and Sakura blinked and looked at Kakashi, who said, yeah, it seems our three friends turned out to be the goddess Mizukage herself, as well as a member of the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist and a member of Kiri Hunter Nin Division. Sasuke said, so they're here to kill Zabuza. Naruto said no. They are here to ask him to return since the Bloodline civil war is over and the Bloodline side won. Kakashi, who was leaning against the wall, said, now I have got to ask Naruto. How in the hell did you do that back there? Sakura asked, do what? Naruto looked sheepish and said nothing. Kakashi said to Naruto, even though I don't think I could have done that. Hell, I don't think even Jiraiya could have done that. Naruto looked in thought and said true. Sasuke said, so what did you do that shocks Kakashi-sensei so much? Naruto said, stole my sword out of the back of the Mizukage dress. Kakashi said, as well as stole her panties she was wearing. Everyone blinked and Sasuke snorted and said, that's a good one, sensei, dope. But seriously, what did you do? As he saw Naruto holding the thong up, causing Tsunami and Sakura to go beat rat as Kakashi gave a perverted giggle. Naruto said, she told me to keep them as a reminder of her. Until she comes to Konoha. I got the feeling she's going to try and rape my ass then. As he put them back in his pocket. Sakura screamed pervert. As she went to punch him when he grabbed her fist and spun her around, causing her to lock her own arm around her stomach, like a lover's embrace with his arm around her also, and he whispered in her ear, I'm only a pervert if I do something that is not liked by the person I am doing it to. If a woman is willing to permit something like that happening by a guy, then she must find him and his actions somewhat desirable. Just like the fact you're frozen in place and red-faced while you screamed and tried to attack me, you froze when we got in this position, because you may not like me in other ways, you do find the embrace of being held so intimately by me desirable, Sakura-chan. Saying the last part with lust in his voice before he slowly slid his hand across her arm that was across her stomach, causing the chills on her spine to go to her arms. Sakura blushed and looked away, and Naruto said, normally anyways, to answer your question, when I replaced myself with a cage bunshin and used my invisibility to get behind her and the other two, I saw the handle of desire barely sticking out of her dress top through her hair. Her hair had chakra running through it, so she uses it for some kind of attack, I believe, so I knew I couldn't touch her hair and get away without serious harm, so what I did was created my two cage bunshin that I had created and held a kunai at the necks of the guys to use replacement, trying to grab my sword while dispelling at the same moment, so they never touched her. When I did that, one had successfully grabbed my sword while the other accidentally switched with her panties instead, and I used a smokescreen from the cage bunshin to grab them before I revealed myself. Kakashi said, but why replace yourself with something that low instead of at the top where the handle was? Naruto said, because if my clone missed then I would really have been up shit creek for replacing with her dress. Besides, I didn't know what kind of reaction her hair would have had if it came in contact with my chakra. Anko told me Jiraiya got this crazy hair that turns his hair hard as steel and spiky that can cover his entire body. I didn't know if she also knew this or something else. Whichever case, I didn't feel safe coming in contact with her hair in any way, shape, or form. Sasuke asked, so what happened now? Kakashi said, at noon we are meeting with the other workers at the bridge since the concrete should be hard by then. Tomorrow the Mizukage is going to come to the bridge and give us a scroll to deliver to Zabuza. It's part of a deal Naruto made with her, so if you want to know, ask him. After that we are going to stay here until the bridge is completed so I can train you as a team finally, since Naruto's skills are ahead of both of you, but not where I would like them to be. Sasuke sighed and said, as much as I hate to admit it, I know you're right. So what are our skills at? Naruto said, how about we do a quick rundown, name something to see if we know it, and if one of us doesn't, then we get that person caught up with the others. Agreed. Kakashi said, sounds good. Tree walking. Good, you all three know. How long can you do it? Sakura said, I can make it up and down 6 times before stopping to rest. Sasuke said, about 2 hours. Naruto said, don't ask. I just gave up trying to get tired after 12 hours with cage bunshins. Kakashi said, alright. Water walking. Naruto and Sasuke both said yes, and Kakashi said, alright, how long can you do them? Sasuke said 30 minutes. Naruto said 12 hours again with cage bunshins. Kakashi sweat dropped and said, well then we need to increase Sasuke and Sakura chakra reserves and stamina, as well as teach Sakura water walking. Do you have anything you could work on while water walking, Naruto? Naruto said, maybe. Anko-sensei had me working on my earth and water manipulation by pulling one or the other out of mud, and she had me cut a leaf to learn my wind manipulation. I've gotten better, but it's still a bitch as I know I am still wasting too much chakra and don't have the proper control on those, even though my chakra control itself is mid. I could try to mold the water while standing on it to see if I can get it to react similarly to my bloodline. But I'm not sure how. Kakashi looked in thought and said alright, here is what we are going to do. Once Sakura learns water walking she will join in this. Naruto, you're going to stand 100 yards away from the bridge out on the water. I know a minor D rank that is used to put out campfires. It's nothing much in its basic form, but if you can learn to control it, you could increase your natural elemental affinity to water to a high level. I will show you all three this as you will have to eventually learn it. It's only one hand sign. As he showed the sign. Kakashi said it's called water spout no. What you do is focus your chakra in this seal and control the water to mold it into a stream like a water hose. I want you to learn to use it and Sasuke will run from the top of the bridge down the support beam out to you and he will try and touch you. Once he does he has to return to the top of the bridge and he gets 1 point. When Sakura can water walk she will do the same. You will use the water spout to try and hit Sasuke and later Sakura with it before they get to you. If you hit them then they have to run back up to the top of the bridge and start again. First one to get to you 100 times wins. If Sasuke makes it to you 100 times, then he gets the chance to stand out there while you run up and down while he tries to hit you with the water spout no. Then if Sakura can get you or Sasuke 100 times then she will earn them. I want to get to the point where all three of you could do this exercise with each one of you taking shots at the other two with a water sprout before we return to Konoha. If you do then you will be low on chakra control, reserves and stamina while also gaining some water manipulation skills. Naruto said it's designed like a game. Kakashi said because it used to be a game that was played in the academy back during the third ninja war. Naruto said alright, that sounds good, but do you mind if I use my Kage Bunshin to do it also? That way when Sakura learns water walking, we could use team tactics to have my Kage Bunshin help them, which gives all three of us a chance to work on teamwork. Kakashi said, that's a very good idea. We will begin this today when we get to the bridge in about 2 hours. Until then everyone rests and prepares. As he pulled out his Uchiha Paradise book and sat down. Naruto sat down in a lotus position and pulled his eye out and set her on his legs and closed his eyes and began to meditate. He soon felt all the light leave and he opened his eyes and found himself in a void of darkness and said what the hell. Desire said hello Naruto. In a neutral tone. Naruto said Desire. I'm sorry I left you. I didn't mean to. I've been trying to call you ever since I woke up and then when I got you back. Desire said I know and I am not mad about that. I am mad at the fact that you used me as you did. When you fought those men you forgot all your form and training and swung me around like an untrained idiot. I take pride in the body I have now and you treated my body with so much disrespect in that fight that it hurt me. Naruto said, but I was trying to defend myself. Desire said no, you weren't. You were swinging me around like a useless piece of trash. As punishment you are going to train to use me. When your teammates are resting you will summon 100 Kage Bunshin and you will not attack a single one. You will only react to their attacks. No ninjutsu or chakra besides the Kage Bunshin you created and water walking so no replacement and no counter. You will do that until every break until I tell you otherwise to earn back my respect. Do you understand? If not then I will shut up and ignore you. Naruto paled and said no. Please. I didn't mean to hurt you. I need your desire. Desire said then treat me with love and respect like you do others you love and respect. I may not have a human body, but I do have feelings and thoughts of my own. Naruto closed his eyes and said I'm sorry. Sakura said sorry for what Naruto said. Causing him to blink and say huh. Sakura, who was slightly bent over where she had touched Naruto's shoulder, said, you said you were sorry. You've been meditating for a while and it's time to go to the bridge. Naruto who could see down her shirt raised his eyes up to meet hers and said oh. Thanks Sakura. I guess I just had something on my mind. Sakura nods and turns and walks away and Naruto thought as he watched her walk away. Since when has Sakura started to do that around me? She could give into a run for her money swaying her hips like that. Oh god, why the hell am I becoming so much of a pervert? His only answer was hearing Desire's laugh in his head. Naruto walked into the kitchen and walked over and grabbed a glass and got him some water out of the sink and he tensed as he felt a pair of arms encircling him and he heard a Tsunami voice in his ear. Thank you. As she laid her head on his shoulder. Naruto swallowed and turned his head and looked at Tsunami who had tears on her face and he turned to where he was looking at her face to face and he put his hand under her chin and said I promised I would make sure those men could never hurt you. I always keep my promise. As he looked into her eyes and Tsunami bit her lip before she dived forward and smashed her lips to his. Naruto began to kiss back giving her as much passion as he could in the kiss as he pulled her close and Tsunami wrapped her arms around him and both had their hands began to move across the other's body when Sasuke was heard from the next room hurry up dope, we're leaving. Naruto sighed and said I'm coming. How about we continue this tonight after I get back? In a whisper. Tsunami smiled and said I'd like that. Naruto smiled and began to walk away when he felt his ass pinched and he smirked as he looked over his shoulder and said payback's a bitch. Tsunami after he was gone put both her hands to her cheeks and said oh my. As she smiled slightly. When Naruto got to the other room Kakashi looked at Naruto and blinked before looking at the kitchen and said I didn't think red was your color Naruto. Naruto said what do you mean? Kakashi giggled as he began to walk away ignoring Naruto's question and Naruto frowned before he walked out with Sasuke, Sakura and Tazuna. When they got to the bridge Kakashi said alright Sakura, go down to the shore below and send chakra to your feet. If you blow off too much, not enough and you will sink. Start shallow and don't overdo it. Naruto, Sasuke, you already have your directions. Go. Naruto quickly jumped over the rail and flipped to land on his feet before dashing 100 yards away from the bridge. Sasuke took a few moments to run down the supports of the bridge and then made it to Naruto in only 4 minutes as he lost control at high speeds and slowed down to compensate. Naruto himself, having tried the hand sign and having a little knowledge of water manipulation, was able to make water rise 6 inches before losing control. By the time Sasuke made it back to the bridge after the first time he was sweating a little. Sakura, who was trying to keep herself on top of 2 inches of water, had the thought that entered both Sasuke and Naruto's mind. This is going to be hard. That evening when they returned to Tazuna house Naruto was carrying Sakura bridal style as she passed out and Sasuke was just barely supporting himself and staying awake. Naruto took Sakura to her room and heard the door to the room he was sharing with Sasuke close and he walked back down the stairs and said, I hope you don't mind the Tsunami, but could we put Sasuke and Sakura meals in the fridge? Tsunami nodded and said sure Naruto-kun. Anything for you. Kakashi said red is such a lovely color for your Tsunami. Causing Naruto to scowl and Tazuna said what are your intentions toward my daughter's kid? Naruto said my intentions toward Tsunami is between her and me and not a couple of over-the-hill perverts. Kakashi said I have you know that I am only 30. Naruto said that's over the hill for a shinobi. Kakashi said you say something. Naruto sat down at the table and frowned as he saw some vegetables that looked bad and he said Kakashi-sensei, I won't be able to work on the bridge tomorrow. Causing everyone to look at him. Kakashi who had his book out lowered it and asked why. Naruto said it's time I practiced my bloodline. I'll be near the bridge so I can meet the Mizukage, but I won't be actually working with the others. I need to see if I can help the people here by growing some food. Kakashi said alright. I guess I can just have Sasuke and Sakura working on physical exercise since they're really low on chakra today. Naruto nodded and Inari came down and said Mom. Why are you wearing that dress? You haven't worn it since Kaiza was killed. Tsunami bit her lip and Naruto said because it's time for a change kid since Wave is now free. Your mom is just trying to show that she's happy to have a chance at a new life. Right. Tsunami blushed and said yes. Inari sat down and said But why are you guys still here if Gato and his men are dead? Kakashi said because we were hired to protect your grandpa. Naruto said I was saving this for a special occasion, but I think we should honestly celebrate the fact that we actually freed this country from Gato. As he unsealed a scroll and unsealed the bottle of ambrosia. Tazuna said, but you just got that bottle back in that town. Naruto said, and you remember how after I heard they got the bottle I quickly accepted it. This is ambrosia, the drink of the gods. Kings would give away their entire kingdom for just a sip. Tsunami, can you get us 5 glasses? Tsunami said 5. Inari is too young to drink alcohol. Naruto said Tsunami, I ask you to trust me, this is most likely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I will only give him just a sip, but he deserves a chance to have 1 sip of this legendary drink. Tsunami frowned but got up and Kakashi said, is that really the drink of the gods? Naruto said yeep. As he pulled on the cork and it opened and Naruto turned and poured a half glass to Kakashi, Tsunami, Tazuna and a small sip to Inari before he poured a full glass for himself and recorded the bottle. Tazuna said I have never seen gold alcohol before. Naruto said because there is no other like it. Take a sip. As he took a drink and smiled. Kakashi reached for it and turned and took a sip and froze before he turned and said, this is the best drink I have ever had. It is like the best food and drink in the world put together. Tsunami slowly took the glass and took a sip before her entire body shook and her eyes fluttered and Inari said Mom. Are you okay? Tsunami said yes son. It's okay. I let you just do this once. It truly is the drink of the gods. As she took another sip and savored the taste. Inari took the small shot he had and drank it all in one gulp and his eyes fluttered and said oh wow. This is better than chocolate. With a shit-eating grin on his face. Naruto said told you. Now go ahead and get to bed, kid. Inari didn't argue and got up and left while wobbling a little. Kakashi said, can I get another sip? Naruto said Sorry, Kakashi-sensei. I don't know if I will ever get a chance to get another bottle, so I'm saving the rest for a special occasion. Kakashi pouted and said spoil sport. I think I'll go to bed and dream of drinking more of that someday. As he got up and left. Naruto looked at Tazuna who was passed out and then to Tsunami who looked extremely content and Naruto grabbed her hand softly while creating a couple of clones who started to clean and Naruto led Tsunami to her room as she rested her head on his shoulder. The next morning when Naruto awoke he looked at the face of Tsunami who was asleep and then he looked at his hand and saw the ring was still there and thought I made the right choice. I care for her as much as I care for Shizune from just the little bit I know about her. But I couldn't just abandon her with a child. Maybe someday I can come back for her, but for now I'll just be content with friends with benefits. Tsunami began to stir as she arched her back pushing her bare chest into Naruto and she slowly opened her eyes and said morning koi. Naruto smiled and said morning. How are you? Tsunami moaned as she said sore. I haven't done that for so long that I forgot how it felt. Thank you. Naruto said to Naruto that's my line. You're beautiful. Tsunami shook her head and said I'm an over-the-hill MILF. Naruto put his hand under her chin and said, never sell yourself short Tsunami. If I could, I would stay here with you forever. Tsunami closed her eyes and said I know. You don't know how much you mean to me. You took away all my fear and pain, longing and suffering and replaced it with happiness, hope and love. I know you can't stay. I knew all along. And I wanted to keep myself from getting hurt. But I couldn't help but fall for you. As she laid her head on his chest and a tear fell. Naruto closed his eyes and said do you know why we die? Tsunami bit her lip and Naruto said it's so we can learn about the pain of losing those who are close to us so that when we die and join them, we don't forget the pain of losing them and can treasure them for all eternity. Someday you will meet Inari father and Kaiza again in the afterlife, along with your mother and all the others you lost over the years. You care for me, but I would be a replacement for the ones you have already lost. I'm a ninja. Any day I could go on a mission and not return. I didn't want to hurt you. But I couldn't stand back and see you continue to hurt like you were so I had to do something. And in the end I caused you more pain and suffering. Tsunami sat up and said no. Even if all I could be with you is a day, it would be an eternity in heaven to me. Never think you are a cause of pain and suffering. You're like that ambrosia, a gift from the gods that is so rare I may never drink again. But I am honored to have had a chance to hold you in my heart. Naruto sat up pulling Tsunami against him and he looked into her eyes and after a moment said I can't right now, but someday I will do all I can to make you happy. Tsunami smiled and said you have already. As she kissed him before pushing him back on the bed and straddling him as she bent down to kiss him passionately. Sasuke walked by the Tsunami bedroom door a few minutes later and heard the sound of springs squeaking and his eyes went wide and said damn it done. I swear you're going to get killed one of these days. As he walked down the stairs. In the room next to Tsunami Sakura, who had bloodshot eyes, thought will they give it a rest? I wonder if it's Sasuke, Kakashi-sensei, or Naruto though. Kakashi knocked on Sakura's door and said we're leaving in half an hour, Sakura. Sasuke and I have already had a shower. Sakura said okay and thought about Naruto. Before a muffled moan of Naruto was heard through the wall causing Sakura to blush. When Naruto got to the bridge it was 3 hours after the others and Mei who was sitting with her arms crossed glared at Naruto and said, did you forget you had an important meeting with me? Naruto said no, but it would have been wrong of me to just up and abandon a woman in need. You could have also given the scroll to Kakashi-sensei and left if you were really in a hurry. Unless there was something you were needing to discuss. Privately. As he winked at her. Mei said be careful Naruto-kun. Some women like to keep their toys locked away. Naruto said, but those toys gather dust from not being used. The best ones are the ones you're not afraid to display since they're your pride and joy. Mei smirked and said you are an amusing person. I look forward to seeing how much fun you can be. Naruto said I aim to please. Mei pulled out 3 scrolls and said this scroll is for the Hokage and village of Konoha, this is for Zabuza. And this is for you. I hate to say it, but I must be returning to my village, but I will be seeing you at the Chunin exams. Naruto said looking forward to it. Mei swayed her hips as she walked away before out of sight. Naruto thought woman. And Konoha Tsunade sighed as she signed another paper and thought damn it. That brat is getting an ass kicking when I see him. Not only did he and his entire team ignore my orders to return, had sensei order me to leave them alone and embarrassed my reputation, but he left me with an apprentice who is suffering from morning sickness. That's the 3rd time I signed that same order after she puked on the other 2 stacks. I'm cutting off his, the Uchiha, and Kakashi peckers. Back in Wave Naruto looked at his clones that had turned the road into rows of vegetables and fruit before he turned to a small snake and said so do you think you can do it? The snake said yes master. Naruto said then go, but please make sure that you give that scroll to Zabuza or Haku and only them. The snake nods and slithers down in the water and swims away. Naruto thought now it's time to train. Chapter 12. It had been a month since the day Naruto sent a message to Zabuza and Haku. During that month Sasuke and Sakura both were able to get to the point where they could last for 3 hours on the water without needing a break. They got a little experience with water manipulation with a water spout no. But they were nowhere near the level Naruto took. Kakashi looked over the rail of the now completed bridge and said I can't believe he was able to progress that far with such simple instructions. Beside him Sakura sighed Kakashi-sensei. I know you and Naruto have told us that Kagebunshin transfer back their knowledge when dispelled, but Naruto can make godlike numbers of them thanks to his bloodline making so much chakra over the years, but is that really even possible what we are seeing? I mean, could it be another bloodline besides his normal two? Sasuke, who had his Sharingan spinning, looked down below and said it's all him Sakura. It's not a bloodline because I can copy it with my Sharingan. But I have nowhere near the level of controller chakra to pull off what he is doing. Hell, I don't think Kakashi-sensei or Itachi could do what Naruto is doing. Kakashi said no. I don't think anyone below a cage could. Naruto is in the middle of a 100 feet wide whirlpool that he has created by molding hundreds of chakra sprouts at a time. He doesn't even need the hand sign now. He's had 200 Kagebunshin working on the water sprout while you both tried to get to 100 times, and then when you needed to break him and his clones, then would have a battle where he would destroy them while completely on the defensive. Sasuke said that's what scares me and excites me at the same time. Naruto learned to use his sword to deflect an enemy attack into another enemy. I guess nearly being killed when he got surrounded made him want to ensure that he's never placed in that situation again. Sakura asked, so since you have been using your Sharingan to watch him when he spars, are you going to take up using also? Sasuke was quiet for a few moments and said before we started this mission, if you asked me that I would have said yes. But I've seen how much blood and sweat Naruto has put into his training. I then remember his words about knowing 1000 and mastering a Naruto has a learning curve thanks to his Kagebunshin that is nearly as good as my Sharingan and he could learn 1000 quickly. He's got a lot that he could have learned while here. But he didn't. He spends 1 day a week working on his bloodline, 1 earth, 1 wind, and 1 water, with each being worked on by 100 Kagebunshin. He trains physically by carrying buckets of fruits and vegetables to as many people as he can while running on that day with the food his clones had grown. The rest of the time he's been training with us on this one exercise while also having his Kagebunshin training it. It's humbling honestly. It's like he is going directly against the things I took for granted that I was entitled to for having the Sharingan. Kakashi said he's also worked with his summoning a little. He's been meeting his snake summons one by one and learning their names and what their abilities are and adjusting his chakra amounts to proper levels for the summon he wants. Sakura said I'm just glad he asked you for privacy to put up in the tsunami room. I don't know how long I could have lasted hearing them in the next room. Kakashi-sensei. What if Tsunami gets pregnant? Naruto startled her as he came over the bridge rail and said that won't happen, Sakura. Sakura turned and said I know you probably used birth control Naruto, but there is always a chance that it will fail. Naruto shook his head and said no. You see, my bloodline makes me 100% fertile Sakura. If I sleep with someone there is a 100% chance she will become pregnant unless. Stopping Naruto before she could say something. Naruto said unless I have this on. As he held up his hand and showed the ring. Sasuke asked what's with the ring dope. Naruto said it's a gift. It protects my bloodline completely. If someone took my blood, sperm, bone, hair, or anything else while I had this ring on then they would find all the samples were completely useless. This ring also can't slip off or be pulled off no matter how much force someone tries. It can only be removed if I choose to remove it and it's also made where there is 100% chance that any woman I sleep with won't get pregnant. Sasuke looked at the ring in shock and said, is there any way you could get another of those rings? For me. Naruto said I honestly don't know Sasuke. I doubt it since this was designed specifically for me. It can't be stolen or forgotten as it will summon itself back to me if it gets past so many feet from me and like I said, it can't be taken off or cut off. If someone cuts off my hand the rings still are in effect on my body. It also can't be used by anyone else. I had Ino try and put it on. The ring propelled her hand away from it, making it impossible for her to put it on. Sasuke said So are you done with your little experiment? As he looked over the rail, Naruto looked back at the ocean seeing the whirlpool spinning and said yeah, I think that will work, but only time will tell. Sakura asked, why did you create a whirlpool there and how did you get Tazuna to agree to it? Naruto said there's a chance that a ship or something could damage the bridge someday by going under it, so I told Tazuna I wanted to try and see if I could make a whirlpool near the bridge to help pull from the bridge and make ships turn away from going under the bridge and instead go around the island. He agreed with the idea and since they call this the Great Naruto Bridge after me, if you look at what side of the bridge the whirlpool is on, think about my name and see if you can get it. Kakashi chuckled and said the spiraling maelstrom of waves and wind. It's on the side where wave country faces wind country. The whirlpool of wave and wind. If that whirlpool does continue to exist then you would be always remembered. Naruto said yeah, it's like a little personal joke for me. So are we ready to go? I used about half my chakra reserves doing that, but that would be plenty to get Zabuza and Haku if they accepted what was in the scroll I sent them and then be able to return to Konoha. Kakashi nods and motions to leave and says, "You seem happier." As the group began to walk away from Wave, Naruto's smile faded a little and said, "I'm still pissed at Jiraiya and Tsunade, but I've had a chance to calm down some. Also with the fact I feel I can trust you three, even though I still have secrets and trust issues I feel you three treat me as human." Sakura looked down and said to Naruto. I know I said I was sorry for the way I treated you when we were younger. You didn't deserve it." Naruto smiled and said, "No, I did deserve some of it. I was annoying as hell. I'll admit that. My screaming I was going to be Hokage and asking you out on dates constantly really pissed you off. Especially when you wanted to be with Sasuke like all the other girls." Sakura said, "You really have grown up, Naruto." With a slight smile. Naruto said, "Well, I guess. I've had time to come to terms with things. I'm not alone anymore." Sakura said, "So are you and Tsunami going to be together?" Naruto bit his lip and said, "Maybe someday. I helped Tsunami through some personal issues." Kakashi said, "You mean when she was raped?" Causing Naruto to pale and Sasuke and Sakura to look in shock. Sasuke said, "What, she was raped?" Naruto frowned and said, "I guess I wasn't the only one to notice how she reacted when I mentioned what was going on in those warehouses." Kakashi said, "I suspected but I wasn't sure." Naruto said, "If you guys can, please don't bring that up again." Tsunami couldn't tell her dad she was raped when he came to Konoha or tell Inari that she was because she had been trying to find him when she was captured by some men. She was drowning in her own pain and suffering and couldn't turn to anyone she could trust, so I offered to become the shoulder she could cry on. I know how she felt feeling alone surrounded by people, and I guess that was why we were so close, since we were able to support each other. I felt trapped because I'm afraid of what's going to happen when word about my bloodlines gets out, and she was trapped because of fear of what her family would think. Tsunami, a very lovely woman with a good heart. I wish that I could be with her. But she doesn't deserve the life of being with a ninja. Me leaving her all the time on missions and her never knowing if I was coming back home. It's why I made sure to keep my ring on all the time. She's got a chance to start her life again with a new start. She shouldn't have to worry about being tied down with a relationship with me or another child to look after." Sakura said, "You got a big heart, Naruto." Naruto said, "And as a ninja it's probably my biggest weakness also. At least I can take comfort in knowing that I am the dope in that regard." With a chuckle. Sakura blinked and said, That's actually kind of funny. But it makes me kind of depressed. Sasuke was the rookie of the year and was basically acting emotionless, now that I took time to think about it, and you were the dope, but also the most human, but I was the top Kunoichi, so does that mean I was basically emotionless?" Silence was her answer and she said, Guys. Hey, answer me, damn it." Naruto said, "I think that rule is backwards for women, Sakura, since women mature faster than guys." Sakura said, "So you think I'm mature?" Naruto said, "In your own way then yes." Sakura narrowed her eyes and said, "What do you mean in my own way?" Kakashi thought you had to avoid one exploding tag and set off another, didn't you? Let's see you defuse this one. Naruto looked at Sakura and said, "Every woman is different in her own way. It doesn't matter what you look like or how big your breasts are or how skinny you are. What matters is you accept who you are and are happy with it, or if you're not happy then change who you are until you are happy with who you are." As he moved forward till he was right in front of her and said like this, "I know you feel insecure about your forehead. But I think your forehead is beautiful. It makes me want to." As he leaned forward and kissed her forehead. Sakura's face turned red as Sasuke gaped and Kakashi dropped his book. Sakura brought her fingers together and started to push them together and said in a shy voice, "You really think my foreheads are beautiful?" Her answer was another kiss on it from Naruto before he smiled and said, "Now come on, Sakura." Sakura blushed and began to follow Naruto and Sasuke looked at Kakashi and said, "Did he?" Kakashi said, "Yeah." Sasuke said, "I wonder if I can get him to get rid of the rest of my fangirls." Naruto heard him and said, "That reminds me, Sasuke, why the hell do you still avoid women? I mean you've been with one and know the pleasures of the flesh now, so why do you still avoid them?" Sasuke said, "It's not that I avoid them. It's just my girlfriend would kill me if I went after them." Crickets chirped and all three other members of Team 7 slowly turned their head to Sasuke and Sakura said, "Girlfriend? What a girlfriend?" Naruto said, "It's not the hooker back in that town, is it?" Sasuke looked away and said, "No. Hinata." Everyone blinked and blinked again and Naruto said, "Hinata. As in my stalker fangirl Hinata." Sasuke said, "Yeah. The stalker thing was mostly an act. She's a Hyuga and I'm an uchiha. Our clans have a rivalry going and if they found out she and I liked each other, her clan would put that seal on her. It's why she wants to unite her family and get rid of that seal so she could be with me without worrying about her getting that seal. She came up with the idea to act as if she liked you so no one would know we were going out." Naruto said, Sasuke, what do you think she's going to do when she finds out about you? Friends. Sasuke said kill you for hiring me as a hooker who took advantage of me while I was drunk. With a smirk. Naruto shrugged and said oh well, she can take a number. Everything will work out in the end. When I reveal what I found out from the Mizukage, Hinata will probably thank me and forgive me instead. Sakura, who was shocked hearing Sasuke's words, said why? Why didn't you ever tell us? Tell me that you had a girlfriend. Sasuke looked at Sakura and said if I told you I had a girlfriend Sakura, then you and all those others who stalked me constantly would have tried to find out who she was and then the entire village would hear about it and that would put Hinata in danger of being killed or tortured for the rest of her life. The only reason I am even telling you this now is I trust you three. Kami, I can't believe I said that, but it's true. I actually trust you three. Kakashi said well, I'm glad to see our team has bonded so well, but I think we should get going. So where are we going to meet Zabuza and Haku? Naruto said you will see. As he jumped into the trees. 2 hours later the group made it to Siligan village. Kakashi said, is this where we are to meet Zabuza? Naruto said yeah, come on. As they made it to the bank and Naruto entered the bank and a short man walked up and said, can I help you? Naruto looked around and said I'm Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. The man said oh, I'm sorry Mr. Namikaze, please go on into the manager's office. As he motioned for a door, Naruto nodded and said your skills are pretty good. Haku. The man was covered in smoke and said thank you Naruto-kun. Zabuza-sama is waiting for you in the office. Naruto nodded and said ladies first. Haku giggled as she walked over and opened the door and walked in and Naruto followed with the rest of Team 7 and Zabuza was sitting in the corner and said hey Brad, take your time getting here. Naruto said sorry, I had to make sure the Mizukage didn't have anyone watching us. I may be a censor, but she knows that and could have had someone spying from outside my range. So what do you think? Zabuza said I'll agree to meet her. I know her and Chijuro, and they are usually pretty honest. I'll wait to make a decision to rejoin until then. Naruto nods and says, so where are the girls at? Zabuza said the Sannin sent orders for them to go somewhere else. They gave me that scroll on the table for you. I've been acting as the president of the bank and Haku as a teller while they were gone. Naruto walked over and read the scroll and said I see. Did they have any problem with you being here? Zabuza said no, that scroll you wrote me to give to them seems to reduce some of their worry. They had me and Haku wear hinges while here with Haku as a teller and me as security until they got that message a couple of days ago. Naruto said are you going to keep running or do you want to keep a low profile? Zabuza said probably keep a low profile for now. Why? Naruto said well in that case if you want the girls won't be back for about 2 months. They left all the titles here and I need someone I can trust to watch over my business here. I can hire you both to just do what you've been doing and you can take 10% out of my share for yourself. I may not be rich as Gato, but at least it will be enough to support you until you can meet the Mizukage during the Chunin exams and I can send word back here once things are safe in Konoha for you. Zabuza said yeah, that will work, but I want to know something. Why did you do it? Why put your neck on the line like you did and replace us? Naruto said you earned my respect. You may say one thing but your actions prove another. You treat Haku here like a tool, but when I had her dead to rights in our fight, you had a choice to leave her and let her die or save her, and you saved her. I know people see ninja as tools to be used and thrown away, but like I told you, what's the use of winning at all cost when you have no one to go back to because you cost them their life? You could have killed me after I passed out when you took my arm. I still owe you another ass kicking for that by the way. But I think during our fight I earned your respect which is why you defended me against Gato. Zabuza frowned behind his bandages and said yeah kid. You did. You stood toe to toe with me. If it was just a one-on-one fight, I honestly don't know which of us would have won that fight. Haku was the deciding factor in that fight. Kid. You ever need someone to watch your back, send for me. Anyone who can face death like you and willing to stand up for something like you did is someone I would be honored to fight beside. As he stood up and offered his hand. Naruto walked forward and shook hands and said same to you no brows. Take care of him, Haku. Haku said I'll try. Naruto said well come on guys. I got to go see the old hag. As he walked out. Zabuza said Sharingan Kakashi. Catching Kakashi's attention who looked at Zabuza. Zabuza said watch out for him. I don't give respect often. Anything happens to him, I'll come for you. Kakashi sweat dropped and said I'll keep that in mind. As he walked out. After he got outside, Kakashi shook his head and said, you have a strange effect on Naruto. Naruto said I guess. So you want to say hi to your lady friend while we are here Sasuke. With a smirk. Sasuke said I'll hurt you if you don't shut up about that. Naruto said relax team. It's karma paying you back for being an ass so long. So you actually tried the alcohol idea. Sasuke glared and said that is none of your business. Naruto laughed and Kakashi said you know, you seem to be pretty relaxed about Zabuza not joining us. Why was that? I thought for sure you would have begged him to come. Naruto said, you know Inoichi. Sakura said to Mr. Yamanaka. What about him? Naruto said, the scroll back there said that Inoichi and both his teammates were in the area. They are asking around about me but not officially. Clan business. I have a feeling I know what it's about, and if I'm right, having Zabuza and Haku with us would be a bad idea. Sasuke said, something you haven't told us. Naruto said, there is a lot I haven't told you. This just happens to be related to one of them. The group traveled for 20 minutes after that in silence before Naruto said, guys. We're being followed. All 3 other members of Team 7 tensed, and Kakashi said, how many and where? Naruto was silent for a moment and said, there's 3 of them. I think it's Inoichi and his teammates. Kakashi said, whatever it is, they are asking about you for something that could endanger the team. Naruto said, team. No. Me, yes. Sasuke said, I'm starting to see a pattern in these surprises, Naruto. Naruto laughed, and Kakashi said, well, let's keep going normal until they decide to do something, but stay alert just in case. 10 minutes later Naruto said, so. Any of you know what guys are supposed to do when they are going to be a father? As he continued to walk. Sakura asked, what do you mean? Are you going to be a dad, Naruto? Naruto was silent for a few moments and said, I don't trust Konoha. When I heard about my bloodlines and what they could do, I became scared of what would happen. I could see them turning me into breeding stock, turning my children into weapons. And countless other things I don't want to think about. I honestly decided I was never going to have a child with anyone in Konoha unless it was a political thing, where if I had a political marriage with someone, then the child would be protected. So I decided I was going to look for couples who couldn't have children or women who would be good mothers and could take care of a child but didn't have a husband and lover or didn't want one. I would be a donor to allow them to have a child to ensure my bloodline didn't die out since I knew my family's enemies would target my children also. I met someone who fell in that category. I didn't know a lot about her, but I told her about myself some, not a lot, and she didn't know where I was from or who I was since I was without my. Turns out Kami's a bitch and she turned out to be Tsunade's apprentice. I thought odds are I would never see her again, but now I have to deal with Tsunade without destroying the bridge between me and her apprentice because there's no way I can deny being the father since I've always wanted a family. Plus I got to somehow tell Ino about it. Sakura said, damn. You just can't win for losing, huh? So what's the deal with you and Ino? Really? Naruto said truthfully. She's my slave. Several sets of eyes popped out and looked at Naruto in shock as he turned to look at his team. Sasuke said, I must have heard you wrong. Did you say Ino is your slave? Naruto said, yeah. It's a long story and the funny thing is, Inoichi doesn't know and he's basically paying me to do whatever the hell I want to her. Kakashi said, you're dead, you know that right? Inoichi going to mind rape you and then kill you? Naruto said no. Once he finds out the truth I think he will actually be grateful for it. Sakura said, I don't see how he could be grateful that you have Ino as a slave. Naruto said, simple, because if I didn't Ino would have killed herself. If you want proof you can enter my mind for yourself, Inoichi. As he looked to the left toward the woods. The very pissed off looking Inoichi landed on the ground and said, give me one reason I shouldn't kill you right now. Naruto said, because I spoke the truth. Enter my mind and see the first time Ino entered it and see what happened from that point on with us. Inoichi said, and how do I know this isn't some kind of trap? Naruto said, why do people fall? Inoichi blinked and said, what are you talking about? Quit avoiding the question. Naruto said, I'm not avoiding it. The answer to my question is the answer as to why Ino asked to be my slave and the answer to why she was ready to kill herself. People fall so that they learn to get back up. Every time in Ino life she felt she was never allowed to get back up on her own. Others picked her up and made it where she couldn't fall again. The time she broke a bone when she fell out of the tree, you had Choji and Shikamaru start after that go over and be ready to catch her so she wouldn't fall again and eventually she just gave up climbing. When she tried to burn your kitchen down so you would punish her, you told her it was an accident and you wouldn't let her cook again. When she demanded a $1,000 dress she never actually wore, you gave in and got it for her instead of letting her learn she can't have what she wants. Every time she tried to fall, you and everyone else would pick her back up and put her on a pedestal like a good little princess that you look at but don't touch. She told me she was numb inside, that everyone acts like they love her, but how can she know what love is when she has never been allowed to feel the pain of not being loved, of being hurt? How can she truly live if she's just a trophy in a display case? Ino entered my mind and somehow I was pulled in and found her before she could see any of my memories. Unlike everyone else, I didn't let her go or tell her it's okay. I caught her and I yelled at her and I punished her. I made her clean an abandoned apartment while telling her about my friend who died when the council member's daughter sold out her 3 relatives on a mission. You know who I am speaking about. I told her that if she didn't grow up she would be just like that girl. Somehow I got through to her. I gave her the wake-up call she needed her entire life and let her experience her first fall. When she learned to get back up I gave her that purple dress. How often does she wear it? And how often does she wear that $1,000 dress you bought her? Which does she care more for and why? She cares more for me than you and the entire village because I let her fall and learn to get back up. She offered to give up her ninja career, her clan name, her innocence. Everything. Just as long as I treat her as a servant, a slave. I'm the one who got her training to protect herself instead of a fangirl. I'm the one who got her to start taking her duties more seriously. I haven't ever abused the power I have. I may have spanked her when she tested to see if I will keep my word, but I did not take advantage of her. Anyone else could have had her be a sex toy or broke her. But I'm actually helping her be human. Ironic, the demon teaching a princess to be human. Now if you will excuse me but we need to return to Konoha. I'll let Ino know I told you and if you want to speak to her, fine. She is your daughter. But if it came to a choice she would choose me over you any day, simply because I don't treat her as a glass doll. Come one team. Inoichi and his two drinking buddies need time to think over what they just heard, since they are realizing they made a mistake. Luckily I'm not like Orochimaru. Ino would have made the perfect spy for him having been conditioned all her life as she has. As he began to walk away. He made it 10 feet when a shadow caught him and froze him and Shikaku said Inoichi. See if he's telling the truth. See if this is why Ino bitch slapped Tsunade. Suddenly before anyone could react, Naruto's sword flew into the air and glowed before the entire area was covered in darkness. Then when everyone could see they could see Naruto training to use Mokuton when he was pulled into his mind. Him finding Ino in his mind and then her fleeing. Naruto chases after her and then captures and screams at her. Then Naruto torture of Ino and his punishment. Then the next day when Ino threw a kunai at Naruto and confronted him. Him telling her to go to the apartment and clean it. Arriving at the apartment and soaking her with a water balloon. Talking to her about being a bitch and treating others wrong. The confrontation about his former tenant and talking about the night Ino went to the orphanage. Naruto showed her the dress and the book and left her and then the memories of the clone, watching Ino begin to clean after she read the book. They saw Ino bringing lunch and talking to Naruto and hearing her confession and both taking a nap in the sun. Then Naruto sees Ino dream and how she desires to be treated as a slave. Waking up and acting on the dream and their vows to each other. Then when Naruto rewarded her. Leaving together with Enko, training together, sleeping in the same bed. Then Ino found him near death after he met Tsunade and returned, asking her to watch his plant and giving her the key to his apartment. Then there was a flash of light and Naruto blinked as he looked around and saw everyone looking at him. Inoichi rubbed his hands across his face and said release him Shikaku. The shadow retracted and Inoichi looked at Naruto and glared at him and said I should kill you Naruto. But my father-in-law should have killed me also. Ino is her mother's daughter. Jauza, who walked out of the trees, said I'll say. Why didn't she ever talk to us about her feelings that way? Naruto said because you saw her for what you wanted to see her as, just as the people of Konoha see me as Kyuubi, you saw her as a princess that needed protecting. You heard her own words and confession. I know you're probably pissed at the way I first punished her, but she needed that wake-up call. Inoichi pinched his nose and said yes. You're right. All these years we really were picking her up and not letting her fall. So what are your plans for my daughter? Naruto said depends. Inoichi glared and said depends on what? Naruto walked over and grabbed his ear and slipped her back on his back and said it depends on her really. Saying she's okay with something and actually being okay with it are two different things. She will either accept me being with others like I told her and she claimed she didn't care about or she will care and feel I betrayed her. If it's the first you might as well start thinking of me as a son-in-law. But don't worry, it will be several years before you become a grandpa. As he rubbed his head trying to lighten the mood. Inoichi unleashed a little Kai and said and if she doesn't accept you being with others. Naruto said, foals. She'll experience heartache and betrayal and will make her want to be loved to forget those feelings and return to the one she felt protected by before meaning she will return back to you to try and ease the pain. Either way she will grow loved and cared for. I may punish her when she purposely does something wrong to see if I keep my word, but I will never actually hurt her because I do care for her and want to see her happy. But I also want to see her live. Inoichi said, how did you get there? Wise. Naruto said with time knowledge becomes wisdom. As I learn more as I get older I gain wisdom. Shikaku said, how did you do that? Show us your memories. Naruto frowned a moment and said I would rather keep it a secret. Inoichi said, how about you enter into dream? Naruto said again a secret. Jauza said and the sword. Naruto said, it's a. Shikaku told a secret. Troublesome. Naruto asked Ino to slap Tsunade. Inoichi said yeah. A couple of days ago her team entered Tsunade's office and Tsunade was in a bad mood and mentioned something to Ino about you and Ino slapped her. Right now she's been suspended from her duties as a ninja and is on lockdown at your apartment building. We came out here to find out what set her off since both her and Tsunade refused to speak about it. Naruto sighed and said I'll deal with it when I get back to Konoha and get info off suspension. Inoichi said why did Ino slap her? Naruto said remember my injuries where I nearly died. Tsunade did that to me. As you saw I can use Mokuton. I'm the great-grandson of the Shodaime Hokage, however all the proof I had of that claim was in a scroll I gave to Tsunade, who instead of looking at it, punched me through 6 trees, burnt the scroll, and then kicked me in the face while I was bleeding to death pinned under that tree. It's really a clan matter that is getting Konoha involved, but I'll get it sorted out when we get back. If you don't mind, give me a couple of days and I'll have Ino come talk to you about her feelings and about her being my slave. Damn I need a drink. Kakashi said, how about some of that ambrosia? Naruto glared at him and said no, and hell no. Do I need to worry about having my mind destroyed, body crushed, or compelled to jump off the Hokage monument? I'll survive that one by the way. Done it twice already. Sakura said, you jumped off the Hokage monument. In a shocked voice. Naruto said jump, throw, same difference when you hit the bottom. Hurts like hell. Inoichi frowned and said I'm not paying for Ino to stay with you anymore. Naruto said yeah, you will. I'm not going public with my relationship with Ino yet. Not until she can defend herself should I would try something, since they know I'm Yondaime's son now and have already sent a team after me. Also you might want to get a heads up. The Hyuga clan are going to be extremely pissed when I inform them that not only does the Hidden Mist village have a set of their eyes, but they also got 60 children with the Hyuga bloodline as well thanks to Danzo. Everyone but Kakashi and Naruto's eyes widened as they heard this, and Shikaku said are you sure? Naruto said I got a scroll from the Godame Mizukage on me for the council and the Hokage. She will be coming for the Chunin exams to possibly have Momochi's abuser rejoin her village since the bloodline civil war is over and the bloodline side won. Shikaku asked and how do you know that? Kakashi said because Abusa is currently working for Naruto. Naruto said I also got a possible trade alliance between the Hidden Mist village, Wave Country, and Konoha for the council. We've had a prosperous trip. Kakashi said I still can't believe you stole the Godame Mizukage panties she was wearing. Naruto said hey, I'm still taking bets she tries to rape my ass when she comes to Konoha. Kakashi said well considering you basically beat her at her own game of sexual flirting I can understand. Inoichi said you're joking, right? Naruto pulled out a scroll and opened it before unsealing Mei Thong and held it up and said nope. Sasuke said you have got huge balls Naruto to not only steal those, but to tell Inoichi you're basically screwing his daughter. Naruto shrugged and said men call me a demon and women call me a god. You're one to talk though. I only have to worry about having my mind destroyed. Your girl's dad could do a lot worse. Inoichi said I don't think I can take much more. Let's just get back to Konoha. Naruto said if you don't mind, don't tell me anything you've seen or heard. I need Tsunade still to be unsure if I am really her cousin or not for my plan to work. Inoichi said if you hurt my daughter, I'll do more than destroy your mind. I'll make you compost for my flowers. Naruto gave him a smirk and said I said it before, I'll welcome death's embrace when I die. Kakashi thought of course you do. You're going to meet your parents. The group took to the trees after that and the 3 clan heads were surprised that Team 7 was able to keep up with them at speed. 2 hours later the village of Konoha was seen coming in the distance and Naruto jumped from the trees and landed on the ground and stopped. Everyone heard or saw him go to the ground and then stop and they each pulled up on their running and Kakashi asked what's wrong Naruto. Naruto looked at the 3 clan heads and said do you need to go see Tsunade for anything since you were out of the village? Tauza said no, since we are the heads of our clans and claimed we were out of the village for clan business, we don't have to report to her. Why? Naruto took a deep breath and pulled out his deck of cards and faced one toward him and tossed it to Kakashi after the image appeared and said wait an hour and then check into the village. I'm going to sneak in and speak to Tsunade before you guys do so that way we can get our family business taken care of before you arrive. Okay. Kakashi said you're not going to kill her. Are you? Naruto said no. But just give me an hour. As he disappeared, shocking the 3 clan heads. Kakashi sighed and walked over to a tree and sat down pulling out his Icha Paradise book and Inoichi said, what are you doing Kakashi? Kakashi said waiting an hour like he requested. All 3 clan heads looked confused as Sasuke and Sakura both took a seat under a tree and Shikaku said, you're just going to listen to him. Just like that. Kakashi looked up and said when was the last time Jiraiya came to Konoha? Inoichi said I believe when Tsunade took over as Godame. Why? Sasuke snorted and said he's a coward after what happened back in Wave huh? Kakashi said perhaps. Tauza asked what happened back in Wave. Kakashi said we basically all 4 became missing nins by refusing to follow Tsunade and Jiraiya orders. It's a good thing we did though. We got some serious intel about several threats to Konoha thanks to that. Inoichi asked what kind of intel. Kakashi said Orochimaru has started his own village in Rice Field Country called the Hidden Sound Village made up completely of missing nin. He was buying people for his experiments and sacrifices from Gato, who assassinated and freed nearly 100 victims of a slave ring that Gato was running, along with the fact Gato had the feudal lord of Wave killed. Shikaku whistled and said, now that is some intel. How did you get it? All three members of Team 7 looked at each other and said at the same time Naruto. Tsunade was signing her paperwork when a voice said hello bitch. Startling Tsunade, who looked around the room and bit her lip trying to break any. The voice said, what's wrong, getting blind in your old age? Tsunade growled and said, who are you and what are you doing here? The papers flew off her desk and the voice said, I'm someone who is deciding if I should kill you or not for being such a disgrace, or if I should see if your reputation as the legendary sucker is real. Tsunade said, why don't you show yourself cowardly? Laughter could be heard and the voice said coward. This coming from a woman who attacks a simple with a sucker punch because she knows she couldn't stand up to him in a real fight. Tsunade pursed her lips and said, who are you? How did you get in here? A chuckle was heard and the voice said, didn't Jiraiya tell you about me? Oh that's right, he only was interested in doing a favor for you in exchange for getting a blowjob or maybe some skanky old pussy from you. Tsunade clenched her fist and jumped away as something hard slapped her across her ass and she looked around the room as she backed up to the wall and said Anbu. Chuckling could be heard and the voice said sorry, I put up a privacy to keep from others hearing. I don't want Shizune to come in here in her condition. Tsunade's eyes widened slightly and said in an unsure voice Naruto. Naruto's voice said I see your brain finally figured it out and it only took 7 minutes. I guess all those brain cells you lost because of drinking too much are catching up with you. Tsunade frowned and said I know it's you Naruto, show yourself. Naruto said no. Tsunade said I order you to. Laughter was heard again and Naruto said sorry, if Jiraiya had the balls to come back here, then he would have told you I basically declared myself a missing nin, so I don't follow your orders. Tsunade paled as she heard this and said you're lying. Naruto said, why should I lie? Why would I want to follow orders from a woman who tried to kill me when I was delivering a scroll from your cousin asking for your help? Tsunade blinked and said my cousin. But aren't you my cousin? Naruto said and what would make you think that I was your cousin? I know you know I have 2 bloodlines and I told Shizune about one of them. But I never said my second one was Mokuton like your cousin is and I know the Sandaime won't tell you because it's clan business. The only ones who know who your cousin is for sure are your cousin, Sandaime, and me. As he stayed invisible. Tsunade frowned and said then who is he? Naruto said to her. You really don't know for sure. Gigi and I have made sure you don't even know the gender, much less what he or she looks like after what you did to me. Tsunade said look, I'm sorry. Chuckling could be heard again and Naruto said you're right about that. You are sorry. You are a sorry excuse for a kunoichi, a sorry excuse for a ninja of Konoha, a sorry excuse of a woman, a sorry excuse as a person, and a sorry excuse for a cage. Tsunade growled who the hell do you think you are? Naruto said who the hell do you think you are? One of 3 ninja who sucked so bad an old man who you couldn't defeat gave you a name signifying you as the 3 legendary losers. You each went on to make your name mean even something greater, the legendary pervert who has to peek on women because he's a 50-year-old virgin. The legendary pedophile who likes to play with little boys and the legendary sucker who is said to be able to give a blowjob so good she can get any guy off in less than a minute and not miss a drop. Tsunade flinched as the words the Sandaime told her bounced back in her head and Naruto said, why don't you just leave your old hag? I mean the only reason you're here in the first place is because Koharu and Homura agreed to do anything to get you to return and they gave you 1/3 Konoha treasury, blood money that was paid for by your fiancé, brother, and the rest of your family. Also little Tsunade could go find another guy to blow and gamble her life away. I know the only reason you're actually Hokage is because the Sandaime bitch slapped you and threatened to kill you for being a traitor. I see you for who you are. Your family would think of you as a disgrace. Tsunade had tears flowing down her face now and Naruto sighed and said, the truth hurts. Doesn't it? Tsunade remained silent as she looked lost and Naruto said now you know how your cousin feels. To know that the person who was thought could make their life better would go so far as to destroy all the proof that you were both related as well as attempt to kill the messenger. I bet you don't even remember what you said to Shizune the day before. Tsunade said no. I don't. I wish I did. Naruto said you told Shizune she was an old maid who's too ugly to even get a man to look at and will never know the joys of being a woman. You said the only reason she follow you was because men are always trying to get with you and that Shizune was hoping that one of them will be so desperate to get laid and would feel sorry for her. The woman who gave up everything she knew at the age of 13 and followed you all these years and you had the nerve to say that to her. Tsunade fell to her knees crying and Naruto sighed and said you have a lot to make up for Tsunade. Right now you're not a Hokage in my eyes. A Hokage is someone who is willing to sacrifice everything to protect what is special to them. You're only the Hokage because you were paid to come back and because you were scared you would die if you didn't. But you have time, you have a chance to change and to fix your mistakes. Tsunade looked up and said how? With a little hope in her voice. Naruto said you want to meet your cousin right? Tsunade said yes. Naruto said then you're going to first draw up some papers. These papers will have it where when your cousin becomes an adult by civilian and ninja status, that he or she will become the clan head of your clan. Your clan name will then be changed to your cousin name, and all rights and properties of your clan will be signed over to your cousin. Tsunade said, what? But why? Naruto said because it's going to take time for you to earn your cousin's trust. You're going to have to show you're willing to swallow your pride to get him or her to meet you. It will also make it where he or she will be responsible for the future of a clan that will be dominated by your cousin, since you are unable to have children at your age. It will also protect your cousin should something happen to you so that he or she won't be turned into breeding stock for his or her bloodline. Tsunade frowned and said very well. Naruto said you will also call a council meeting in an hour. I will take the scroll you drawed up and take it to the Sandaime who will sign it as a witness making it legal, and then at the council meeting your cousin will reveal his or herself. Tsunade bit her lip and said alright. Naruto said not so fast. As he saw Tsunade reach for some scrolls. Tsunade frowned and said what? Naruto said I'm not doing this for free. You owe me for nearly costing me my life and a finder's fee for helping you and your cousin meet. Tsunade thinned her lips and asked what do you want? Naruto said first I want Ino reinstated with her team and all charges against her dropped and you will not try to get revenge another way against her. I don't know all the details, but Ino and Anko found me after you left me for dead and she cares for me. Seeing the person you care for dying is a pain you should know well Tsunade, so you can understand the pain she must have felt being helpless to save me when they found me nearly dead. Tsunade flinched as the memories of her loved ones hit her and she said quietly done. Naruto said that is the only thing I want. I assume that you know who my parents were. I already knows who I am as they already sent a team to kill me, so there is no use hiding it. I want my father's name and I want the truth about who I really am, along with the real truth about the Kyuubi revealed first to the council and then to the entire village as well as who my family was. If you don't know the real truth, then ask the Sandaime to tell the truth during the meeting. I want Sanin travel rights, and I also want it where my bloodlines are protected and me or my past, present, or future family can't become breeding stock. I want any rights Jiraiya has as my godfather revoked and any possession or that belongs to either parent or family turned over to me. I want all possessions that I own to be protected from the Hokage and the council. Tsunade said so you're basically wanting clan rights as well. Naruto said if I get clan rights I want the right to remove my family from Konoha if we don't like it here because I do not want those idiots who see me as the Kyuubi to target my children or lovers. If they do, I want the right to leave this village without having hunter nins come after me or my loved ones. Tsunade thought for a moment and said very well. Anything else? Naruto said yes, I want all charges past and present up through today for anything that might be a crime for me or my teammates completely cleared. We did disobey your orders to return, but there was a lot going on in Wave that Konoha needs to know, so that is mostly why I want that, so if anyone finds out we didn't return like we should have, they can't have us suspended or killed, as well as removing our so-called missing nin status. Tsunade said I have a problem with that one. You need to be punished for it. Naruto said Orochimaru. Tsunade frowned and said what about him? Naruto said what if I told you we know where he is and what he is up to? Would that be of interest to you? Tsunade said yes. Naruto said, what if I told you we also have 2 possible trade alliances for Konoha, as well as military info on 2 hidden villages, as well as a slave ring. Also information on a Konoha bloodline now in the hands of another village thanks to Danzo. Would that be enough information to have my team's actions excused since if we didn't do what we did, then we wouldn't have what we have? Tsunade said I'm sure Jiraiya will inform me of this. Naruto chuckled and said after I busted his balls about the fact he never set eyes on me till that day in Wave in my entire life, he told Kakashi-sensei we were his responsibilities and left to go peek on woman since I wouldn't come back and he couldn't get a blowjob or pussy from you without me. Tsunade scowled and said I see. Is there anything else? Naruto said yes. I want Anko to train with me when she wants to. Unrestricted. Tsunade said why? Naruto said that is my business. So do we have an agreement? Tsunade was silent for several minutes and said very well. Naruto said good, then draw up the contracts and I'll wait for Team 7 so they can come to the council meeting also and then I will go see Gigi about getting those documents signed and meet your cousin. Tsunade frowned and began to write down several documents and 15 minutes later she said done. Naruto said set them on the desk. I don't want to take the chance you double-crossed me since I don't trust you yet either. Tsunade did and Naruto grabbed them and the documents disappeared from sight and he said bring Shizune to the meeting but tell her to please keep us a secret for now. Before the door opened and closed. Tsunade thought, how did he do that? Sandaime was in his clan house when he tensed and said who are you? Naruto appeared and Sandaime said don't sneak up like Naruto. I almost attacked you. What are you doing here? Naruto said I got a couple of scrolls I need you to look at quickly and make sure Tsunade didn't write them up wrong. Also I need this in a hurry since we have a council meeting soon. The Sandaime said a meeting. What about? Naruto said I think it's best if you wait until hearing it at the meeting. It's important though. Very important. Sandaime read the scrolls Naruto gave him and chuckled and said very clever Naruto. I only see one or two minor loopholes I fixed for you, but it appeared she was being honest with you. So are you going to forgive her? Naruto said after today most of our problems will be taken care of, but dealing with what my team learned is more important right now. A knock on the door caught Sandaime's attention and he said come in. An Anbu in a bird mask came in and said sorry to disturb you sir, but there is a council meeting at 2:30. Sandaime said thank you. I'll be there. As he saw Naruto had disappeared. After the Anbu left the Sandaime said playing hide and seek ha. Naruto said something like that. My team should be at the gates in about 5 minutes, so I need to meet them and take them to the council meeting. Are they done? The Sandaime said yes. Naruto said oh, before I forget, you will probably have to tell the real truth about Kyuubi and me. I already knows who I am, so there's no use hiding it. The Sandaime who handed Naruto the scroll said I see. Are you sure? Naruto said yeah. It's time to face my demons. Sandaime said very well. I'll see you at the meeting then Naruto. Naruto smiled and said thanks Gigi. I'll have a present for you after the meeting. As he disappeared again and left. When Naruto saw his team arriving at the gates, he got beside Kakashi and said softly stop the cart Kakashi. I'm back. Kakashi said got everything done. As the real Naruto appeared just behind the fake Naruto and Naruto grabbed the card after the fake disappeared and said yeah. Sasuke said so. Did you get everything worked out? Naruto said we got a council meeting at 2:30. We have to go though. Also Sasuke, I need to know if you trust me. Sasuke said of course I do. Didn't we already go over that? Naruto said good, then I need you to trust me and not get angry or reveal anything until I am finished with what I got planned. You will thank me later but at first you will be angry with me. Sasuke frowned and said why do I think this is going to be one of those things I hate the most? Naruto said probably. Hey you guys, guard duty again. As they actually stopped at the gates. Itetsu said hey Naruto, you're finally back. You need to watch out. For some reason Tsunade pissed at you. Naruto said I know, we have to head to the council for a meeting, so I'll deal with her there. Can we go ahead and enter? Itetsu said sure. Good luck. As they entered, Naruto looked at Sakura and said you okay Sakura? You've been quiet ever since you heard about me and Ino. Sakura looked down and said I don't know Naruto. When I heard what you called Ino I immediately thought of all the bad things someone in that position faces. But when I saw those memories of what really happened and listened to yours and her words. I can't help but reflect on my own life. Naruto said boyfriend and girlfriends, husbands and wives, servants and masters. All these are just titles people use to classify the relationship others share. Look at us. Team. Friends. Comrades. Again, just titles. They don't mean anything really. It's the bond they represent that actually defines them. Sakura smiled slightly and said maybe I should become a servant. Naruto said maybe you should be friends first, Sakura. You need to know who you are first before you can figure out what you can be. Talk to Ino as a friend before you ever decide to think of something like that and no not everyone is as kind as I am. Kakashi said you know, I honestly feel like the fifth wheel on this team. Naruto said sometimes you are. But you are a member anyways. Well damn, we must have gotten quicker than I thought. There's the council building and it appears everyone is moving in. As he saw several well-dressed figures walking in, Kakashi said, so what are we doing exactly? Naruto said you're mostly just going to stand there, look pretty, and keep your mouth shut. Unless asked a question of course. Sasuke said so this is going to be just like Wave then. Works for me. Sakura said and me. Somehow, I feel Kami is on our side. Naruto said probably more than you know about Sakura. But she's still a bitch. Kakashi sweat drop and thought to Kami, please don't kill me for your grandson's actions and words. I'll try and get him to change. As the group walked to the building and in the hall a Chunin stepped forward in front of Naruto, glaring hatefully and said, what are you doing here? Naruto smiled and said I'm being courted for insubordination and will most likely be killed since my team thinks I've lost my mind. What was that master? Oh yes, Kyuubi-sama said we need to hurry because he wants his freedom when I die. All hail Kyuubi-sama, all hail Kyuubi-sama. The Chunin looked paler than Orochimaru and had pissed his pants and Naruto grabbed his stomach and said no master, it's too early. He's coming. As he looked to be in pain. The Chunin screamed and ran away screaming Kyuubi escaping. Sakura, Sasuke and Naruto all burst out laughing and Kakashi said that was so wrong, Naruto. Naruto shrugged and said serves him right. Anyways, let's go. As he walked on down the hall. Sasuke said you seem to know where you're going. Naruto said I do. I was declared an adult before I ever entered the academy by them, and I had to come for that meeting since they thought if they made me an adult, I couldn't be a ninja. Luckily for me your dad actually screwed them on that one, because it would have made your brother lose his ninja license. As he stopped outside a double set of doors and said, "Now remember, let me speak." All three other members nod and Naruto knocks on the door, and both doors are opened and Tsunade who was inside said, "Ah, Team 7. Good, you're here. Come on in." As she looked at all four members and Naruto said, "Remember the eye displayed to you before you couldn't figure it out. He's using it. Oh, he wants to know where your clan seat is so he can sit down." As he turned his head to the side like he was listening to someone. Tsunade said, "It's over by sensei, but he needs to reveal himself." A snort was heard in the room, shocking most as the chair beside Sarutobi was pulled out and then pulled closer to the desk, showing someone was in it, but no one could see who it was. Sarutobi bit his lip and said, "I presume that the issue of our friend here can wait for Tsunade, as I am sure you have a more important reason to call this meeting." Tsunade frowned and said, "Yes, alright, what is all the information you have that you felt was needed to call this meeting Team 7? Naruto said, "If I may speak for my team." The civilian said, "Why would we listen to the likes of you?" Naruto said, "Sandaime-sama, perhaps it would be best if you explain to these people who my parents were along with what really happened to the Kyuubi." Sarutobi said, "Very well, since Iwa is already aware of your parentage, it doesn't do any good to hide it, and the real truth about the Kyuubi was going to come out soon anyways. With your permission Tsunade, may I reveal some information about the figure currently hiding his looks beside me?" Tsunade nods and Sarutobi sees Naruto nod slightly and he says, "First, the person beside me is in fact the great-grandson of Hashirama Senju, the Shodaime Hokage." Causing nearly everyone's eyes to widen though a few shots look at Naruto. "The Ashi," said another member of the Senju clan. "How? I thought Tsunade never had children." Tsunade said, "I didn't. I was recently contacted and informed about him. His grandmother was my aunt, the daughter of my grandfather Hashirama. She married and left the village and later was killed, but not before having a son." Sarutobi said that son actually died the night of the Kyuubi attack when he used the Mokuton bloodline to send Kyuubi away just like his grandfather had done many years ago. The Yondaime didn't die from sealing the Kyuubi. He died from a poison kunai that bounced off Kyuubi and hit him in an accident. Several murmurs were heard throughout the room and Tsume said, "But how is that possible, sir? We all saw the seal." Naruto said, "A special seal. Konoha was too weak after the Kyuubi attack, so what better way to protect Konoha from other villages than to make them think we had a Jinchuriki who could release the Kyuubi. Why else do you think Jiji here told the entire village about the sealing, then told you all not to tell anyone when he could have kept it a secret? It was to make our enemies think it's our worst kept secret. And the plan worked except for one small detail. Almost nobody saw me as the hero my father asked for, protecting you by pretending to be the Jinchuriki." The civilian said, "But it was Yondaime that asked that. It can't be." As he looked really good at Naruto. Naruto said, "Yeah, I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, son of the Yondaime Hokage of Konoha and Kushina Uzumaki. Konoha made my life hell for no reason." Murmurs broke out in the room and someone shouted, "It's a lie, I saw the demon healing his body." Chuckling could be heard and everyone turned to Naruto who said, "Oh, that's easy to explain. You see. I have two bloodlines and I'd like to demonstrate one of them for you real quick." Naruto pulled out a kunai and set his hand on the ground and drew back and to the shock of everyone he cut off his thumb. Naruto winced and stood up holding his bleeding hand and Tsunade screamed, "What are you doing?" Naruto held up his hand and concentrated and to everyone's shock, Naruto's thumb began to grow back and within 2 minutes he had a brand new thumb. Naruto began to make a fist with his hand and opened it and closed it several times and said, "Still hurts like a bitch." Murmurs broke out in the room and Inoichi said, "How did you do that?" Naruto saw everyone get quiet and he said, "My bloodline is from my mother, it's called the Kamichi. It's a chakra-based bloodline. As long as I have chakra in my body I can heal pretty much from anything and the more I heal the more chakra I make, which is why I have such high chakra reserves. I also become immune to any poison I come in contact with after the first exposure to it and as you can see I can regenerate from lost limbs. I've actually regrown an arm, a hand and now a finger along with all the times I had to repair bones in my body. There's a few more things about it, but I would rather keep it a secret." The civilian said, "We should have him reproduce that bloodline. It could make Kono." Everyone in the room froze as Kai started coming off Naruto. Naruto, who had closed his eyes, said, "I think you should know a few things first. Before I came here I had a meeting with Tsunade. In exchange for helping to reunite her with her second cousin and her learning the truth about the Kyuubi attack, my heritage, and a few other things including learning I have two bloodlines, she agreed to a few demands I had. One such demand was clan status, so the Namikaze clan is now an official clan. She also gave me Sanin travel rights and the right to pick up my clan, and all present and future members and leave should Konoha continue its actions against me because of their ignorance. But she gave me one other thing she didn't quite realize the full extent of. She gave me full immunity for all crimes past and present through today. So for the slow idiots I am sure some of you are. If I decide to kill you and everyone in Konoha for all the shit you put me through with all the years of abuse and hatred and the isolation and the fact you think you can turn me into breeding stock. You know, killing them doesn't sound like a bad idea the more I think about it. I also got the same rights for Sasuke, Sakura and Kakashi. Sasuke hates Konoha because he knows Danzo, a member of this council, was involved in the Uchiha massacre and either did it with his root and framed Itachi or aided Itachi in doing it, so the fact none of you realize that could give him a reason to hate you. What do you say, feel like a little revenge avenger? Sasuke said sounds like fun. Naruto looked at Sakura and said you heard Sasuke, as his loyal fangirl you want in. As he winked at her. Sakura realizing it's a prank said oh Sasuke-kun. I'll help you any way I can. Naruto looked at Kakashi and said what about you? Get revenge for the way people treated you because of your dad. Kakashi said At this several members began to sweat and Naruto shrugged and said I'll just kill them later. I'll wait to see what they do after today. I don't really need permission to kill them. As he looked forward and saw several people pale. Naruto said anyways, since I'm protected by the clan right now, what were you going to say about turning me into breeding stock? Just remember the council and the Hokage have no power over clan affairs. Isn't that right Hyuga-san? The Ashi bristled at the san part but said yes. Naruto said yeah, that reminds me, is there any way I can speak to you privately for about 5 minutes? I think a couple of people in this room need to change their shorts since it smells like piss and shit in here. Do you mind taking about a 5-minute recess Tsunade? Tsunade said no, I believe we all could use it after hearing the shocker we all just did. We will continue in 15 minutes from now. Dismissed. As everyone began to leave the room Naruto walked over to Hiashi who was still sitting and Naruto looked left and right and said look, let's skip the formality for a few minutes because some of the info my team discovered on our last mission could really screw you and your clan over. Hiashi said I doubt that. Naruto said really? So you're willing to take a chance at a repeat of the cloud incident once the info I have becomes public? Hiashi became serious and said I do not like what you are implying. Naruto said all branch members of your clan are under the direct control of the main family. Hiashi remained silent and Naruto said have any branch members become missing nins in the last 20 years? Hiashi said never. Naruto frowned and said damn, I was hoping you would say yes. That means the only way this clusterfuck could have happened is if members of the main branch were involved. If you don't know about the fact that there were branch members of your clan working for Danzo en route. That caught Hiashi's full attention and said what do you mean? Naruto said let's put it this way. Because of Danzo and whoever in your clan was working with him to hide the fact branch members were working en route. The Hyuga bloodline has not only been compromised by another village gaining the eyes of said branch member, but also was able to start a breeding program that has over 50 children alive with your bloodline in that village and more appearing every day. Hiashi said, that's impossible. Naruto said sorry, I saw a working transplanted Hyuga eye along with my sensei and heard the story of how they obtained it from the leader of the village that now has it. The problem is what to do about it because if the story comes out you and your clan are going to look like traitors to Konoha because of how they got the eye. Of course the only Konoha ninja who know the real story are Kakashi and me and Kakashi feels he owes my family too much to say anything so the story of how they got it can remain a secret and I sort of know the leader of the village and could convince the leader to not tell anyone in exchange for you not trying to steal the bloodline back which would cause a war or your clan looking like traitors. The question is what you're willing to sacrifice for my assistance and silence and what you plan to do afterwards. Hiashi frowned and said can you tell me how this happened? Naruto said sure, I have more to gain by telling you than keeping it silent and you can see the situation you are in. The Yondaime Mizukage disappeared from office some time back and because of the bloodline civil war there were several factions trying to gain power to become the Yondaime Mizukage. Danzo sent several teams of route to the Hidden Mist to try and take over by killing all who opposed them. They didn't care who they killed. Ninja, civilian, bloodlines, or non-bloodlines. The leader of the bloodline side had her side defend all those who were being attacked by Root and they killed them all but one. A branch member of your clan. Because of this action the woman who was the leader of the bloodline side was named Yondaime Mizukage and ended the bloodline civil war and became the first female Kage. They kept the Hyuga sedated and took his eyes and sperm and used them to create several children. Danzo sent an assassin to kill the Hyuga that sealed his body, but by the time he did the Hidden Mist had enough sperm to create over 50 children, and 2 ninja of the Hidden Mist have 1 Hyuga eye each so you can see. Because of Danzo and whoever in your clan that hid the fact your clan had branch members en route, your bloodline has now been passed out in the world, and if you tried to stir up trouble over it, then Kumo could try and kidnap one of those children, since I bet the Mizukage didn't tell me the real numbers of Hyuga they have, or they could make an alliance with the Hidden Mist to trade for it. But I might be able to prevent that from happening since as I said, I know the Mizukage, and we have sort of an arrangement going on the side. In fact I have a message from her to the Hokage and the council, and she is coming to Konoha for the Chunin exams for business and possibly an alliance. So what do you feel your clan image is worth? With a smirk. The Ashi frowned and said what is it you want? Naruto said now don't feel upset. I think I can actually help you with a problem you have been facing for some time. How to keep both your daughters from getting sealed. The Ashi said how? Naruto said you and I both know there is no way that a branch member could have been en route without the main branch members being involved. You can reveal that information to them to force them into releasing Hinata from getting the seal, and if you accept both parts of my deal, you could make your other daughter clan heiress while Hinata is moved out of your clan's hands. That way you have a strong heiress and protect both your daughter and keep the secret about how the Hidden Mist got your clan bloodline. The Ashi was silent for several moments and said very well. I'm listening. Naruto said I'm not as much of a fool as everyone thinks I am. I know the only way I can actually protect myself and my future clan from the people of this village is to get the help of the existing clans. I want a public statement saying that your clan wishes to thank the Namikaze clan for our service to the village, yada yada yada. I'm sure you could make a speech that would make you smell like roses off that, but the main point of it is that you wish to help show support to my clan by having Hinata join as a member of my clan. That will move her out of your clan hands so they can't seal her, as I refuse to have any member of my clan having a seal without their consent. I already have a servant from another clan who has made a similar agreement and I might have a third clan who is willing to marry into my clan. By having 3 or more of the clans of Konoha supporting my clan as an ally to my clan and any action taken against my clan would be considered an action against their clan, I think that would cause most of those who are too stupid to accept the truth from doing anything. After all, if they refuse to let my clan shop in their stores, the loss of several clans would severely hurt them and make them tolerate my clan out of necessity. So what do you say? You get to protect both your daughters and your clan image, ally yourself with a new clan that might help your clan in the future by mixing our bloodlines, depending on how things work out, and making it where you can gain more control from the other main branch members by beginning a rat hunt to find the traitor and limiting their power since they have betrayed your clan. Possibly gain enough support to finally get rid of that seal so others don't have to follow the path of your nephew Niji. The Ashi said you have given me much to think about. Naruto said yes. But unfortunately you will have to make the decision very soon because we are fixing to have to give intel on the Mist Village and other things we learned on our last mission, so it comes down to a choice of telling everyone or not, so is it worth it to you to accept my deal? If so, send for Hinata so she can be placed in my clan during this meeting as proof that you keep your end of the deal, and I will have Kakashi and me keep our silence about the Hyuga. Your choice. As he turned and started to walk away. The Ashi frowned and Naruto walked over to his team who had moved by the door and Sasuke said, what did you do? Naruto said to Sasuke, how much does your girl mean to you? Sasuke looked around and then at Hiashi and frowned as he said why. Naruto said if my plan works I could have her unsealed and married to you by the end of the day. But it will cost you. Sasuke's eyes got wide and asked how. Naruto said don't worry about how. The question is if you are willing to sacrifice for her. Sasuke bit his lip and nodded and Naruto said then it will cost you half your clan fortune and half your clan land. You will also become allied to me by marrying a member of my clan. Hinata. Sasuke's eyes widened and he frowned and said how is Hinata joining your clan? Naruto shrugged and said I just blackmailed Hiashi. Sasuke and Sakura sputtered and Kakashi dropped his book and Naruto said, don't mention anything about the Hyuga bloodline being stolen or how it was stolen by Kakashi-sensei. In fact, don't mention the Hyuga at all. Kakashi frowned and said alright Naruto, but I don't like this. Naruto said I know. But it's for the best. Tsunade said order. Is everyone back? The Ashi said I am expecting my daughter Hinata here, momentarily, Hokage-sama. I sent word to her because I have recently made an agreement to support the Namikaze clan for their years of service of protecting Konoha, and I hereby state that any actions directed at members of the Namikaze clan will be considered actions directed at the Hyuga clan as well. I feel that a marriage between the Namikaze clan and the Hyuga clan would be beneficial to Konoha. Several eyes widened and Shizune covered her mouth, and Naruto said I believe you have slightly spoken out of context Hyuga-san. The agreement was for Hinata to join my clan, no marry into it. Remember how I spoke about another who has allied with my clan recently? For the moment I do not believe I will be marrying any woman due to the fact I will have to have several women in my clan and I do not want to show favoritism of one over the other. The Ashi looked confused and said, but you said another clan was thinking of marrying into your clan. Naruto said, oh, I see where you are confused. You see. I have a sort of confession. I guess a little of my pranking humor was revealed today as you remember the little invisible person routine earlier. Well, the great-grandson of the Shodaime Hokage. As he flashed through hand signs and slammed his foot on the ground and a chair began to form out of the floor made of wood and Naruto said is me. The Ashi said so you are a. Naruto said actually no, Tsunade signed a scroll stating when I become an adult by ninja and civilian standards that I would inherit all Senju clan property and the Senju clan would be renamed after my family name the Namikaze clan since my father was the Yondaime and he used Mokuton to stop the Kyuubi and devised a seal to trick our enemies. The member I was referring to could possibly be married since I am now the clan head of the Namikaze clan and Tsunade is just a member of the clan. I can arrange for her to marry another. Tsunade went pale and red-faced at the same time and screamed what? Naruto said yeah, you see, I've got a little arrangement with the Uchiha clan to end the rivalry between our clans and Sasuke has agreed to trade me half his clan's wealth which will help to restore our clan's funds as well as half his land and property which I plan to fix up and rent out to help Konoha to prosper as well as make our clan more prosperous and well thought of in the community to help support the future clan. Sasuke been real excited about the prospect ever since I first mentioned it and though I hadn't told him who he was marrying when he allied with my clan he knew about you and since your reputation as the legendary sucker is so well known and your makes you so desirable he's liked the idea though we never named names. Tsunade said you can't do that. I forbid it. Naruto said the Hokage and council can't get involved in clan business Tsunade. You should know that already and as Hokage you can't order me not to and since I'm clan head it is well within my rights. This way you can help to restore all those funds you lost over the years gambling and drinking. I know it's sudden but just think, it's for the future members of our clan. Tsunade said you little bastard. I should have killed you when I had a chance. I'll fucking cut off his pecker before I let him touch me. Naruto turned to Sasuke and said she seems like a wild one Sasuke. You sure you can handle her? Before Sasuke had a chance to say anything, the door opened to the room and Naruto saw Hinata enter and she bowed and said in a stutter, you wish to see me father? The Ashi said yes. I have recently made an agreement with the Namikaze clan for you to join his clan. You will not be receiving the caged bird seal as part of the agreement that was met and your sister will be taking over as heiress to the clan. Hinata stiffened and said in a stutter as she tried to control herself. But who is the Namikaze clan? Naruto said, that would be Hinata. Hinata froze hearing Naruto's voice when a voice was heard in her head and said, don't say anything to Hinata. I'm friends with Naruto. I need to know if what Sasuke said is true, are you and him secretly dating and your crush on Naruto fake? Answer honestly and think about your answer. Hinata who was shocked thought yes. The voice said then you and Sasuke will be together but you need to play along in the greatest prank ever. Now faint like you usually do. Hinata did just that. Naruto quickly caught her and Sasuke looked at Hinata and heard the voice in his head and said Naruto. I'm not sure I can handle Tsunade, I think she really will cut off my manhood and I need that to restore my clan. I would like to propose a challenge. If I win then I get the right to choose which member of your clan I marry, since I am aware of several members you have secretly. If I lose I will still marry Tsunade, but you get the entire Uchiha clan fortune and land, and I will change my name to Namikaze or whatever branch name you would choose for me to have. Shocking everyone in the room. Naruto looked at Sasuke and said so let me see if I get this right. You wish to challenge me for the right to pick which member you marry, if you lose the Uchiha clan will die with your brother and everything you own will belong to me. That is a very risky deal for both of us. What is this challenge? Sasuke said I know about Hinata's secret crush on you. Hell, I think most of the village does. We all know no matter how big of an idiot you are, she always follows you. I bet I can make Hinata become angry with you and come to me heartbroken and angry at you just by saying 2 sentences. If she does then I win. If she doesn't then you win. Naruto said, you do know that's a sucker's bet, right? I mean Hinata liked me for years. What do you think of Hyuga-san? I know both our clans had a rivalry with the Uchiha in the past. If Sasuke fails then the Uchiha clan will cease to exist in Konoha. I think we should do it. What about you? I asked for your opinion. The Ashi thought for several moments as Hinata began to stir and said very well. Hinata slowly opened her eyes and stuttered out. Sasuke looked at Naruto who nodded and Sasuke said to Hinata, Naruto has been flirting with another woman and he has the panties of another woman in a scroll he carries with him. He also hired me as a prostitute after he got me drunk and she gave me a problem I had to get treated for. Hinata whose eyes began to water turned to rage and she screamed what? As she quickly got to her feet with her bloodline activated and she said, "You are within my range of divination 8 trigrams 2 palm, 4 palm, 8 palm, 16 palm, 32 palm, 64 palm strike." As she struck Naruto multiple times causing him to fly backwards before she turned and fell into Sasuke's arms crying. Naruto coughed a few times and said, "It's always the quiet ones you gotta look out for." As he slowly stood up and said, "Damn, that hurt. So it looks like you won team. Who do you want?" Sasuke said to Hinata. The Ashi screamed, "What? You can't do that." Naruto frowned and said, "I don't like it either, Hyuga-san, but a deal is a deal. She's still a member of my clan even when she marries Sasuke, so our agreement is still valid. In the end I guess everyone wins. I got my agreement, you gotta protect both your daughters from sealing." And Sasuke got him someone who can look out for those little medical problems for Sasuke. Hinata glared at Naruto and Naruto smirked and thought, "You're both welcome." And both heard him. Naruto stood up and said, "Well, looks like my bloodline heals those also. Damn, that still hurts. So since we got the clan business out of the way, let's get what this meeting was called for done. I'll summarize everything. The feudal lord of Wave Country was assassinated by Gato of Gato Shipping Company, who either had his mercenary do it or ninja from the Hidden Sound Village. The Hidden Sound Village is a village created by Orochimaru and is located in Rice Field Country. As their name suggests, they use sound-based attacks that mess up balance and visuals, and Kami knows what else. Gato had several teams of mercenaries under his employment and we were able to take out a large group of them and assassinate Gato, freeing Wave Country from his control. We were able to capture a sound ninja that Kakashi-sensei was able to integrate for more info. We also met the goddess Mizukage, who is named Mei Terumi. Like me, she possesses 2 bloodlines. The bloodline civil war in the Land of Water is over, but Konoha was partially responsible for that. Anzo sent Root Ninja to kill everyone they could and try to take over the Hidden Mist village during the fighting to see who would become the goddess Mizukage. All the Root Ninja he sent are now dead thanks to the faction that was led by Mei, which gave her the support of the other factions for saving so many from the Root Ninja. She does not blame Konoha though. She will be coming here during the Chunin exams to meet Tsubusa Mamachi, who is currently employed by my clan as a security guard somewhere as his missing nin status has been revoked for the time being. I have a scroll from her to the council and the Hokage about a possible trade alliance with Konoha and Wave. Wave Country is currently being led by Tazuna, who was the client Team 7 was sent to protect while he finished the Great Naruto Bridge that now connects Wave Country to Fire Country. There was a separate matter that was discussed between Mei and myself for clan business and I don't know if she put it in this scroll and I would like your permission, Tsunade, to see if it is in there, and if it is I ask that you not read it as we are still in discussion of it. Tsunade frowned and said, "And why should I agree to that since you just tried to basically sell me off?" Naruto said, "Hey, I originally planned to use my invisibility and a couple of Cage Bunshin carrying baseball bats and have them swing for home runs against those jugs you have on your chest. Since I decided against that and the other deal fell through, I still have the right to decide what to do to you to get my revenge. I've got 2 choices I am leaning toward, and depending on if you keep quiet if what I want to remain a secret is in this scroll or not, I will let you choose which of the 2 choices you will accept as punishment for the incident in the woods." Tsunade frowned and said, "You're trying to blackmail me." Naruto said, "Yeep. It may be illegal, but you already excused me for it so you can't do shit." Tsunade said, "Where did you learn so much about tricks like this?" Naruto said, 1/3 of all documents the council sent to the Sandaime to be either passed or failed was actually decided on by me to help Jiji with the paperwork. I yelled for years that I was going to be Hokage. Jiji was already training me for the job." Sandaime coughed as several people looked at him shocked and Naruto said, "So, I'll give you the 2 choices you got. I'll either make the same deal with Jiraiya as I was going to make Sasuke, half his fortune in exchange for marrying you, or you will have to serve from now until the Chunin exams in your free time when you are not at the hospital or Hokage Tower as a personal doctor and massage therapist for the Sandaime and Kakashi-sensei. Oh, and you have to wear one of those naughty nurse outfits that are too small and show off your figure while keeping your up." Several perverted giggles were heard as Kakashi dropped his book and the Sandaime blew back with a nosebleed and Tsunade screamed, "I'm going to kill you." As she jumped to her feet only for 2 Kagebunshin 2 to appear beside her with baseball bats drawn back, shocking everyone and making Tsunade freeze, and Naruto said, "Try me." Tsunade took several deep breaths and said, "I'll get my revenge, just you wait. I'll get my revenge." Naruto said, "Maybe. But you will have to do it while taking one or your other punishment. So the question is, what will you take as a legendary sucker? The naughty nurse or the wife of the writer of Icha Paradise? I'm sure Jiraiya would love to use you as his inspiration for all his future books. Of course you could just read what's in this scroll regardless of our clan's secret and I'll see if I can't bust those things you call breasts and make you flat chest again like Jiraiya used to call you." Tsunade frowned and said, "Very well. I'll take the naughty nurse only because I'll spend all my time as Hokage and working at the hospital. Naruto said good, then you will make my clan respectable again. No matter what, I always win. The Ashi said you lost earlier. Naruto looked over at Sasuke and Hinata and said did I got everything I wanted. An alliance with both the Hyuga and the Uchiha clan, so now if anyone refuses me service like they have in the past, then they lose the support of both clans which could bankrupt them, and I might make alliances with other clans or have already that I don't want to mention which will hurt those who will target my friends and family. I also got rich enough where I have now 1/4 of Konoha properties that I can use, as well as about 5% of all the money in Konoha, plus my trade agreement my clan has with a couple of places in Fire Country outside of Konoha and in Wave Country, so in about 3 years the Namikaze clan will become the third richest clan in Konoha I figure. Sounds to me like I won. Huh. Everyone thought of his words and realized he was right, which scared some of the ones who were still hateful toward Naruto. In the end, after the scroll was opened and read, it was learned to be just a general notification stating the Mizukage was coming to Konoha for the Chunin exams and would like to meet with the Hokage and council during her stay to discuss the future of both villages. The meeting was called and Sasuke and Hinata slipped out quickly. Hiashi left while looking constipated. Tsunade tried to find Naruto, but discovered he was gone, as was Shizune. Up on the Hokage monument, Naruto took Shizune, and Naruto said sorry about that back there. Shizune smiled slightly and said it's alright, I understand you were trying to protect the future of your clan. But can you please stop abusing Tsunade-sama as you have? She feels a lot of regret for her actions. Naruto said yeah. My punishment for her was all dished out today. She will have to deal with her choice for now, but I will try to get to know my cousin. How are you and the baby? Shizune said I'm doing fine and the baby is healthy. What was that with the Hyuga girl? Naruto said her and Sasuke have been dating secretly for a while now and I decided to help them get together. Most of that was an act to get what I wanted out of certain people since I couldn't trust Tsunade to help deal with the council after what happened. I didn't know you were a Tsunade assistant. Shizune smiled and said it's alright. This has been shocking. Naruto looked over at the village and said you know I'm still going to have to be with several women, right? To make sure both my bloodlines continue now that I've revealed them. Shizune said I know. We thought we would never see each other again. But I'm glad we did and I'd like to be with you. Naruto said, and I want to be with you also. But we can't just yet. There's one other I care for as much as you who I'm having to keep secret as well. Well, her slapping Tsunade kind of revealed it some. Shizune's eyes widened and said now her slap makes more sense. Is she? Naruto said no. I think she's too young for that and our relationship is complicated. I'll tell you about it sometime, but for now I really need to get some sleep. I'm almost out of chakra and all this stress can't be good for you and the baby. Shizu smiled and said you're right. I need to help Tsunade with the fallout of all that has happened anyways. Can I see you sometime? Naruto said yeah. But besides you, Ino is the only one I have real feelings for in Konoha. I've flirted with a couple here and there just to throw off suspicion like I suggested except for a special case, but there is no one else pregnant out there. Shizune kissed him and said I'll come by sometime to see you. Naruto said alright, if you miss me and Ino around just leave a message with her. I'll get it and come see you. Shizune nods and kisses him again before leaving. Naruto sighed as he began to trip to his place and when he got there he saw it was a mess and he walked into his room and saw Ino asleep in his bed and he walked in and flipped the bed causing her to scream and he said get the mess cleaned up and sleep in your apartment tonight as punishment. Go. Ino pouted but slyly smiled and said yes master. Welcome back. Naruto said yeah. I need sleep. Saya tomorrow and Ino. If you get done before I fall asleep, if you can find a place in my bed I'll let you stay the night. But it has to be before I fall asleep. Ino eyes widened and got moving as quickly as possible cleaning it up and Naruto thought she didn't realize I sent a clone here who's spider messing it up on purpose to get in trouble. Damn woman. Before he closed his eyes. Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoy it. If you want the next part of this video, turn on that bell notification. Like, subscribe and comment down below. And also check out the others videos I have created and enjoyed it. See you guys next video.